This handsome young man dressed like a CEO is our protagonist Kang Joo-hyun. Just 3 seconds ago, he kicked the bucket and was resurrected in the body of a fluff ball. And while he was still trying to figure out what was happening, a guy with a deer head suddenly appeared. He explained that they would become storytellers and work for some godforsaken company. After that, this deer-headed guy also gave them a mission that had to be completed within 1 hour, and if they failed, they would be sent to meet their maker immediately. But interestingly enough, after 59 minutes had passed, Kang Joo-hyun still hadn't completed his mission. But all of this started about an hour ago amidst a scene of utter ruin where someone's thoughts began to surface. Mom said that no matter how hard life gets, I should still dream big, that if I keep chasing my dream one day, I'll wake up as the protagonist of my own life. I stupidly believed her. Thinking this, Kang Joo-hyun coughed up a large mouthful of blood and mumbled, "So this is where I die, huh?" Then, he looked at the large wound on his stomach, helpless. A wound caused by a cursed demonic spear can't be healed by elixirs or healing spells. Maybe an elixir could, but it's not like I have one. Maybe he does, though. But just as Kang Joo-hyun thought that, the sound of footsteps began to echo in front of him, followed by the appearance of a group of people led by a devastatingly handsome young man. As soon as he saw this group appear, Kang Joo-hyun spoke up. "Choi Do-jun?" But before he could finish, Choi Do-jun cut in coldly. "I could have taken him down if you hadn't interfered." "All right, that's true, isn't it?" Kang Joo-hyun said with a smile, and this smile made Choi Do-jun ask, "What's so funny?" Hearing that Kang Joo-hyun also smiled and said, "It's just that you said exactly what I thought you would say." At this, he mocked himself for how hard he had struggled to get this far. "And I even joined forces with this psycho to survive, and yet, to think I'm going to die saving him." As he said this, Kang Joo-hyun turned to look at a man in the distance. That man was happily embracing someone. After this thought, he looked at Choi Do-jun and asked, "You still have an elixir, don't you?" "I do," Choi Do-jun said coldly. "And you're not going to use it on me, are you?" Hearing this, Choi Do-jun started to take the elixir out of his inventory. Then he explained, "The value of an elixir is limitless. I'm saving it for myself. You aren't worthy of me using it." And his words made Kang Joo-hyun start to laugh mockingly. "Worthy, huh? What a rotten world this is." This world is being watched by the constellations. They are supreme beings from the heavens who watch humanity for their own amusement. At the same time, they give people trials and rewards. They find this bastard's cruel personality very entertaining, and they couldn't care less about a nobody like me. No one ever cared about me from the start. Thinking this, Kang Joo-hyun couldn't help but curse a few times. "Damn this world. Damn the constellations. And fuck you too," Kang Joo-hyun said, looking straight at Choi Do-jun. The pink-haired girl next to him heard Kang Joo-hyun speak like that and started to nag, "Aren't you being a bit too rude?" And while she was about to lecture him some more, Choi Do-jun raised his hand to stop her. "That's enough. Kang Joo-hyun, let me ask you something. Why did you do it? You've always just provided information and observed the battles, so why this time? Why did you interfere in the fight?" Hearing this, Kang Joo-hyun let out a laugh and said, "I'm just tired of trying to keep you tethered to this life. Perhaps this is my limit." Choi Do-jun seemed to understand a little after hearing that, but he still felt it wasn't worth it. "So you did all that?" "Did all, just to save a few civilians." But just as Choi Do-jun said that, he stopped, because at that moment, everyone sensed someone's presence. They turned around. Behind them, a figure hidden under a cloak was levitating in midair. The moment they saw this person, everyone recognized them as a storyteller. They are the intermediaries, the outsiders who led humanity to its doom and sold them out. They sold out humanity to the constellations. They are beings searching for something interesting, and to achieve that, they don't care how many people die. Just like right now, after seeing that Choi Do-jun's group was still alive, he didn't hold back his praise. "Wonderful, you've survived longer than expected. We are greatly looking forward to the next trial. The end is very near. Do try your best." After saying this, the narrator also took off immediately, and after seeing him leave, Kang Joo-hyun turned to Choi Do-jun and told him to go. Choi Do-jun quickly disappeared with his little minions, and these words made the pink-haired girl start to get annoyed. "What do you mean, minions?" she yelled. "Don't pay any attention to him," the blue-haired girl hurriedly advised her teammate. Back with Choi Do-jun, he was still staring intently at Kang Joo-hyun with a somewhat thoughtful and judgmental gaze. And after Kang Joo-hyun saw this look, he taunted, "What's wrong, suddenly feeling sad that I'm about to die? Or are you planning on using an elixir on me or something?" After hearing these words, Choi Do-jun turned and left immediately with his teammates. As for Kang Joo-hyun over here, seeing them leave, he looked up at the sky and mumbled farewell. And right after those words, his eyes shot wide open as he coughed up a large mouthful of blood. Who even knows how many times that has been today? And at that moment, Kang Joo-hyun's thoughts started to wander. In the end, I failed to become the main character both in this world and in my own life. I wasn't the main character, I was just a side character. Nothing more, nothing less. One with no other choice but to follow in the main character's glow. With that thought, he collapsed onto the ground, reaching his hand toward the sky as if grasping for something. If I was given another chance, if I could fix this regret, then I would climb higher than anyone else. So high that I wouldn't have to be jealous of anyone anymore. Then I could be proud of myself. I want to live a life like that. That's the life I desire. And those were Kang Joo-hyun's last words before his vision faded to black. And it seems the heavens truly heard Kang Joo-hyun's prayer because he was given another chance. Suddenly, whispers echoed in his ear, causing Kang Joo-hyun to slowly open his eyes. What is this? Where am I? Am I still alive? No, that's impossible. I'm sure I was pierced by the cursed demonic spear. There's no way I could have survived. As he thought this, he noticed his own tiny stubby hands and was a bit startled. What is this? Then, he hurriedly looked up, his big round eyes widening. In his line of sight was a crowd of cute cotton balls, and Kang Joo-hyun himself was one of them. The strange sight made Kang Joo-hyun's brain short-circuit. What is this? What in the world are these things? And while he was still wondering, a voice suddenly rang out, "It seems you are all here." As a reflex, Kang Joo-hyun immediately looked toward the source of the sound and was a little startled. Before him stood a strange figure. He was wearing a formal suit, but had the skull of a deer for a head. With his past experience, Kang Joo-hyun immediately realized this was also a narrator. But this guy didn't look like the one who had watched over humanity's apocalypse. Turning back to this narrator, after seeing that the cotton balls had gathered, he explained, "I will briefly explain your current situation. You will become narrators. At working for Celestial Incorporated, you are present here. To prove your own abilities, that is all the explanation you will get." That incredibly brief and nonsensical explanation really made Kang Joo-hyun's head spin. Just 3 seconds ago, he had kicked the bucket only to be revived in the body of some cotton ball. And while he still couldn't understand what was happening, some deer-headed guy suddenly appeared, explaining that they would become narrators and work for some god-forsaken company. Everything was happening so fast that Kang Joo-hyun felt like his head was still in the clouds, and right after that, this two-horned guy waved his hand, creating a portal right under their feet, which scared the Cotton Ball brothers white. And right after that, the whole bunch fell into the portal together. Meanwhile, the narrator above didn't forget to bid them farewell. Now then, show us what you've got. Back to Kang Joo-hyun, whose soul was about to leap out of his body. Are we in outer space? Is he trying to kill us all or something? But luckily for him, right after that, a notification screen suddenly appeared, activating the blessing of Genesis. And as this notification appeared, a certain surge of power suddenly emerged, enveloping all the little cotton balls to protect them. And thanks to it at that moment, everyone was able to breathe, floating in space. And then, a mission notification screen appeared. First step, mission. You are now a storyteller. Storytellers are entities that present stories to the Holy Spirits. To do this, you must select a person to present to. Objective: sign the first contract. If successful, you will be promoted to an official employee. If you fail, you die. Time limit 1 hour. After Kang Joo-hyun finished reading the mission, he just wanted to punch the person who gave this mission right in the face. What the hell is this? A 1-hour time limit after just throwing us into this situation without a word. And what's this? I'll die if I fail. What kind of bullshit mission is this? And just as he was thinking this, Kang Joo-hyun noticed something up ahead. Is that Earth? But Earth was destroyed a few years ago, so how? Then Kang Joo-hyun used 100% of his brain power to think. I definitely died. But suddenly I was reborn and became a storyteller. Did I go back in time? What is going on? Oh, whatever. I'm not sure what happened, but for now, I'll focus on this mission. If this is the past, then this must be before Earth was destroyed. It must also be when the collectors were active even before the apocalypse on Earth. Life on this planet was already far from normal. Gates appeared everywhere and monsters poured out of them. The collectors were the ones who hunted and killed those monsters. It seems I have to choose one of the collectors who hasn't signed a contract yet. But something's strange. Collectors have to sign a contract with a storyteller to receive sponsorship from the Holy Spirits and earn points. Collectors need points to get stronger. This means any normal collector would be desperate to sign a contract with a storyteller. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. But isn't this mission a little too easy? Thinking this, he reached out his tiny hand and pressed the accept button on the screen. Then Kang Ju-hyun began to scan the map to choose a landing spot. Let's see. My location is Seoul, South Korea, but there's a little problem right now because his hands are too short. I can't reach the screen. It's so hard to press anything. My hands are so damn short I don't even have fingers. For crying out loud, even gloves have a separate spot for the thumb. If I ever meet the guy who designed this interface, he'd better watch out. And as if hearing Kang Ju-hyun's inner thoughts right after that, suddenly his body began to glow and some kind of transformation occurred. Back to the deer-headed man, he was observing all the storyteller interns. Most of them still don't grasp their situation. Looks like this time won't be very fun either. But just then, he noticed one of the screens and was slightly startled. This is... Following his gaze, Kang Ju-hyun, who had been a cotton ball-like figure, suddenly transformed into a handsome CEO type. Even Kang Ju-hyun, the one who transformed, couldn't understand what had just happened. I suddenly transformed. Is it because I wished for it? Whatever, that's not important right now. Thinking this, Kang Ju-hyun started using his human hands to make a selection on the screen, and right after, he vanished before the astonished eyes of the other cotton balls. Did you guys see that? He changed his appearance. How is that possible? Astonished shouts rang out, and even the deer-headed man's eyes widened. He changed his appearance. Normally, it takes 2 to 4 weeks for a newly born storyteller to change their appearance, but it only took him 3 minutes. How can this be? It seems this mission, maybe this won't be so boring after all. The cheerful deer-headed man's thoughts turned to Kang Ju-hyun. Right now, he was in Seoul, South Korea. To be more specific, the place he appeared was the Collectors Association. Basically, in the past, this place was reduced to dust when the apocalypse began. But that was just a fleeting thought for Kang Ju-hyun. Right now, he had to focus on finding a collector. For myself first, thinking this, Kang Ju-hyun hurriedly began to observe the map. At that moment, various green and red dots appeared on it. The red dots were people who had already signed a contract, while the green dots were those who hadn't. If Kang Ju-hyun understood the true nature of this mission correctly, it all depended on who he signed a contract with. If he contracted with an incompetent and talentless collector, he wouldn't be able to attract the Holy Spirit's attention, and that meant no points. To put it simply, the storytellers are like streamers, and the main characters are the collectors, these storyteller gods. They'll live stream the collectors' fights, and the Holy Spirits are the viewers. If they like what they see, they'll donate. I'm going to have to clear a pretty high bar, Kang Ju-hyun mumbled. And at that same moment, a police officer appeared behind him and asked, "Hey, who are you? Are you a collector?" Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun said, "I'm just looking for someone. Don't bother me." Hearing that the police officer assumed he wasn't a collector and reacted, "Don't you know only authorized people are allowed in here?" As he spoke, he started to grab Kang Ju-hyun's shoulder, but right after that, he was sent flying by a bolt of lightning. That was the Genesis system's protection mechanism. This mechanism helps prevent these streamer gods from getting stabbed in the back by someone. Back to the present. After the police officer was knocked away, he realized something. He quickly asked, "Could you be a storyteller?" "That's right," Kang Ju-hyun said. The police officer, hearing this, stammered, I'm sorry, I thought you were a human. Please forgive me." After saying that, he rushed off. As for Kang Ju-hyun, after seeing this, he could only give a wry smile. This kind of treatment towards storytellers only makes the fact that I've returned to the past feel more real. Well, whatever. As he said this, Kang Ju-hyun started to leave the Collectors Association, and that's when he noticed something. The system screen was displaying the names and ages of the pedestrians up ahead. Everyone's names and ages, huh? But this information is no help at all for my mission. I can't just grab any collector I see and start interviewing them. This is a real pickle, Kang Ju-hyun thought as he started to turn off the system screen. But just then, Kang Ju-hyun suddenly spotted something strange up ahead. Following his gaze, a book had suddenly appeared floating in the air above everyone's head. This made Kang Ju-hyun a bit curious. What's that, a book? Can't they see it? It seems like this book isn't being displayed by the Genesis system. That means this must be my own unique skill. He then looked at the time remaining and calculated. Not enough time, but there's still a little left. With that thought, Kang Ju-hyun reached his hand towards one of the books. He concentrated, and immediately after, the floating book started to drift towards him. "It actually worked. I was just trying it out," Kang Ju-hyun exclaimed in amazement. Next, he opened the silver book to read it, and its contents truly startled him. "Wait a minute, isn't this basically cheating?" Kang Ju-hyun was so happy he broke into a sweat. Back with the deer-headed man after seeing only 3 minutes left on the timer, he mumbled, "Humph, all the others have already found someone to sign a contract with. Looks like he's the only one left. I'm very curious to see what he'll do. He changed so quickly, but there's only 1 minute left. Basically, you could say it's over, no matter how talented he is. If you can't complete the mission, you get logged out." Back to Kang Ju-hyun, who had just suddenly appeared in some room, and he saw a girl eating ramen. After seeing Kang Ju-hyun suddenly appear like that, the girl was startled and fell backward, then anxiously said, "What the who are you? How did you get in here? If you don't leave right now, I'm calling the police. Do you hear me?" The girl shouted when Kang Ju-hyun didn't react to her words, but this was understandable, because from Kang Ju-hyun's perspective, there was a bright yellow book above the girl's head. "Found you," he mumbled. "Let's add a bit more information. The mixed world. The mixed world, which is the world Kang Ju-hyun is in now, is a place where even abstract concepts can exist. This is a place where concepts and ideas become reality. For example, myths, stories of legendary heroes, horror stories, and so on. This is a world where both physical and spiritual things harmonize with each other to form reality. That's the place where he's living right now. So even if he learned skills like this, it wouldn't be anything unusual. Let's go back to when Kang Ju-hyun had just read the silver book. This is what was written inside. Name Kim Sang-duk. 31 years old. Skill water cannon. Awakening date. 5 years ago. Combat ability average. Born into a poor family. This book didn't just show the skills of a person. It also showed their past. Kang Ju-hyun was truly impressed by the information this book displayed. And right after that, he glanced up above his own head to check. Do I have a book like that too? Probably not. I wasn't expecting much, but I still feel a little sad. But why do these books have different colors? As he spoke, Kang Ju-hyun started to return the book to its owner. And next, he took someone else's silver book. He read it to compare, and before long he realized something. This is, if my guess is correct, I've only seen bronze and silver books so far, but there must be gold books too. The higher the color of the book, the more valuable the life that person has lived, and the aura radiating from the book will also show that person's talent and potential. Even if the book is bronze, but the aura it gives off is silver, then that person has the potential to rise to the silver level. I can't believe I can see the potential of collectors who haven't made a contract yet. This is amazing. So now I just need to do one thing, and that is, I just need to walk around the areas with the most green dots and find someone with super high potential. With this skill, I'll definitely be able to find someone talented. Thinking this, Kang Ju-hyun immediately vanished on the spot. And right after that, he began to realize just how cruel this society was. Because even with the support of his super hack skill, all he saw were a bunch of junk heap bronze books. I can't find anyone, damn it. Why is there no one? Why is there? Kang Ju-hyun lamented as he lay sprawled on the ground. And then right after that, his eyes darted over to check the time, and he worried, time's almost up. But I can't just randomly choose another color. Not when I know that somewhere out there is someone with a gold book. If only that blessing that lets me teleport didn't have a cooldown, I could have searched much faster. As he said this, he remembered something. He hurriedly turned to a passerby and asked, "Excuse me, may I ask what year it is?" The strange question from Kang Ju-hyun surprised the girl a bit, but she still answered, "It's 2025. October 22nd, I think." "Thank you," Kang Ju-hyun said. Then he stroked his chin and thought, so it's 5 years before the apocalypse. During this time period which collectors haven't revealed their talents yet, I should pick someone who will appear within the next 6 months. That's right. The ones known as the Miraculous Trio, Monster Sage Bang Sang Fire, Knight Kun Idian, and Sword Queen Kang Hee Jin. I think those were the ones. Bang Sang hides his identity. There's too little time left, so it's impossible to find him. The Fire Knight is probably still in America, so finding him would be difficult too. Then, the only one left is the Sword Queen Kang Hee Jin. She's definitely the strongest of the legendary trio. There was an interview that said she remained anonymous during the early stages of her career. Thinking of this, Kang Ju-hyun immediately used the storyteller's instant teleportation ability. And right after that, he vanished on the spot. When he reappeared, he found himself inside a cramped room. Huh? This place is a dormitory. Someone like Kang Hee-jin lives in a place like this. Then, he also spotted a girl slurping noodles in the corner of the room and spoke up asking if she was Kang Hee-jin. And after that, well, you all know what happened next. Kang Hee-jin was completely startled and threatened to call the police on Kang Joo-hyun. Back on Kang Joo-hyun's side, after confirming the yellow book above Kang Hee-jin's head, he politely placed a hand on his chest and said, "Hello, you're the collector Kang Hee-jin, correct?" Hearing this, Kang Hee-jin stammered, Yes, that's right. And who are you?" "I am a storyteller from the Celestial Corporation dispatched to Earth. My name is Kang Joo-hyun. I'm here to sign a contract with you." Hearing this, Kang Hee-jin was taken aback and asked again, "Really? Are you really here to sign a contract with me?" As she spoke, her eyes began to sparkle with hope. This expression, combined with her tattered clothes patched on both sides, made Kang Joo-hyun start to doubt his own thoughts. Did I really come to the right person? But then, he decided to trust his special skill and said, "Yes, that's right. I'm here to sign a contract with you, Miss Kang Hee-jin." As for Kang Hee-jin, you could tell she was a truly sincere person. After hearing the offer from Kang Joo-hyun, she said worriedly, "But my skills are terrible, and besides, I can't even fight." These words came from the famous Sword Queen. This startled Kang Joo-hyun a little. "Who told you such baseless things?" Hearing that, Kang Hee-jin said dejectedly, "Everyone around me says so. That's why I gave up on becoming a collector and started thinking about taking the civil service exam." Meanwhile, Kang Joo-hyun listened and now understood everything. I was wondering why she was living in a place like this. It must be because she hasn't realized her own talent yet. Thinking this, he decided to encourage the girl with a few words. "No, they only say that because they don't know just how amazing your skills are." "Really?" Kang Hee-jin asked nervously. "Of course. I'm a storyteller after all. I'm the one who creates the stories for the constellations. You don't even believe me." As he spoke, Kang Joo-hyun began to stare intently at the girl, with the eyes of a pyramid scheme recruiter. "The future outcome doesn't matter as long as I can trick this mark into believing me. For now, it's all good." Just kidding. Returning to the story, Kang Joo-hyun then pulled a contract out of thin air and said, "I will help you reach your full potential. You just need to sign here." Even now, Kang Hee-jin still couldn't believe it. "I'm really going to become a collector?" "That's right. You're more than capable of becoming a collector." Kang Joo-hyun laid on the sweet talk. Hearing that, Kang Hee-jin started reaching behind her for a pen, but suddenly she cried out, "Wait, where did I put my pen?" "Oh, here it is." Kang Joo-hyun immediately handed her a pen. There wasn't much time left. "If I wait for this girl to find a pen, it'll be all over for me. Hurry up, Kang Joo-hyun mumbled as he watched her begin to sign the contract. And then right after that, Kang Hee-jin smiled brightly and said, "All done." Kang Joo-hyun glanced at the timer, saw there were still 2 seconds left, and breathed a sigh of relief. Just then a screen appeared with a notification congratulating him. "First step mission complete. Reward promotion to official employee." The appearance of this screen made Kang Joo-hyun crack a faint smile. This was the first step in his new life. "Before I died, I swore that I wouldn't live another life full of regrets. But I never imagined I'd be resurrected and become a storyteller, still since it happened. So I'll try my best to live a meaningful life." Yes. Thinking this, he turned and said to the Sword Maiden, "I'm very much looking forward to working with you. Miss Kang Hee-jin." "Yes, I'll be in your care," Kang Hee-jin replied cheerfully. Sword Maiden. Kang Hee-jin looked so noble that there were rumors she came from a wealthy family, but I never expected her to be so different. Setting that aside, next Kang Joo-hyun reached for the book above her head and started reading to see if he could find anything interesting. And then right after that, his eyes nearly popped out of his head. "Whoa, what is this?" She has a whole 3 protagonist traits. According to Kang Joo-hyun's vision, this is what was written inside the book. 1 name, Kang Hee-jin. Abilities: Sword Master of the Goryeo Dynasty Sword, and self as one unawakened heavenly sword path unawakened. After reading the description, he turned to look at Kang Hee-jin as if she were a monster. Yes. Among the 3 traits was the story of Cheok Jun-gyung, having 3 of the highest-level protagonist abilities, and she hasn't even awakened 2 of them yet. If she awakens all 3, I can't even imagine how strong she'll be. Thinking this, he spoke up. "Ms. Kang Hee-jin?" "Yes, I'm listening, Mr. Storyteller," she said politely. But this overly respectful attitude also made Kang Joo-hyun a bit flustered, and he said, "You can just call me Kang Joo-hyun." Do you know about your own ability? Hearing this, Kang Hee-jim began to look sad and said, I know. My ability is terrible, isn't it? After hearing that, Kang Ju-hyun's mind went blank, his face covered in question marks. Seeing his confusion, Kang Hee-jim began to explain. Well, during basic training, we were told not to tell others about our abilities, but we've already signed a contract, haven't we? Kang Ju-hyun sighed. Hearing that, Kang Hee-jim scratched her head with a laugh and said, The name of the ability is Swordmaster of the Goryeo Dynasty? Doesn't that name just sound like a joke? And her words started to make Kang Ju-hyun, who was opposite her, feel a little pissed off. This woman? Everyone wishes they could have a protagonist-level ability like this, and yet she's looking down on it. Thinking this, he tried his best to regain his composure and said, You haven't told anyone else about your ability, have you? That's right. People don't usually ask, and besides, it's embarrassing to say, Kang Hee-jim said. Over here, Kang Ju-hyun. After hearing that, didn't know what to say to this clueless girl anymore. Ignorance is truly a terrifying thing. But his silence made the anxious Kang Hee-jim say, Are you disappointed because my ability is too weird? You can't take back the contract. At this rate, I'll be kicked out of here. No, I'm not disappointed at all, Kang Ju-hyun said awkwardly. Really? Kang Hee-jim asked again. It's true, Kang Ju-hyun answered firmly. But just at that moment, a notification screen suddenly appeared before his eyes. Mission Welcoming Ceremony. You have completed the first step to becoming a storyteller. You have been promoted to an official employee. You will now take on roles befitting your position. Therefore, the company will hold a welcoming ceremony to celebrate your promotion. Details: participate in the welcoming ceremony. You cannot refuse this mission. Upon completion, you will be rewarded based on your actions. Do you wish to begin immediately? And after reading the mission, Kang Ju-hyun knew he had to leave right away, so he said to Kang Hee-jim behind him, Ms. Kang Hee-jim, I have to leave for a bit. So suddenly, how long will you be gone? Kang Hee-jim wondered. I'm not sure either, but it looks like it'll take quite a while. By the way, Ms. Kang Hee-jim, what equipment are you using? Hearing his question, Kang Hee-jim pointed to a shield in the corner of the room and said, I use a shield. Kang Ju-hyun was a bit surprised. Huh, so you're using that instead of a weapon. Kang Hee-jin could tell Kang Ju-hyun was confused, so she explained, That's right. I don't have any combat-related abilities, but I'm incredibly strong. I figured it would be best to carry a shield onto the battlefield, but it's still not enough. To clear up his confusion, Kang Ju-hyun asked, During basic training, you must have tried using other things, right? Hearing this, Kang Hee-jin smiled brightly and said, Oh, I used a spear back then. The trainers there recommended it to me, because its reach is long and safe. Upon hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun could only bite his lip and think, This Kang Hee-jin. Why did she choose everything but a sword? To prevent her from wasting any more time on pointless things, he spoke seriously. Listen to me carefully. First, go exchange this shield for a sword, then find a wide open space and practice swinging it. Huh? Is that all I have to do? Kang Hee-jin said in astonishment. Yeah, you'll understand soon enough just how amazing your Goryeo Dynasty swordsmanship master ability is. Remember to practice just like I told you. After speaking, he tapped the accept button on the system screen and vanished instantly. Kang Hee-jin was about to ask something else, but unfortunately he was already gone. A long while later, she had exchanged the shield for a sword and gone to a wide open space just as Kang Ju-hyun had requested. I've switched to a sword like he said. But can I really learn how to use it just by swinging it? I've never even swung a sword before. Kang Ju-hyun, you idiot. You should have been more specific. As she thought this, Kang Hee-jin began to swing the sword wildly, but then right after that, she was surprised to discover. What is this feeling? It's a strange sensation that I've never felt before. What on earth is this? Kang Hee-jin thought to herself and continued to swing the sword. Sometime later, Kang Ju-hyun used his instant teleportation ability to appear where Kang Hee-jin was. She's slow. It took more time than I thought. I wonder how she's doing. With that thought, he saw Kang Hee-jin practicing her sword swings and was impressed. Her stance is so steady even without anyone to teach her. But that's to be expected. They don't call her the Sword Queen for nothing. Just then, Kang Hee-jin noticed Kang Ju-hyun's presence and said with a start, Oh, storyteller Kang Ju-hyun, when did you get here? Kang Ju-hyun replied, Oh, did I interrupt your training? You looked so focused I didn't want to disturb you. Oh my, it wasn't that serious, Kang Hee-jin said shyly, turning towards Kang Ju-hyun. As soon as she did, he looked at a notification that had just arrived. Poetry Department Official Employee Mission. You have completed your task and chosen your path. As an employee, this is only the first step. From now on, your life as a storyteller and a member of the poetry department truly begins. The road ahead of you will not be easy. Start collecting the things you need for the future and create your own story. Objective: create a library. Reward for completion: personal library. Penalty for failure: none. Time limit: none. At that moment, Kang Hae-jin saw Kang Joo-hyun staring intently at something. So she asked, "Storyteller, what are you doing?" Hearing this, Kang Joo-hyun replied, "I'm thinking about creating a library." Kang Hae-jin was a little startled. "Huh. A library, isn't that the first thing storytellers are supposed to do?" To explain her confusion, Kang Joo-hyun said, "It's because I've only just started as a storyteller." But this made Kang Hae-jin even more astonished. "No way! You look like a seasoned veteran with a ton of experience." "What would I gain from lying to you?" Kang Joo-hyun continued. He turned to look at the system screen. It was now asking him to enter a name for his library. To make things even simpler, it even provided a list of suggestions. List of SSS class story collector libraries. I alone have infinite luck. The collector with 999 combat power. 99,999. The eldest son of a rich family is a collector. The overpowered collector who doesn't hide his strength. I became a collector by stumbling upon unbelievable luck. My cheat level class even comes with a pet and blah blah blah. In short, just looking at these names made Kang Joo-hyun cringe with embarrassment. Just hearing these damn names is exhausting. But through these names, he realized he'd have to choose a name like this too, to get attention. Wait, it looks like this person is starting their story. Let's see what he's got. Thinking this, Kang Joo-hyun also tapped the screen, and right after that, an image appeared before him. On the TV screen was some guy getting mercilessly tormented by 4 or 5 fluffy things, completely without mercy. The constellations watching this scene started by tossing him 100 points, then began cursing up a storm. After seeing these comments, Kang Joo-hyun felt sorry for his colleague. These constellations are only leaving negative comments for the guy. This is exactly why you have to sign a contract with a talented collector. But that collector really is terrible. I'll just create the library first. I can pick a name later. And as soon as Kang Joo-hyun finished creating the library, the system screen displayed a notification confirming the task was complete. You have received a personal library. You have received the observer's room. You can move freely to the observer's room. Seeing this, he spoke to Kang Hae-jin behind him. "Ms. Kang Hae-jin, are you ready to wield your sword?" And while the clueless girl was still trying to understand, Kang Joo-hyun had already pressed the teleport button, and the two of them instantly vanished. Right after that, the two of them appeared on the rooftop of some building. As soon as Kang Hae-jin appeared in this place, she immediately wondered, this is a place simulated based on myths, legends, and stories. And then he looked at the spatial gate before them and continued, "That's the entrance to the mental world. You know that after signing a contract with a collector. We storytellers write the stories, right? That means we present our stories. We storytellers sign contracts with collectors to let the constellations see our stories. Now let me ask you this. Do you know what the story we want to present entails?" Hearing this, Kang Hae-jin thought for a moment and said, Isn't it about the life of a character?" What Kang Hae-jin said was quite accurate, but it was missing something. So Kang Joo-hyun began to explain in more detail, "You could say that. However, the stories that the constellations like are all different, so the genre of each story is also different. But even so among them, there's one genre that attracts the most attention, and that is the epic. From now on, you will become the main character of one of those epics, Ms. Kang Hae-jin." Hearing that, Kang Hae-jin became a little worried and asked, Can I really do it?" After hearing her, Kang Joo-hyun patted her on the shoulder to give her a bit of confidence and said, "Of course, I will help you do it. First, let's just head inside." After saying that, the two of them began to step inside the gate and vanished right after. And after they reappeared on the other side of the gate, Kang Joo-hyun began explaining the place. "These are all goblins of the Anva mountain range. Do you know about goblins?" "Yes, I know a little," Kang Hae-jin said hurriedly. Turning back to her, Kang Joo-hyun then opened his library. To broadcast live. In short, to open a live stream. And as soon as he opened the live room, a few notifications popped up. The grieving adventurer has entered the library. The drunken customer has entered the library. Kasara's guide has entered the library. Seeing that constellations had come to watch, Kang Joo-hyun hurriedly said, "Welcome to my library. I am the owner of this library." Kang Joo-hyun, At the same time, he realized the viewers were the same ones who had left negative comments in the other room. They probably came here out of curiosity. And in response to Kang Ju-hyun's polite greeting, these constellations didn't seem to care much. In short, they didn't take him very seriously and wanted him to get on with his story, to avoid wasting time. These comments were making Kang Ju-hyun's head spin. It seems like they're just waiting to see us fail. Fine then. I have to do this to put those arrogant holy spirits in their place. Kang Ju-hyun then turned to Kang Hae-jim behind him and said, "Hey, Kang Hae-jim, I'm going to the observer's room to show the holy spirits your story. From now on, you'll have to fight alone." And his words made Kang Hae-jim jump. "All by myself." "It's okay. Just swing your sword like you practiced a moment ago. You'll be fine." Kang Ju-hyun encouraged her with confidence. At the same time, in front of them a monster started to emerge. The hideous appearance of this monster only made Kang Hae-jim even more terrified. "Narrator, these goblins." In response to her words, Kang Ju-hyun could only offer some encouragement. "Ms. Kang Hae-jim, you can do this. Please believe in yourself, even if you say that this is still too scary," Kang Hae-jim said weakly. The lizard-like appearance of this monster had frightened her to the point of tears. "I'm so scared I could die." And at that moment, the lizard monster in front of her swung its arm right at her. Luckily, Kang Hae-jim was nimble enough to dodge it. But even so, the lizard man's strike was incredibly powerful enough to shatter the ground below. And then, the red-skinned lizard man continued its relentless assault on Kang Hae-jim while she could only cry out in fear, "Somebody help me!" And as Kang Hae-jim backed away to dodge these attacks, she suddenly tripped on a rock jutting out from the ground and fell flat on her back. But thanks to that, she managed to dodge a horizontal slash from the monster. But falling to the ground seemed to make Kang Hae-jim lose all her will to fight. "This is bad. At this rate, I'm going to die. I have to escape." And in her moment of extreme fear, for some reason, memories from long ago suddenly surfaced in Kang Hae-jim's mind. It was from when she had just become a collector. "Hey, look at her. That's her right. The one with nothing but brute strength. Even her ability is nothing special. A healer would be more useful. She can't even form a pact with a narrator. Doesn't that just make her a normal person? She'd be better off taking the civil service exam." Back then, she could only grit her teeth and endure those words. "Can I go on like this forever, running away? What if I run away again? I'm useless, so it doesn't matter what I do, I can't succeed. I won't be able to face Mr. Kang Ju-hyun anymore. It doesn't matter what happens to me." With that thought, it seemed Kang Hae-jim had found her resolve again, gripping the sword tightly in her hand. At that same moment in the observer's room, Kang Ju-hyun was also watching the scene unfold outside. He then shouted, "Ms. Kang Hae-jim, get out of the way!" But from his point of view at that moment, the lizard monster had already charged right in front of Kang Hae-jim and swung its arm to attack her. And in that dangerous instant, Kang Hae-jim lowered her head slightly to calm herself. Then right after, she stared intently at the red-skinned lizard man with a dangerous look in her eyes. And at that very same moment, she also raised the sword in her hand to block the lizard man's overhead attack. And not only that, she used the momentum to parry the lizard man's arm to the side with her sword, then slashed straight at him. As a result, the red-skinned lizard monster took a direct hit to the head. I know it sounds like I'm dragging this out, but everything really happened in just a few seconds. The sudden transformation from a scared weak girl into a lioness that took down a monster, in a single blow, left both Kang Ju-hyun and the holy spirits who were watching with their jaws dropped in amazement. The beast inside Kang Hae-jim had awakened. "I will never be afraid again." Her eyes showed immense determination, and after Kang Ju-hyun saw her expression, he smiled and said, "There she is. Now that's the real Kang Hae-jim." At the same time, a stream of light suddenly flew out from the red-skinned lizard's corpse and entered Kang Hae-jim's body. After that, she herself received a notification, "You have received 7 points." And this notification started to make Kang Hae-jim feel overjoyed. "I did it. I really did it." Kang Ju-hyun then congratulated her. "Great job, I knew you could do it." But the battle isn't over yet. This world has a lot of fun things in store, so you can't stop here, okay? Be greedier, more ambitious. You can do that, right? Okay? Kang Hae-jim continued. She also rushed in, taking on 3 red-skinned lizards by herself. At the same time, in the management office of the Celestial Body Company, someone was also watching Kang's live stream, Ju-hyun, and wondered, "What's this? It's been less than an hour and he already has 15 viewers. Seriously, the owner of this voice was the high-level trader Tao Dan. He started checking Kang Ju-hyun's information, perplexed. Even if he's being promoted, this is ridiculous. Kang Ju-hyun, huh? This is the first time I've ever heard that name. He must be a newcomer, but it's unbelievable that he managed to gather so many viewers like this. There must be some kind of trick. I need to check this out immediately. With that thought, he immediately clicked on Kang Ju-hyun's channel to see just what kind of trick this newcomer was using to attract so many people. And right after that, his eyes widened as he saw the scene on the screen. What the hell is this? Who is this collector? She's not even wearing any protective gear, and her weapon is so ordinary. I've seen a lot of collectors, but this one is stronger than anyone I've ever seen, and she's even getting stronger by the minute. Back with Kang Ju-hyun after seeing Kang Hae-jim slaughter the horde of red-skinned lizards, to the point that they were crying, he couldn't help but be impressed with Kang Hae-jim. She adapts to her abilities so quickly. It was definitely worth the time I spent looking for her. And then, he turned to brag to the spirits about his rookie. Well now, spirits, this is her very first battle. Pretty impressive, isn't it? But that's not all. She can do even more. And Kang Ju-hyun's words were like a stimulant for the spirits. They started getting hyped up and continuously sent points to support Kang Hae-jim. Countless notification screens popped up congratulating Kang Hae-jim for receiving 200 points and 150 points. Just then, Kang Hae-jim noticed something up ahead and spoke up. Hey, Mr. Kang Ju-hyun, what is that? Following her gaze, a red barrier had appeared at the back of the cave. Kang Ju-hyun heard her and began to explain, that's the boundary. You can't enter that area to fight. The collectors have an agreement about it. To maintain stability. Yes, I understand. There was a hint of disappointment in Kang Hae-jim's voice, and Kang Ju-hyun seemed to notice it. He asked, Are you disappointed? Yes, a little. Because it all ended so quickly, Kang Hae-jim said hastily. Hey, who said this was the end? We've come this far. And so we have to see it through to the very end, right? You mean, Kang Hae-jim said as she started looking towards the boundary. That's right. You're going to completely erase this mindscape. Kang Ju-hyun began to persuade her. A mindscape can be removed from reality by wiping it out. But when you erase one, a new one will appear in a different location. Since no one knows what story it tells, they don't hesitate to enter it. But it can be quite dangerous inside. That's why people started maintaining this mindscape as it is instead of erasing it. And being a collector, Hae-jin knew this very well. So she turned to Kang Ju-hyun to make sure. Is this really okay? And after hearing her words, Kang Ju-hyun stepped up to reassure her. Is there a problem? If anything happens, you can just say that I forced you to do it. Besides, you don't look like you want to stop here either. Was I that obvious? Kang Hae-jim said, flustered. Then, she psyched herself up and said, All right then, I'll do as you say. Her decision was met with overwhelming support from the spirits. And to make the atmosphere even more exciting, Kang Ju-hyun resumed his emceeing. All right, spirits. Let's all cheer for Ms. Kang Hae-jim. It would be boring to stop here. Back with Tao Dan after seeing this rookie duo decide to break through the boundary on their very first battle, he couldn't help but worry for them. Wait, what is she planning to do, cross the boundary? No. She can't possibly be serious, can she? She must be insane. That's a taboo for collectors on Earth. Things weren't supposed to happen like this. The green lizard god started screaming when he saw Kang Hae-jin charging straight toward the boundary, and this dangerous act also pushed up the number of viewers on the stream. Kang Ju-hyun's live stream reached 20 viewers, but that didn't surprise him much. A protagonist must relentlessly push forward to achieve their goals. That's what it means to be a hero. In the past on Earth, stories were filled with adventure, but collectors set boundaries within the mental realm and repeatedly farmed just to stay safe. As a result, the Holy Spirits lost interest, and instead the apocalypse began all to create more interesting stories. The end of this world? I have to change that. Not through outside interference, but by relying on myself. Thinking this, Kang Ju-hyun decided on the title for his story, Chronicles of the Sword Empress, The Hero's Tale. Viewers 25, and not long after that, right before Kang Hae-jin entered the deepest part of the mine, Kang Ju-hyun suddenly appeared in front of her and said, Great job, Ms. Kang Hae-jin. We've made it to the deepest part of the mine. Meanwhile, Kang Hae-jin, seeing Kang Ju-hyun appear, she immediately lit up and said, Mr. Kang Ju-hyun. The way her expression changed so quickly. Surprised Kang Ju-hyun. Huh. A second ago, she looked so intimidating. And then he said, We're almost there. Why don't you get some rest? And as soon as she heard those words from him, Kang Hae-jin plopped down and said, Yes, I am a little tired. Turning towards Kang Ju-hyun, he looked at her and thought to himself, she made it this far thanks to her skills and strength, but it's clear she's pushed herself a bit too hard. I'll have to help her train her physical stamina later. With that thought, he asked aloud, how does it feel to fight with a sword? It's amazing I should have been using a sword from the very beginning, Kang Hejin said, giving a thumbs up. And as soon as she said it, Kang Ju-hyun noticed the book above her head began to shine brighter. The book is brighter. It seems what Kang Hejin accomplished today has changed something. Then he sat down and reminded her this is the final level. Remember when the goblins ran away? They've probably all gathered together and are waiting for you. It looks like they have a leader. Their movements are very coordinated. It's fine if you want to stop here. At his words, Kang Hejin started laughing and said, are you kidding me? We've come this far. I have to see it through to the end. You're the one who told me to cross the boundary and come in here. It wasn't just to mess around, was it? Of course not. I take responsibility for my words. So shall we go? Kang Ju-hyun said, all right then. Kang Hejin answered confidently. Her confidence made Kang Ju-hyun a little happy. I was planning to stop her if she showed even a hint of hesitation. But it looks like she's made up her mind. But even so, this is still incredibly dangerous for a beginner. That's why Kang Ju-hyun still had to remind her of a few things before they moved on. But it's going to be dangerous. So we should set a goal first. Do you know how to clear a mental realm? Yes, I've learned how, Kang Hejin replied. Then this will be easy to explain. The condition for clearing a mental realm is conquest. It's best to take down all the goblins, but you should aim for the leader first. There are many ways to clear a mental realm, but this is the easiest method. You just have to defeat the boss monster there. Okay, then let's go, Kang Hejin said happily as she started skipping ahead. But just then, Kang Ju-hyun spoke up again. Wait, I think you should change your weapon first. Why, Kang Hejin wondered, but immediately after, she glanced at the tattered sword in her hand and finally understood why Kang Ju-hyun had to bring it up. What was she supposed to do now? As Kang Hejin spoke, tears were already welling up in her eyes, while on the other side, Kang Ju-hyun. After seeing its condition, he offered his assessment. It's going to snap in half mid-fight. Even though it was a freebie, it was pretty useful. You've already earned a lot of points with it. I've already filtered out the most useful swords. Pick a new one. As he spoke, Kang Ju-hyun showed her a list of swords he considered the best. But the price of these swords made her voice tremble. Is there no discount? I have to make a living too, you know, Kang Ju-hyun said cheerfully, and so right after that, Kang Hejin began to mourn her pile of points before tapping the button to purchase a sword. And the moment she pressed it, her point total immediately dropped to 0. At the same time, the system sent her a sword. Whoa, that looks awesome. It's a huge step up from the one you had before, Kang Ju-hyun congratulated her cheerfully, but his words were of little comfort to Kang Hejin. Right now, she was still heartbroken. All those points she had earned with her blood and sweat had vanished in an instant. My points, Kang Hejin wailed. You can earn them back. Now let's go, Kang Ju-hyun said. Not long after that, Kang Hejin, filled with a murderous rage, started to seek out the boss of this mine. By this time, it had already gathered a considerable number of its minions here. But as soon as Kang Hejin saw it, she said coldly, it's because of you bastards that my sword broke. Now you can all just die. After speaking, she charged straight towards the pack of lizards with her sword and slammed it into the ground. Her landing was so powerful that it made the earth and rock explode and the lizards were sent flying by the shockwave. Die all of you. Do you have any idea how hard I had to work to earn all those points? As she spoke, she sliced the head off one of the lizards. And right after that, she noticed the presence of the boss monster and glared at it with a terrifying look in her eyes. The look of a killer. It was enough to make even a leader of a whole pack like the red lizard tremble uncontrollably. At this point, it was so scared it looked like it was about to cry, I swear. In its entire life, it had never met a woman this crazy. And that was the last thing it thought before its head was separated from its neck. At that very moment, the system announced, you have cleared the kobold dungeon in the Anva range. Afterwards, as if to celebrate successfully conquering the dungeon, Kang Ju-hyun and Kang Hejin went to a pastry shop together. Right now, she was greedily chewing on every piece of cake in her mouth. This is amazing, she said happily. I can't believe a cake this delicious exists. Seeing her so happy from just a piece of cake made Kang Ju-hyun wonder, is the cake really that good? Of course. I never thought I'd get to taste a cake this delicious. I'm so glad we cleared the kobold mine and got so many points, Kang Hejin said, turning to Kang Ju-hyun. Seeing this simple-minded girl with such low standards, he had to remind her, you're this happy over a few cakes. You could even eat them all year round if you keep this up. Really? Kang He-jin asked excitedly. To her question, Kang Ju-hyun bluntly replied, "How you use your points is up to you, but if you eat cake all day and gain weight, that's on you too." That's a pretty rude thing to say, Kang He-jin said, startled. It seemed if Kang Ju-hyun hadn't reminded her, she really would have planned to eat cake for a month straight. Putting the sweets issue aside right now, she remembered something and said, "By the way, you said you knew about my special skill, right? I mean, I sort of figured some of it out while fighting, but what exactly is the Sword Master of the Goryeo dynasty?" Kang Ju-hyun, sitting across from her, heard this, and his expression turned serious as he said, "Do you know the story of Chuk Jun-gyong?" Chuk Jun-gyong, as a low-ranking military commander, a general single-handedly scaled the Great Wall where it was occupied by the Jurchen tribe. He was revered not only for defeating thousands of enemies, but also for his courage to charge into tens of thousands of enemy soldiers, swinging his sword at them without a moment's hesitation. It's said that he might have surpassed the limits of a human being, which is why they called him the Sword Master of the Goryeo dynasty. And Kang He-jin, and after hearing these words, she said in amazement, "Whoa, he was that amazing. But how come I've never heard of it, a story that great? It should be made into a movie." Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun got flustered and said, "It's because his friend's name is a bit weird." "What was his name?" Kang He-jin asked curiously. "I can't bring myself to say it. Come on." "You're making me curious. Tell me," Kang He-jin said excitedly. "Stop it! I'm not going to tell you, so stop asking. I'll report you for harassment." Kang Ju-hyun said this as he started hugging himself, which startled Kang He-jin a bit. What did I do to you? If you're so curious, just look it up online. You carry your phone everywhere, don't you?" Hearing that, Kang He-jin immediately took out her phone. She muttered, "Just how weird can that name be?" But then right after that, I don't know what information she found, but her cheeks immediately flushed red. Then she threw her phone straight at Kang Ju-hyun's head and shouted angrily, "Pervert, I'm suing you for harassment!" "Why are you blaming me?" Kang Ju-hyun yelled. After calming down, he sighed and said, "Anyway, now you see why it was never adapted into a movie. But this doesn't tarnish his reputation. In fact, your potential is even greater than you think." And his words made her face light up as she said, "So you could say I'm a natural talent." Back to Kang Ju-hyun, after seeing Kang He-jim's dorky expression, he worried about how long it would take for the future Sword Queen to become the powerful Sword Queen he knew. Thinking about this, Kang Ju-hyun was startled by a sudden realization. Then he hurriedly said, "That's right. We don't have time to sit around here. We have to start the plan." As he spoke, he started pulling Kang He-jin by the hand, leading her away from there. "What plan?" Kang He-jin said. Hearing her, Kang Ju-hyun began to explain, "We have to build up your image, and for the first step in building that image..." Kang Ju-hyun had finished giving Kang He-jin a makeover. Hey, Kang Ju-hyun, is this outfit okay?" Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun said, "It looks fine. You should be more confident. Now, before we get to the main event, what did I tell you? Don't smile like an idiot and act carefully in front of the spirits," Kang He-jin quickly recited. After hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun felt reassured and said, "Good, let's go." Just then, he noticed the number of viewers was increasing and guessed, "There are more people here than in the Sword Queen's Chronicles. Has the news already leaked?" Then a few comments from the spirits appeared, expressing their surprise at Kang He-jim's new look. This startled Kang Ju-hyun. "Ah, that's right. The spirits." Have never seen Kang He-jin dressed like this. From Kang Ju-hyun's point of view, Kang He-jin was now wearing a classic martial arts style outfit, and thanks to this outfit, her support points were skyrocketing. If you were to survey what's most important in a character, most people would say strength. But if you ask what's second most important, you'd get many different answers. People would say things like teamwork or survival skills, but if it were me, I would confidently say it's their appearance. And thanks to her beautiful appearance, it seems Kang He-jin has already started to get some simps. They were starting to send her heart emojis. This didn't surprise Kang Ju-hyun much. She's always had the looks, but she never bothered to dress up. Now that she's suddenly changed, her aura is completely different. Thinking this, Kang Ju-hyun sent her a few orbs of light and said, "Before you enter the mindscape, you should learn this skill." "Those are the stories I bought earlier. Is this your first time seeing them in person?" "Yes, I've heard of them." "Well, from now on, you'll be seeing them often." "Your abilities are excellent, Kang He-jin, but you can't handle everything on your own, so we need to be thoroughly prepared." "I know. Thank you," Kang He-jin said shyly. Then she began to merge the orbs of light into her body. Seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun quickly asked, How does it feel? Kang Hee-jin began to explain. It feels pretty refreshing. That's a good sign. Usually it takes a bit of effort to absorb them. Hearing him, Kang Hee-jin, who was opposite him, looked a little puzzled and said, But, Kang Ju-hyun, where did you get the points to buy these stories? Her question made Kang Ju-hyun jump. It seemed this was money he had gotten by deceiving Kang Hee-jin, so he quickly changed the subject. Shall we get going now? We should put on a good show for the spirits. And then right after that, the two of them stepped through the gate and appeared in another strange place. The moment they arrived, she asked, Where are we? I haven't told you yet, Kang Ju-hyun said. Kang Hee-jin jumped, then exclaimed, Oh, right. But still, where are we? This place is deserted. There's no one around. Her short-term memory almost made Kang Ju-hyun crack up, but he managed to hold it in. He began to explain, We're in the labyrinth of Crete. To be more precise, the one in the palace of Knossos. A few people have tried to solve the maze, but no one has ever succeeded. Hearing this, Kang Hee-jin asked, Why not? Because they couldn't figure out the condition for clearing it. Besides, the labyrinth itself is a chaotic mess, Kang Ju-hyun said. And just as he was saying that, Kang Hee-jin, who was walking ahead, spotted some bodies at a turn and cried out in shock, Are those... Hearing her, Kang Ju-hyun quickly raised his hand and signaling for her to be quiet and whispered, Don't say anything. Kang Hee-jin lowered her voice and asked, Kang Ju-hyun, are they... Kang Ju-hyun knew what she was asking and said plainly, That's right, they're all dead. Judging by the decomposition, they can't have been dead for long. As he said this, he glanced over at the broadcast feed and thought to himself, The viewer count is over 100 now. There are even some storytellers in there. You can see their intentions written all over their faces. They're just trying to steal ideas from rising stars like her. Watch all you want. Our main goal is to turn these casual viewers into regulars. With that thought, he produced a ball of red thread from somewhere. He handed it to Kang Hee-jin and said, Here, take this. Kang Hee-jin took the ball of thread from his hand and asked, It's just a ball of thread, isn't it? Kang Ju-hyun could tell she didn't get it, so he explained. This is an incredibly complex labyrinth. In the myth, Theseus used a ball of thread to escape. You should use it in case you get lost. I'll be praying for your luck. After saying that, Kang Ju-hyun teleported to the observer's room. A screen showing Kang Ju-hyun appeared in front of Kang Hee-jin. Just walk forward bravely and don't look back. Don't overthink it and don't get bogged down by the little details. And it seems these words ignited Kang Hee-jin's fighting spirit. As she listened to him, a look of determination spread across her face. All right, she said. With that, she began to make her way through the skull-filled labyrinth. Meanwhile, Kang Ju-hyun had to admire her nerves of steel. Kang Hee-jin might not realize it, but her mental fortitude was much higher than the average person's. She didn't panic at all, even after seeing such a gruesome sight. Back to Kang Hee-jin. After wandering through every nook and cranny, she finally spotted a light at the end of a hallway. A ray of light, Kang Hee-jin muttered, and at that very moment, Kang Ju-hyun by her side also noticed something strange. So he shouted a warning, Wait, Ms. Kang Hee-jin! And right after he said that, for some reason, a humongous minotaur suddenly appeared in front of Kang Hee-jin, and as soon as it saw her, it let out a furious roar to intimidate her. It then swung its giant fist towards the slender woman. Its powerful punch caused a small explosion, and Kang Ju-hyun in the observation room could only cry out in worry, Ms. Kang Hee-jin, back to the fight! As the smoke and dust settled, the Bull Demon King discovered that there was no human body beneath its fist, and then to its astonishment, Kang Hee-jin, moving at super speed, struck it right in the chest with her sword. It seems the cut hit an artery or something because blood started gushing out everywhere. Upon seeing this, Kang Hee-jin joyfully said, Looks like I'm having bull's head soup tonight. When the holy spirits who were observing heard her say this, they all started commenting, asking, What's bull's head soup? Over here, Kang Ju-hyun could only say helplessly, Oh, come on. I told her not to say things like that. Next, he quickly shouted instructions to Kang Hee-jin. Ms. Kang Hee-jin, that minotaur. It's much stronger than the goblins. Its hide is thicker and tougher, making it hard for you to hurt it, so fighting it head-on is pretty difficult. You should switch to hit-and-run tactics, wear it down, and finish it with one explosive blow. Ms. Kang Hee-jin, are you even listening to me? Kang Ju-hyun yelled as he saw her charging in, going all out against it. From Kang Ju-hyun's perspective, the minotaur also picked up a large rock at its feet. Then it threw it straight at her. But facing this boulder, Kang Hee-jin remained calm, and with a single slash, shattered it into pieces, and not only that, through the screen, Kang Ju-hyun was startled to realize that the sword in Kang Hae-jin's hand was beginning to emit a faint light while her face took on a serious expression. She then slowly raised the sword in her hand above her head. Streams of light began to converge into the blade, and with the experience of a regressor, Kang Ju-hyun immediately realized what this meant. When did she learn light sword? Sword aura, also known as sword light, is a skill that can only be achieved at a certain level. This skill allows the wielder to channel their inner energy into their weapon. Most characters can't learn sword aura on their own and instead acquire it through the storyline. But Kang Hae-jim learned it by herself. As expected of the Sword Queen, she's truly talented. Kang Ju-hyun exclaimed in admiration. Meanwhile, back in the fight, after gathering the sword light, both the Minotaur and Kang Hae-jim let out a loud roar. Then they charged straight at each other, and as a result, the Minotaur took a sword strike that split its head open. The powerful impact of the blow also sent the creature's body flying far into the distance. After confirming that, the Minotaur was well and truly dead. Kang Hae-jin wiped the sweat from her face and flashed a victorious smile. And this victory also earned her a shower of support points from the Holy Spirits, while Kang Ju-hyun, sitting in the observation room, was left feeling stunned. I barely did anything, and the number of registered spirits has already doubled. I'm growing so fast. But suddenly, Kang Hae-jin's voice rang out, startling him. Mr. Kang Ju-hyun, something strange. I've defeated all the monsters here. But I still haven't cleared the mental realm. Not just her, but even the observing spirits had the same question, as they also didn't understand why. Why wasn't it over yet? After hearing her question, Kang Ju-hyun immediately appeared in front of her and explained, that's because this mental realm isn't over yet. He then turned to the observing spirits and said, everyone must be very curious, right? Why is this maze still intact, even though all the monsters have been eliminated? That's because this maze doesn't simply end just because you defeat the Minotaur boss. As he said this, Kang Ju-hyun began to recall knowledge from his past life. Even in my past life, many people tried to defeat the Minotaur, but no one ever succeeded in completing the maze. That's because they didn't know the right way to get through it. But one day, an adventurer picked up a junk item in the maze and managed to conquer it. Thanks to that person, I figured out how to clear this stage. Thinking this, Kang Ju-hyun began to explain how to complete it. The way to clear this stage is... But before he could finish, Kang Hae-jim, who was beside him, quickly cut in. I get it, so I just need to follow the thread. Kang Ju-hyun heard her and understood what she meant. But that wasn't the way to complete the maze, so he started to say, you're not wrong, but that will just lead you back to the entrance. Normally the entrance to the maze. If none of these are the way out, then... Where is it? Kang Hae-jim asked. As he spoke, Kang Ju-hyun looked up at the cave ceiling. Have you ever heard of Daedalus? Ah, yes. I heard he was the one who created the labyrinth. That's right, he was a genius. Enough of a genius to create this entire complex maze. The thing is, someone managed to escape from here. A place that was supposedly inescapable. Kang Hae-jin thought for a moment, then ventured a guess. Could it have been Theseus? That's right. King Minos in a rage trapped Daedalus and his son Icarus in the labyrinth. However, Daedalus still found a way to escape. As he said this, he bent down, picked up a feather, and held it in front of Kang Hae-jim. Do you recognize this? There are so many feathers around here. At that moment, Kang Hae-jim understood. She said hurriedly, Right, I know what I need to do now. With that, she rushed forward, and not long after, she returned with a huge armful of feathers. Seeing her ecstatic expression, Kang Ju-hyun didn't know what to say. This girl acts like a first grader. I think this should be enough, Kang Hae-jim said, tossing the pile of feathers into the air, and right after that, something bizarre happened. The feathers suddenly transformed into a pair of wings that attached to Kang Hae-jim's back, lifting her into the air. No, I can't believe it. Kang Hae-jim cried out in amazement, and when Kang Ju-hyun saw this, he smiled and congratulated her. Congratulations, Ms. Hae-jim, you found the item. This was the item, the Wings of Icarus. Rarity rare. You can fly once a day. When he turned back to Kang Ju-hyun, he saw the girl just floating there, completely dumbfounded. He had to remind her, what are you doing just hovering there? Don't you remember what I told you earlier? Kang Hae-jim snapped out of it and said, Oh, right. I'm so lucky to have you here to guide me. Thanks to the wing's ability to fly, Kang Hae-jin successfully cleared the labyrinth, and a system notification appeared immediately. You are now clearing the labyrinth of the mindscape. This is an incredible victory. You have conquered the mindscape with your own strength. Her victory also earned her a great deal of support points from the constellations. Back with Kang Hae-jim, although some time had passed since she left the mindscape, She still couldn't stop being giddy. What do you think, awesome, right? As she spoke, she spread the wings on her back to show off to Kang Joo-hyun. Our protagonist, seeing this, could only say awkwardly, "Great, they look nice. Now I'm a collector too. Plus, look at the score we earned. I'm nothing like I was before. Haha, what do you think? I'm beautiful, aren't I? And charming, right?" "Could you please stop?" Kang Joo-hyun said helplessly. But his words had absolutely no effect on the airhead. After hearing him, she even blew Kang Joo-hyun a kiss and said, "Oh, come on, don't be shy. This beauty even works on the constellations, you know." "You're just pretending, right? Come on, what do you really think?" And as a result, how did Kang Joo-hyun feel? He was pale with fright, and so he immediately had to shut down her attitude. With an angry voice, "Stop it, unless you want to get hit. You're so mean." As Kang Hae-jin spoke, tears started to well up in her eyes, but after they passed it off as a light-hearted chat, and she regained her composure, Kang Joo-hyun spoke. "That's enough nonsense. Have you been to the association yet?" Hearing this, Kang Hae-jin scratched her head in confusion. "The association, no. Why do you ask?" "It's time for you to upgrade your rank. You can't stay at rank 9 forever, can you? You have to rank up if you want to earn more money," Kang Joo-hyun said, and just hearing the word money was enough to make this goldfish-brained girl's face light right up. Her eyes even turned into dollar signs, and right after that, she immediately spread her wings and flew straight out the window shouting, "I'm on my way." "Hey, wait for me. Don't use your wings for things like that," Kang Joo-hyun hurriedly shouted, seeing how worked up she was. At the same time, he grew a little worried. If I let her go alone, she'll get into trouble. Not long after, the two of them arrived at the Collectors Association, and the people there were immediately stunned by Kang Hae-jin's beauty and aura. Do you recognize any collector that looks like her? She really does have a special aura. It seems she's not an ordinary collector. Plus, she's so beautiful." In their eyes, Kang Hae-jin was exuding the true aura of a sword queen, cold and powerful, a complete contrast to her dorky attitude at home. Turning back to Kang Joo-hyun, just to be sure, he had to remind the girl beside him one more time, "I'm just saying this as a precaution, but don't even think about revealing those wings in here." It seemed those words hit a little too close to home for Kang Hae-jin. As soon as she heard him, she flinched and stammered, I wasn't thinking that at all." After she spoke, the two of them walked up to the counter. The moment the staff member saw the Sword Queen aura radiating from Kang Hae-jin, he said nervously, "Hello, how may I help you?" And Kang Joo-hyun, seeing his reaction, wasn't too surprised. She must have made this guy nervous. I know the feeling, because I felt the same way in my past life. With that thought, Kang Joo-hyun stated their purpose. "We're here to claim the reward for conquering a mind realm." And the words Kang Joo-hyun spoke caused the people behind them to start murmuring. "What? The reward for conquering a mind realm?" "I heard 2 new mind realms were conquered recently. Don't tell me they're the ones who did it. Are they blinded by fame or something? I can't believe they cleared a mind realm. Tisk tisk. With an attitude like that, they won't last long." Murmurs began to rise, a mix of admiration and jealousy. Meanwhile, the staff member, having heard this, asked for more details. "Did anyone accompany you two?" "No, she conquered the mind realm by herself," Kang Joo-hyun said, and his words shocked the crowd of onlookers even more. "What? No way! He must be lying." Even the staff member found it hard to believe and asked again, "Then could you please tell me her rank?" "Rank 9, Kang Joo-hyun replied coldly. "I see. I will call the person in charge immediately. Please wait a moment." After that, the two of them took a seat to wait, and all the while the crowd's chatter didn't stop. "Did you hear that she's rank 9? I thought she'd be at least rank 5. She's lying about conquering the mind realm, right?" Kang Joo-hyun, hearing these words, grew a little worried and turned to look at Kang Hae-jin. "Whew, she seems okay." And just as he was thinking this, a harsh voice suddenly rang out from in front of them. "Look at that. Scammers are so brazen these days, huh?" This came from some guy. The buff guy with the buzz cut followed with an incredibly cocky look on his face. He looked down at Kang Hae-jin and burst out laughing. "This girl conquered the mental world? That's hilarious. Where do you think you are? How dare a fraud like you run your mouth in here?" And in the face of his words, Kang Hae-jin's expression remained ice cold, and she didn't say a word. However, her attitude was also starting to get on the buzz-cut guy's nerves. He started to get annoyed. Unbelievable, a level 9 just ignored me. Thinking this, he raised his voice. You're not even going to answer me. I guess that makes sense. A level 9 collector conquering the mental world? Now that's a funny joke." After saying that, he started staring intently at Kang Hae-jin, waiting to see her reaction. But unfortunately for him, her robotic expression didn't change, and this was starting to make the buzz-cut guy feel like he was about to explode. "Are you ignoring me?" he said in a tone that sounded like he was ready for a fight at any moment. Luckily, Kang Joo-hyun, who was beside her, spoke up. "I'm sorry, but she doesn't want to talk to you." And his voice caught the buzz-cut guy's attention. He turned and said, "And who the hell is this guy?" "I'm just her manager. And you dare interfere in a matter between two collectors?" "I prefer to be called her colleague," Kang Joo-hyun said to the brute. After hearing that, he turned his anger towards Kang Joo-hyun. "Colleague, so you're a fraud too. I don't know where you crawled out from, but this is the Collectors Association. Get lost if you don't want a beating." He started glaring at Kang Joo-hyun, his voice full of menace. But of course his words had absolutely no effect on him, because he had the protection of the Genesis system after all. Because of that, Kang Joo-hyun spoke confidently, and in response to this challenge, the big guy roared, "You bastard!" as he raised his hand preparing to strike Kang Joo-hyun. Luckily for him, Kang Joo-hyun was still a good person, so he gave him a warning. "Just so you know, she's ferocious. You'd better be careful." But his advice didn't seem to work on thugs like this one, because after hearing it, he threw a punch straight at Kang Joo-hyun. But just before the fist could hit him, it was caught by Kang's small hand. Heejin caught it tightly. Seeing this, the thug shot her an angry look and said, "Huh? What now?" "While I'm still being nice." But before he could finish, the violent young woman used a takedown move that slammed him flat on the ground. The blow was so powerful that it left a huge crater in the floor. The bystanders' faces went pale at the sight. Only Kang Joo-hyun was still able to smile cheerfully after seeing this. "See, I warned you. I told you to be careful, but you wouldn't listen to me." Turning back to the big guy now, he had no idea what had just happened to him. What just happened? "I remember reaching out my hand. No way. Me defeated by a short little girl like this." At that thought, his anger boiled over. He scrambled to his feet, and as soon as he was up, he immediately swung his fist at Kang Heejin. The people around them broke out in a cold sweat, worried for her. A few even squeezed their eyes shut. Mom. Not daring to watch what would happen next. But then things took a turn that completely surprised everyone, because once again the big guy was easily subdued by Kang Heejin. This time, Kang Heejin was twisting one of his arms behind his back, forcing his entire body flat against the ground. It was a familiar restraining hold, one often used by the police. Once caught in this position, it's nearly impossible to escape. The fact that a slender girl like Kang Heejin could so easily restrain this huge guy made everyone start whispering in awe. He lost again. I thought that guy was a level 7. How did he end up like this, even if his guard was down? The crowd's whispers were like thorns stabbing into the big guy's pride. Immediately, he started to get angry again. He glanced over at Kang Joo-hyun and cursed inwardly. That bastard. He planned this from the very beginning. The thought made him unable to hold back his rage, and he struggled to get up again. You bastard! He screamed and actually managed to rise a little, even though Kang Heejin had him in a tight lock. At that moment, a powerful aura began to erupt from him. The surrounding crowd saw this and quickly shouted, "That's flowing key arts. Are they really going to fight inside the association? Are these two crazy?" Back to Kang Heejin. When she saw the big oaf trying to get up, she immediately used her strength to slam him down again, even though he was already pinned to the floor. But this thug still didn't understand the situation and turned to threaten Kang Heejin. "I will never forgive you. I'll show you how strong I am. I'll wipe that smirk right off your face." His words angered Kang Heejin. "Stay put," she said coldly, and right after that, with a single stomp, she drove his face into the floor. This stomp nearly knocked the soul out of the thug. "How?" he said weakly. Meanwhile, Kang Joo-hyun was quite surprised. Oh, she learned the 1,000-pound press on her own. I chose her for her famous Sword Queen title, but this is even better than I imagined. Additional info. The 1,000-pound press is a martial arts technique that uses internal energy to make the body heavier. Back to Kang Heejin, seeing Kang Joo-hyun staring at her made her cheeks begin to blush. She became embarrassed. At that moment, the crowd, seeing the thug flattened on the ground and unable to move, exclaimed in astonishment. No way. He even used the airflow technique and still can't get up. Is she really a level 9? While everyone was still murmuring, a few shouts suddenly rang out. What are you all doing over there? Fighting is forbidden in the association, move aside. Who's causing this commotion? The shouts came from several staff members in black suits who looked like security. Upon seeing them, Kang Joo-hyun observed them with a cold gaze. They're only stepping in now, it's too late. They timed this deliberately. Someone must be giving them orders. And just as he thought, a man from behind them began to approach, saying, "What's all this noise? Fighting in the association. Do we look like a joke to you people?" The owner of the voice was a man in glasses who looked like the manager here. When Kang Ju-hyun saw him appear, he asked, "Are you the one in charge here?" "That's right." "And who are you?" the man asked, turning to look at Kang Ju-hyun. "I'm a colleague of the person involved in this incident. I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding here. We weren't fighting. We merely had a slight disagreement. The other party was the one who started it, so this young lady had no choice but to subdue him. We were acting in self-defense." Hearing this, the manager asked, "So you're saying this entire commotion was caused by that man?" "Of course. Can't you see this young lady doesn't even have a scratch on her? How could someone who just fought have such a calm expression? We were kind enough to subdue a troublemaker for you. Shouldn't you be thanking us?" His explanation earned nods of agreement from the crowd. He's right. It was that man. Who started the fight? As the crowd began to murmur in agreement, it made the manager think for a moment. And then right after that, his expression immediately changed to a bright smile as he said, "It seems I've misunderstood. My apologies." After hearing the apology, Kang Ju-hyun got straight to the point with the manager. "In any case, my lady needs to quickly collect her reward for clearing the mind realm. So when is the manager going to get here?" Hearing this, the man with the glasses hurriedly replied, "I am the manager. We've been very delayed with our work, so that's why I'm a bit late. I heard there was a fight, so please understand. I would like to speak with you privately. Could you spare me a moment of your time?" "That's fine. Heejin, that's enough now," Kang Ju-hyun said, turning to Kang Heejin. After that, the two of them began to follow the manager to a private room. At that moment, the crowd, after seeing the two of them leave, they also started to let out words of admiration. "Wow, that level 9 woman is so amazing. She looks so cool, doesn't she?" And the crowd's reaction also made Kang Ju-hyun a little satisfied. She had made a spectacular debut as a collector. But now it's time for the important part. "I'm going to drain you of everything you have," Kang Ju-hyun thought as he began to stare at the man in front of him. But this wasn't going to be an easy task because from Kang Ju-hyun's perspective above this man's head, there was currently a silver book. The book's cover and its aura were both a brilliant silver. Even though it wasn't gold, he was no opponent to be easily defeated. Just look at the situation from a moment ago. He wanted to pressure me, but as soon as he saw the situation turn disadvantageous for him, his attitude changed instantly. The ability to assess a situation isn't a skill, but a state of emotional change he achieved after accumulating a lot of experience. Over time, he's become just like an old fox. And just as Kang Ju-hyun was thinking this, the two of them arrived at the manager's office. "Well then, please, this way," he continued. After everyone was seated, he introduced himself. "I am Choi Jong-mo. Though it may not be much, my responsibilities here are quite heavy." On the other side, hearing him speak, Kang Ju-hyun also introduced himself. "I'm Kang Ju-hyun, and this is Kang Hae-jin." Then both sides got down to business. "I heard that the two of you completed the mind realm." "Not the two of us. To be precise, she completed it on her own," Kang Ju-hyun said coldly. And after hearing this, Choi Jong-mo smirked slightly and said, "Oh my, is that so? For her to complete it all by herself is even more unbelievable." "Everyone thinks that way, until she demonstrates her abilities," Kang Ju-hyun said while staring intently at the man. And his gaze caused Choi Jong-mo to quickly change his expression to a smile and say, "That's true. So what is it that you want from us?" And before this question, Kang Ju-hyun didn't rush to make his demand, but instead asked back, "What you're saying sounds strange. All we are demanding are the rights we deserve from clearing the mind realm. Or are you not planning to give us our reward?" And these words made Choi Jong-mo flinch for a moment. But immediately after, he composed himself and explained, "If it's about the reward, I can't unilaterally agree to any decision." "Aren't you the manager? Isn't that why you brought us here to talk?" Kang Ju-hyun asked. "I'm truly sorry, but that's precisely the problem," Choi Jong-mo said hurriedly. And from this point on, Kang Ju-hyun had no intention of beating around the bush any longer and laid his cards on the table. "Your name is Choi Jong-mo, correct? Since things have come to this, I'll be honest. I already know that the association will not give us a satisfactory reward." "No way, how could you?" "How could—" Choi Jong-mo stammered, but before he could finish, Kang Ju-hyun, sitting opposite him, cut him off. Let's stop wasting each other's time. The important thing now is, you don't want to give us the reward, do you? We've probed each other enough. Let's speak frankly. And his blunt words made Choi Jong-mo begin to think. If a mind realm isn't completed, another one won't be added. Because of that, the government has always chosen to maintain the status quo, and the association along with the collectors have all agreed with that choice. That way, it doesn't create more trouble for the government, and the association and collectors can hunt and level up safely. Thinking this, he began to speak seriously. Mr. Ju-hyun, you're hitting us right where it hurts. You two have thrown a bucket of cold water on a situation that everyone had tacitly agreed upon. Do you realize that? And in response to his words, Kang Ju-hyun immediately replied, "The reason mind realms exist is to tell stories to the spirits and prove our worth as collectors, but look at how everyone is behaving. They have done the exact opposite of all that." At this moment on the other side, after hearing Kang Ju-hyun's words, Choi Jong-mo said in a low voice, "The opposite. No, this is what's logical. If another mind realm is created, it would cost a lot of money and manpower to analyze it, and there's also the risk that many people would die. We have intentionally kept the mind realms as they are, so people don't have to lose their precious lives." "Your excuse is quite impressive," Kang Ju-hyun said coldly. Hearing this, Choi Jong-mo slammed his hand on the table in anger and shouted, "We do this so that things don't change. If we do as you say, and people die, will you take responsibility?" And his angry attitude had no effect on Kang Ju-hyun. After listening, he was still able to calmly reply, "Why should we take responsibility? We are just fulfilling our roles as collectors. So not only do we not get a reward, we're also being forced to take the blame. How strange. Whether they died or not, that was all due to their own skills and fate." And these words made Choi Jong-mo start trembling with anger. "Watch your mouth!" Meanwhile, Kang Ju-hyun continued, "What I mean is, while I feel sorry for their deaths, there's no need for us to take responsibility." Hearing this, Choi Jong-mo couldn't hold back any longer. He shot to his feet and said, "Other people could lose their lives. You shouldn't speak so carelessly, just because it has nothing to do with you." The man's words almost made Kang Ju-hyun die laughing. How ridiculous. To prevent people from dying at the very end of that raid. In the end, just how many people died because they weren't strong enough to fight those entities? Thinking of this, Kang Ju-hyun immediately retorted, "Someone might lose their life. It's a tragedy for someone to die while clearing a mindscape, but just because they're afraid of it. And don't dare to touch it, nothing will get solved. That's why we took action. The collectors of today are completely rotten. For the sake of their own safety, they've all become cowards who don't dare challenge themselves." "Are you saying you're any different?" Choi Jong-mo said, startled. "That's right, we are different. Unlike those people out there, we don't run stop or hold back." But it seemed these bold words from Kang Ju-hyun had no effect on the old man. After hearing everything he had to say, Choi Jong-mo let out a contemptuous laugh and said, "You think you'll get a reward for this? No matter what you say, nothing will change. That's just how this society is. And this is how its system operates. Got it?" So the old man was finally showing his hand. But after hearing him, Kang Ju-hyun wasn't angry at all. He just said calmly, "So that's the game you're playing. Aren't you afraid of the consequences, Choi Jong-mo?" "Consequences, ha? What can just the two of you do?" Choi Jong-mo said confidently. But that confidence only lasted a few seconds, because right after Kang Ju-hyun showed him the light, "Just the two of us, huh? The two. To you, perhaps that's the case. But how will the others react?" "Others, there are no others here," Choi Jong-mo said, puzzled. But then right after that, suddenly something appeared before his eyes, causing them to widen. Following his gaze, countless screens were now appearing above Kang Ju-hyun's head. Comments from the spirits. At present, all of the comments were furious over the old man's words. At the same time, Kang Ju-hyun also spoke up. "Ah, that's right, I forgot to introduce myself. Allow me to do so properly. I am a storyteller from the Celestial Corporation, currently in the process of writing a story. My name is Kang Ju-hyun. Welcome to my library." Choi Jong-mo. And at this moment, Choi Jong-mo knew he had fallen into Kang Ju-hyun's trap. The boy had read him like an open book. "I thought he was just a manager, looking out for his collector." However, his humble attitude, the way he cared for his collector, as well as those masterful negotiation skills, were because these figures deserve to be taken more seriously than those storytellers who always act superior to humans. Even so, when exactly did he plan all of this? Since when? "No, this theory is impossible. The young man before me is acting as if he predicted this situation long ago. Under these circumstances, there's no way to back out of this. If the association's image is damaged and nasty rumors reach the spirits, it will cause trouble for all the collectors in the association. At this thought, sweat started to pour down the old man's face. I have to think of a way. Think. There's a solution to everything. Come on, think. There must be a way to handle this situation. As he thought this, he looked up and saw Kang Ju-hyun's confident expression in front of him. And that expression only made him more anxious. He felt as if his every thought had been seen through by the young man before him, as if he was completely cornered. Then, due to the immense stress, his legs trembled violently and he plopped down into his chair. Meanwhile, Kang Ju-hyun, seeing this, understood that the old man was fully aware of his situation. So he smiled brightly and said, I'm glad you're so perceptive, Mr. Choi Jong-mo. After speaking, he began to think, I suppose he'll have to be reasonable now. If he refuses to give in and remains stubborn, I'll be able to dig up even more interesting things, but he is pretty smart and quick on his feet. Turning back to Choi Jong-mo, who had regained a bit of his composure, he looked up at Kang Ju-hyun and asked, What do you want? Kang Ju-hyun immediately replied, I've already explained it to you clearly. And with those words, model, it was like a lifeline for Choi Jong-mo. As soon as he heard that, he hurriedly said, That's right. We'll give you a proper reward for completing the mind realm, and we'll add a few extra gifts for you as well. To compensate for my earlier rudeness, it's not that serious, but if you're so kind as to offer, we shouldn't refuse, should we? Kang Ju-hyun said with a bright smile. Then he turned to the watching spirits and said, Spirits, what do you all think? Should we let him off the hook this time? He seems so sincere. And thanks to Kang Ju-hyun's words, the spirits temporarily let the matter slide. After that, he cheerfully stood up and said, In that case, I expect the money will be transferred into my account by the end of today. Of course it will be, Choi Jung-mo said hurriedly, just as he thought Kang Ju-hyun was about to leave. But then he suddenly spoke up again. One more thing. What is it? Choi Jong-mo said in a panic. Kang Ju-hyun saw how frightened this old man was, so he reassured him, You don't need to be so tense. I'm not going to ask for anything unreasonable. I just want to find someone. Hearing this, Choi Jong-mo finally calmed down and asked, Who are you looking for? Is there a collector here by the name of Choi Do-jun? Kang Ju-hyun asked. Choi Do-jun, I've never heard that name before. Are you sure he's a collector? Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun paused thoughtfully for a moment, then said, He may or may not be a collector. I don't know for sure myself. I only know that he's currently around 18 or 19 years old. He's about 184 centimeters tall, and although I hate to admit it, he's pretty handsome. By any means necessary, I need you to find him if you come across any useful leads. You can send them to me through the Genesis network. However, the information Kang Ju-hyun provided was still quite sparse for finding a person, so Choi Jong-mo had to ask for more. Do you know if he has any distinguishing features? Hearing that, Kang Ju-hyun thought for a moment before bluntly stating, He's super rude. After that, the two of them started to leave the Collectors Association and head home. And the moment they stepped through the door, Kang Hee-jin deflated like a popped balloon and said, Phew, I was so nervous I could have died. Seeing her so exhausted, Kang Ju-hyun had to praise her, You did a good job holding it together. I tried my best because I knew even a small mistake would have huge consequences. But man, it was exhausting, Kang Hee-jin complained. But this complaint was useless against Kang Ju-hyun, because right after he said, You should get used to this. We'll have to do this often from now on. Hey! Hearing that, Kang Hee-jin stammered, I can't just act like my normal self. Like normal, Kang Ju-hyun muttered, recalling her goofy actions. He gritted his teeth and said, Never. Who would want to watch you act like a clown? Then he pointed straight at Kang Hee-jin and instructed her carefully. Have you heard what they're saying about you? Your performance was captivating. You were seen as a beautiful and strong woman. That's great, isn't it? They're admiring your beauty and talent. Do you want to lose all that adoration? See it through to the end. Just imagine a future not too far off where everyone is showering you with praise, you're famous, and you're sitting on so much money you get bored of it. These words from Kang Ju-hyun made Kang Hee-jin start to picture a future scene of herself sitting on a pile of money with people below cheering for her. It was so beautiful that she started to drool. A huge pile of money, she mumbled. Thinking about this, she wanted to relax a bit. All right, she said. Are we done with everything for today? Let's go home. After all, I'm still a promising figure. But before she could take more than a few steps, Kang Ju-hyun grabbed her by the shoulder from behind and spoke. In your dreams, we still have a lot of work to do. What else is there to do? Kang Hee-jin said dejectedly. It's nothing, just... But as Kang Ju-hyun was thinking, he suddenly stopped. Kang Hee-jin, who was in front, saw this and got a little curious. She then asked Ju-hyun, is something wrong? Hearing that, Kang Ju-hyun also looked a bit worried and said, something rather urgent has come up. I need to go check it out. Don't worry, I'll be right back. After saying that, he began to use his teleportation ability and vanished instantly before the worried eyes of this goofy girl. Then right after that, Kang Ju-hyun was teleported into the sky above the city. He glanced at the man standing behind him and asked, who are you? I asked, who are you? Kang Ju-hyun asked again after seeing the old man just stroking his beard without answering. And it wasn't until Kang Ju-hyun asked this second time that guy finally spoke up. What's so special about that rude brat that Augury sent me here personally? And to recruit him, he mumbled to himself, then began to state his purpose. I'm so glad you came. You must be the rookie. I've come personally to recruit you into the division of the 5 senses of perception. But in response to his words, Kang Ju-hyun asked coldly, I'll ask again, who are you? It was only then that the old man finally stated his name. I am Jin Peng, a member of the division of the 5 senses of perception. I'm also your senior. So, what do you want with me? Kang Ju-hyun asked nonchalantly, and his attitude made Jin Peng a little angry. You insolent brat. How dare you speak to a senior like that, huh? You nameless bastard, you're getting too arrogant. Hearing that, Kang Ju-hyun replied lightly, my apologies, but I do have a name. My name is Kang Ju-hyun. His words startled Jin Peng. What, he already has a name? It took me over 3 weeks to get mine, but he got one as soon as he joined. Thinking this, a feeling of jealousy began to well up inside him. I don't care what your name is, he said. Just shut your mouth and join the organization. Faced with this anger, Kang Ju-hyun didn't even bother to look at him and said flatly, I don't want to. These words shocked the bearded man even more. What did you just say? Fearing the man hadn't heard him clearly, Kang Ju-hyun repeated himself. I said I don't want to join. Do I have to say it again for you to understand? You brat, how dare you? Do you have any idea who I am? Jin Peng said angrily, which only made Kang Ju-hyun grow bored. Of course I do. I'm wasting my time talking to some self-important windbag who's really just a weakling relying on his tiny bit of power. And Kang's undeniably accurate words made Jin Peng start to rethink. What the hell? How can this brat act like this? I heard he hasn't joined any division yet. No way. Could it be that he's already joined one? As if reading his mind, Kang Ju-hyun said, What's wrong? Worried I've already joined a division. Not yet. I haven't joined any division at all. Hearing this, Jin Peng stammered, Then how dare you take that tone with a senior? This Jin Peng guy in front of him couldn't say a sentence without mentioning he was a senior, and it was starting to annoy Kang Ju-hyun. Clinging to that senior title won't make you any more powerful, he said. You're not even an assistant. Someone like you who just goes around recruiting people. How dare you lecture anyone about being a senior? From what I know, in the Celestial Corporation, rank is determined by one's contributions and position. His words made Jin Peng start to tremble as he stammered, How did you... But before he could finish his sentence, Kang Ju-hyun cut him off. Are you surprised that I know? You saw that I was just a rookie and thought you could scare me with a few threats, huh? Do you know what division I'm from? Jin Peng said in a loud voice, but Kang Ju-hyun couldn't care less where he was from. So he said bluntly, Go back to that great division of yours and tell them I will never join. And while you're at it, tell the person who sent you here, if they want me to come, they should at least send someone with some common sense or just come themselves. Got it? Now get lost. His words left the bearded Jin Peng speechless with anger. In the end, he could only sputter a few meaningless words like, Just you wait, before disappearing instantly. After watching him take off, Kang Ju-hyun could only mumble, What a bunch of lunatics. He then teleported back to Kang Hae-jim. Seeing Kang Ju-hyun return so quickly, Kang Hae-jim was a bit surprised. You're back already? Of course. Have I ever broken my word? So what was the other thing you needed to talk about? Kang Hae-jim asked. Hearing that, Kang Ju-hyun was startled into remembering. Ah, right. I think it's time we hired you a manager. After that, Kang Ju-hyun led Kang Hae-jim somewhere. But since it had been a while since he was last here, it took some time. It's not here either. If I remember correctly, it should be around here. Thinking this, Kang Ju-hyun turned to look in a certain direction. Then he happily said, This is it. Hearing that, Kang Hae-jim quickly looked in the direction Kang Ju-hyun was staring, but then she became a little worried and said, Here, this place? It doesn't look as reliable as the other places we've passed. Is this really the place you had in mind? That's right. I'm sure of it, Kang Ju-hyun said confidently. Then Kang Ju-hyun walked up, knocked on the door, and said, "Hello," and right after that, an ear-splitting scream came from inside, followed by, "Wait a minute!" The scream made them both jump, and the "wait a minute" from the person inside took quite a long time. They probably had to wait for what felt like several normal minutes before the sound of a door opening was heard. Then a short-haired girl stepped out, looked at the two of them, and asked, "What are you doing here?" Turning to Kang Ju-hyun. The moment he saw her face, memories started flooding his mind. "It's too late. No matter what you do, you can't mend a relationship that's already over. It might be fine at first, but sooner or later, the same problems will just reappear. It's a shame I won't be able to see you again. You know you should stay away from that guy. He's lost all his humanity. Come to me instead. I can give you the best of everything." But based on these images, it seems that in the past, this girl was killed by that Choi Do-jun right in front of Kang Ju-hyun. These painful memories suddenly rushing back made his face turn pale, but luckily the voice of the girl in front of him snapped him out of it. "Hey! Hello! I'm sorry. Is this the Baekwa Management Agency?" Kang Ju-hyun said hurriedly while thinking to himself, "She looks a little different now, but she's still the same as before." Back to the brown-haired girl. After seeing that these two were here on business, she quickly invited them both into her office and introduced herself. "Let me introduce myself first. I'm Baek Soo-ryun, the director of Baekwa Management, so are you two here to hire someone from us?" she said with a voice full of anticipation. In response to her eagerness, Kang Ju-hyun said, "That's right. This lady needs a manager." Hearing that, Baek Soo-ryun turned to look at Kang, Jim, and was captivated by her aura. This beautiful and cold collector wants to use my service? Am I dreaming? But before she could daydream for long, Kang Ju-hyun spoke up. "Ms. Hee-jim, you don't have to be so tense here." Hearing that, Kang Hee-jim let out a sigh of relief and immediately turned goofy. "Really, phew, I'm saved. I was pretty tired today." And this 180-degree change in attitude and expression made Baek Soo-ryun feel completely dumbfounded. After that, she got a little flustered and said, I see she's a collector, but what about you?" "Why don't you take a guess?" Kang Ju-hyun said with a smile. Taking his suggestion, Baek Soo-ryun started stroking her chin thoughtfully and said, "If you were also a collector, you wouldn't have time to come all the way here to find a manager for her. But you don't look like you belong to any guild or company either. Are you a storyteller?" And her words truly shocked Kang Ju-hyun. What even Mr. Choi Jong-mo couldn't figure out, that I'm a storyteller. It seemed Baek Soo-ryun noticed the surprise on Kang Ju-hyun's face, so she began to explain, "Did you know storytellers often have a trait that sets them apart from normal people? You can't see it at a glance, but if you look closely, you'll see an aura surrounding them. It makes them look like they don't belong in this world. So that's why I thought you were a storyteller. I'm sorry if I was mistaken." Back to Kang Ju-hyun, this girl's sharp deduction left him speechless. Right now, she's just the director of a tiny management agency, but later, when the apocalypse begins, she'll become the leader of the Baekwa group with countless people under her command. She uses her flawless decision-making skills, foresight, and eloquence to become a captain. Thinking this, Kang Ju-hyun spoke up, "No, you guessed correctly. I am a storyteller from the Chunse Corporation." Hearing Kang Ju-hyun, Baek Soo-ryun's eyes lit up with admiration. "Wow, really? Oh my gosh!" Not only a collector, but a storyteller also came to my office. Her joy was contagious, making Kang Hee-jim happy too. "He's amazing, isn't he? He's not like other ordinary storytellers." "Oh, how did you two meet?" Baek Soo-ryun asked. Well, I was sitting at home eating instant noodles when suddenly blah blah blah." Meanwhile, Kang Ju-hyun watched the two women chatting happily. He gave a faint smile and said, "So, may I see the contract?" "A contract, you mean?" Baek Soo-ryun said, her face lighting up. And just as she suspected, Kang Ju-hyun said, "Let's start discussing the contract. We should definitely discuss the terms." Hearing this, Kang Hee-jim, who was next to them, happily congratulated her. "That's great, Ms. Soo-ryun. Don't talk like it has nothing to do with you. You're the one who's going to benefit from this contract." Kang Ju-hyun complained, and a moment later, after both sides had signed the contract, Baek Soo-ryun said that the contract was fine. And at that very moment, Kang Hee-jim, feeling a bit curious, asked, "Ms. Soo-ryun, what does a manager usually do?" Hearing this, Baek Soo-ryun happily explained, the first thing, which is also the most important. is that we provide support to ensure collectors can always focus on their work. We also cover their work schedules, diets, lodging, a lot of things. Sometimes I even act as a broker and arrange interviews. You do so much. Does anyone help you with all that work? Kang Hae-jim asked curiously, and to this question, Baek Soo-ryun confidently asserted, "No, but I know how to do all of it. Don't worry about me. I used to work for a pretty famous guild before switching to this job." But then right after that, her attitude immediately turned negative. "To be honest, I probably would have been a driver too, but I didn't have enough money to buy a car after setting up this office." "You know how to drive?" Kang Joo-hyun asked. "I have a Class 1 driver's license and a truck license. I'm also certified to operate an excavator, and I know both electric and gas welding." This mix of multidisciplinary knowledge really made Kang Hae-jim, who was sitting across from her, break out in a sweat and ask, "But why?" "I like to be prepared in case I have to switch jobs," Baek Soo-ryun explained. Then she seemed a bit worried and said to the two of them, "Anyway, I can get the job done. Please trust me." Kang Joo-hyun could see her anxiety, so he sighed and reassured her, "You don't need to worry. I'll be the one choosing the mindscapes, recruiting new people, and arranging the schedules. Besides, Ms. Hae-jim has already made a name for herself, so we don't need your services right away." Hearing this, Baek Soo-ryun hurriedly asked, "Then is there anything I can do to help everyone?" After listening, Kang Joo-hyun gently declined, "Not at the moment, but there will be soon enough." He then turned to look at the happy expression on Kang Hae-jim's face and thought to himself, "Based on Hae-jim's current condition, we'll have a lot of work to do very soon. When that time comes, Baek Soo-ryun will be so busy she won't even have time to blink." At this thought, Kang Joo-hyun realized there was nothing else to do, so he and Kang Hae-jim got ready to leave and said, "So we'll contact you when we need you. All right then. See you two later," Baek Soo-ryun said cheerfully. But as soon as he heard her say this, for some reason Kang Joo-hyun became thoughtful, scratched his head and asked, I know this is a bit strange, but do you have any dreams?" At that moment, a few memories flooded back into his mind of when he asked Baek Soo-ryun a similar question in his past life. "Is there anything you wanted to do but couldn't?" "Captain Soo-ryun, I was wondering what you'll do after this crisis is over, and the world goes back to how it was." Hearing this, Baek Soo-ryun sighed and said, "Even if everything goes back, my life before the apocalypse wasn't that great. But if that happens, the thing I'd want to do most is, I just want to make a lot of money." And that was the exact answer she gave Kang Joo-hyun in the present. "I see," Kang Joo-hyun said with a smile while also thinking, "That's right. She's the same Baek Soo-ryun I used to know." After this thought, he said, "Well, we'll be going now." And while they were on their way, Kang Joo-hyun had a few random thoughts. "She wants to make a lot of money, huh? Is that why she got along with Hae-jim so quickly?" And just then, Kang Hae-jim beside him smiled and said, "Joo-hyun, didn't she and I get close really fast? I've only just met her for the first time, but it feels like we've known each other for a very long time. It's strange, isn't it?" Her words made Kang Joo-hyun recall some memories of when Kang Hae-jim and Baek Soo-ryun met in his past life. "Not really," Kang Joo-hyun said. "Really? I wonder if we were soulmates in a past life," Kang Hae-jim said with a bright smile. No, the scene changes to Jinbum. As soon as he returned to his office, he started to lose his mind. "What was that? That bastard told me a member of the 5 cardinal points to get lost. He didn't even call me senior. That arrogant bastard. I'll get my revenge. I will definitely get my revenge on that arrogant bastard. But he's protected by Genesis's blessing. There has to be a way." As he spoke, he started glancing at the system screen, and then it seemed he found something interesting to deal with Kang Joo-hyun, so a wicked smile spread across his face as he thought, "Wait, here it is. There's a way." And just like that, a week quickly passed. At this time, Kang Joo-hyun had also brought Kang Hae-jim to the gate leading to some kind of mental realm. A considerable number of people had already gathered here, and as soon as Kang Hae-jim appeared, murmurs began to spread. "Look, isn't that girl the rising star from recently? Rumor has it she's completed 4 mental realms. I also heard she reached level 7 in less than a week after her debut." Back to Kang Hae-jim, after seeing so many people gathered here, she felt a little nervous and asked, "There are so many people here. Is the mental realm this dangerous these days?" "That's right. The mental realm that opens around this time is very special. Unlike the others, it only opens once every 3 months, and you don't get a chance to try again if you fail," Kang Joo-hyun explained, and his words only made Kang Hae-jim more anxious. "Why would you choose such a dangerous place today?" In response to her question, Kang Joo-hyun asked one of his own. "You became a collector to succeed." "Right, That's right. Me too. Although I've become a storyteller, my goal is the same as yours. I want to succeed. I want to climb to a position that no one else can reach. I'm just like you. You strive for personal reasons for passion. I don't think that's a bad thing. But half-hearted passion is the only thing holding you back. When you truly want something, you will try to achieve it even if your flesh is torn and your bones are crushed. Do you believe you can do it? Kang Ju-hyun said, turning to look directly at Kang Hae-jim, and his words seemed to make her hesitate. Well? And just as she was about to speak, the gate in front of them suddenly flared with light, and right after, someone's shout rang out, "Hey! The mental realm is opening." After seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun knew this wasn't the time for discussion, so he said, "I'm not forcing you to answer me right now, but sooner or later you'll have to have an answer. For me, and for yourself." And that's what Kang Ju-hyun said to Kang Hae-jim before she stepped inside the gate. And right after stepping out from the other side of the gate, sweat started beading on everyone's faces because at that moment, before their eyes was a horrifying battlefield with countless clashes happening. And faced with such a brutal war zone, the trembling voices of the collectors could be heard. "We have to participate in this. A battle on this massive a scale. Sounds great." At the same time, down below, a commander began to give orders to the soldiers beside him. "Hold them back at all costs. We will teach those Ottomans a lesson." Then he turned to the soldiers behind him and yelled, while the soldiers also shouted, "We can't lose if they get through. Everything will be over." And just like that, the battle between the two sides began. The sounds of screams and cries for help on the battlefield started to echo, reminding Kang Ju-hyun of the painful memories from his past life. The scene back then was of everyone running for their lives from a monster attack. Pleas and cries for help rang out everywhere while Kang Ju-hyun could only watch helplessly. At this thought, Kang Ju-hyun began to grit his teeth and told himself, "No, I can't let this happen again. I swear it." Back to 1 week ago. At Celestial Incorporated, right when the welcoming ceremony for new storytellers was taking place. At this time, the man with the deer head was leading the group of rookies. As he walked, he offered some advice to these fledglings. "To prevent you from being at a disadvantage, I'll tell you something you should be wary of before the celebration begins. The welcoming ceremony will be held, with a celebration for the Celestials." His words made the Cotton Ball brothers jump. "What Celestials? We're going to a place like that." But before they could discuss it further, the deer-headed man's voice continued. "There will be some very famous Celestials appearing, but the welcoming ceremonies are not in the same room, so you won't have to face them. Don't worry. Next!" Everyone started to happily join the welcoming ceremony. The event itself was pretty simple. Basically, it was a party thrown by the company for the new hires. The activities mostly revolved around eating, drinking, and cheerful conversation. And while the whole group of cotton balls were happily toasting each other, Kang Ju-hyun started sulking alone in a corner, thinking to himself, "Celestial Corporation. It's one of the 3 largest lending companies. I've never been here before, but I have to admit I'm a little surprised." And while his head was in the clouds, a voice from nearby suddenly pulled him back to reality. "Hey, what are you doing? Aren't you going to enjoy the party?" As if by reflex, Kang Ju-hyun turned towards the source of the sound, only to see a cotton ball with 2 horns on its head talking to him. And its appearance made Kang Ju-hyun wonder, "Who's this? This guy has horns. Can people here change their body parts?" But despite his curiosity, Kang Ju-hyun didn't voice his question. Instead, he began to answer the cotton ball's question. "I'm not really feeling it, but for some reason, this answer seemed to tick off the cotton ball. What, you think you're better than us just because you can change your appearance?" "No, I didn't." Kang Ju-hyun immediately tried to explain, but before he could finish his sentence, the cotton ball cut him off. "You'd better not underestimate us. I'll catch up to you soon enough." Having said his piece, he immediately turned and walked away. But his fighting spirit didn't anger Kang Ju-hyun at all. In fact, he found it a little interesting. Meanwhile, at that very moment, a few strange guests suddenly appeared in the room. And the strangest part was, among the group there was some big shot wearing a suit, but with no head. And just then, someone from their group spoke up asking, "Is the party over already?" But it seemed the sudden appearance of these people made the new recruits nervous, so none of them dared to say a word. Seeing this, the newcomers quickly tried to reassure them, "Oh no, please continue the party. We're from another department in Celestial Corporation. We just wanted to come and get acquainted." As for Kang Ju-hyun, the moment he saw this group appear, he had quietly ducked behind a pillar to observe them. Their timing is perfect. It's as if they came here to check up on us after our first mission. Are they trying to recruit me to their side? And just as Kang Ju-hyun suspected, that was exactly what the members of the other departments were thinking. We have to gather the best of the best and invite them to join our department. The party had turned into a battlefield for scouting the most talented individuals. As for Kang Ju-hyun, to keep himself out of trouble, he began to sneak away. I'm going to get dragged into this mess. I've got to get out of here first. But it seemed fate wasn't about to let him off that easily. Because the moment he tried to leave, someone spotted him and yelled, "Hey, it's him! The new guy who can do a full-body transformation. I didn't believe it." But it's actually true, isn't it? The voice made Kang Ju-hyun's heart skip a beat. And just as he expected, trouble came knocking as countless members from other departments began to swarm him, surrounding him with offers. Do you want to join our finance department? What already? No. He should join my department. Faced with this downpour of offers, Kang Ju-hyun could only manage a strained smile and say, "Thank you, everyone, really." At the same time, he was desperately racking his brain, thinking, how am I going to get out of this? And just as that thought crossed his mind, Kang Ju-hyun suddenly noticed someone with a strange aura. Up ahead. That person. I have to get out of here first. With that, Kang Ju-hyun hurriedly pushed through the crowd, ran straight towards this person in black and said, "Ha, if you were coming, you should have given me a heads up. So what brings you here?" Kang Ju-hyun said this in a completely natural tone, despite having no idea who this guy was. And of course, the man in black, when some random guy suddenly ran up to talk to him, acting so familiar, was so stunned he just froze. Seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun started to get flustered and said, "You don't recognize me." After saying that, he silently prayed in his head, "Please just play along with me a little." And as if he'd read Kang Ju-hyun's mind, the man in black spoke up to play along. Sorry, I'm a little distracted." "Great, just what I needed." Kang Ju-hyun celebrated internally and hurriedly pulled the man away. "Let's just talk over here, okay?" Seeing this, employees from other rooms sighed. Looks like he's already taken. But who is that guy? Yeah, I've never seen him before. I wonder what department he's from. Back with Kang Ju-hyun after pulling the man in black to a deserted spot, he quickly thanked him. "Thank you for suddenly playing along with me like that. You really saved me back there." But in response to Kang Ju-hyun's thanks, the man began to mumble something he couldn't quite hear. What did he say? Still, the vibe he's giving off is kinda scary. At that thought, Kang Ju-hyun decided to make a quick exit. "Well, I'll be on my way. Sorry to have bothered you." Saying this, Kang Ju-hyun turned to leave. But just then, he was forced to stop in his tracks because the mysterious man in black spoke up from behind him. How amusing. I had to disguise myself so the storytellers wouldn't recognize me. But how is it that you were able to recognize me? His words made Kang Ju-hyun turn his head back to look at the man, and the sight that followed was absolutely shocking. An incredibly overwhelming aura was beginning to emanate from the man. It made Kang Ju-hyun break out in a cold sweat. This is bad. This guy is extremely dangerous. But at least he managed to remain calm enough to ask, "What do you want?" Hearing this, the man in black replied, "I'm merely curious. I have no intention of harming you, at least not right now. So will you answer my question? How could you see me?" I didn't. I just saw a book. I noticed a black aura floating around, and when I focused on it, I saw you. It's my special ability." A special ability," the man in black mused. "That's right. My eyesight is really good, so I can see things more clearly than normal people. That includes you. I wasn't certain at first, but when I looked around, no one else seemed to see you." Hearing this, the man in black stroked his chin and spoke. "This is a bit hard to believe, but it seems you're right. I'm different from the other storytellers," Kang Ju-hyun said. Hearing this, the man in black burst out laughing. So that's it. It's the first time I've ever seen a storyteller with a form like yours." His laughter made Kang Ju-hyun feel a bit less tense, so he spoke up. "In any case, I apologize for approaching you so suddenly." "Oh, is that all?" "Perhaps this is fate. Why don't we make a little wager?" the man in black suggested with interest. His words made Kang Ju-hyun's head spin. Why all of a sudden? I really want to get out of here, Kang Ju-hyun thought. Then he asked aloud, "A wager?" Across from him, the man in black explained, "The rules are simple. You just have to guess who I am. If you're correct, I will give you a reward." After hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun, still on high alert, didn't rush to accept and instead asked a question of his own. "And if I guess wrong, then you'll have to take responsibility for bothering me so suddenly," the man in black said coldly. "What?" And with that, Kang Ju-hyun knew the situation had just taken a turn for the worse. This is bad. He knows I can't possibly guess right. But it's fine. I just need to look at the book. As he thought this, Kang Ju-hyun reached out to pull the book toward himself. But right then, he was shocked to realize he couldn't open it. Does this mean he's too powerful for me to even open it? Kang Ju-hyun thought as he struggled to open the book, but even as veins bulged on his hand, the book didn't budge an inch. In this world, you cannot do anything that exceeds your level. Abilities inherited from stories will also be ineffective. A few very famous divine beings will appear. But the welcoming ceremony is not in the same room. The words of the deer-headed man began to echo in Kang Ju-hyun's mind. These words sparked a bold thought. Wait a minute. Then this person is a famous divine being. The 5 greatest divine powers are the celestial realm, Asgard Hermopolis, Mount Olympus and Hell, the domains of the supreme beings. But this power is suffocating. This book, and the 3-headed snake, a fallen serpent, a fire-breathing blood dragon. The one who approached the brightest light only to fall into the darkest hell. The one standing before me is... With this realization, Kang Ju-hyun looked the man straight in the eye and spoke. The first-generation Holy Spirit of Hell, Satan. And at his answer, Satan burst out laughing, clapped his hands, and said, Exactly a fine guess. I didn't expect you to figure it out. You've won after all. Seeing he was in a good mood, Kang Ju-hyun immediately thought about sneaking away. Can I leave now? But before he could even act on this, Satan spoke up again. I was just planning to have a little fun. But you surprised me. Fun? Kang Ju-hyun said in shock. You could have punished me for sneaking into the ceremony? Why would I punish you? But despite his cheerful words, Kang Ju-hyun didn't believe him one bit. Lies. If I had guessed wrong, I definitely would have been punished. Satan is a man of his word. Turning back to Satan because he had lost, he now pondered and muttered, In any case, I have lost. I should keep my promise. What should I give you? Ah, that's right. You want to create your own private library, don't you? Yes, that's right, Kang Ju-hyun said hurriedly. Then let's do it. I will become an investor for your library. What do you think? Satan began to make an incredibly tempting offer to Kang Ju-hyun. This sudden proposal from such a top figure also made Kang Ju-hyun's mind race. Sponsorship from Satan. I never expected to receive sponsorship from such a high-level Holy Spirit. I was once so grateful just to get it from a third-rank mid-level spirit. This could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a beautiful invitation that will never come again. I just need to shake his hand and then... As he spoke, Kang Ju-hyun began to reach his hand toward Satan's, and at the very moment his hand was about to touch his, he suddenly stopped and thought, But, is this really okay? Should I really accept this offer? Kang Ju-hyun hesitated so much that he broke out in a sweat, and then, as if his brain had short-circuited, he suddenly said, I'm sorry, I refuse this offer. And the fact that Kang Ju-hyun refused him made Satan a bit surprised. He asked, May I ask the reason for your refusal? Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun quickly said, Your sponsorship would be a great help to my library, but I would lose control of it afterward. In truth, there was more on Kang Ju-hyun's mind, but he didn't dare say it to him. In the worst-case scenario, I'll have to face the hostility from the holy spirits of the Garden of Eden. And that was precisely why Kang Ju-hyun didn't dare to shake this man's hand. After hearing Kang Ju-hyun's words, Satan understood his intentions, but he was still puzzled. I understand what you want, but even so, wouldn't you still be the one to benefit? That's not enough for me, Kang Ju-hyun said. Not enough, Satan asked again. Fearing he would become angry, Kang Ju-hyun quickly explained, The holy spirits in hell are all very powerful, especially you, Lord Satan, one of the 7 archdemons. So of course I would love to work with you. But the moment we cooperate, I could only tell the stories of hell and even the management rights of my library. This would gradually fall to you, Lord Satan. I believe there will be many more opportunities and stories to tell if I just let it continue like this. So I must refuse this library. It cannot belong to anyone other than me. I hope you will understand. And his words, combined with Kang Ju-hyun's anxious demeanor as he explained this, started to make Satan clutch his stomach and laugh loudly. Ha ha, I thought you had some grander ambition like taking over all of hell. No, that's not it at all, Kang Ju-hyun said, waving his hands frantically. Don't worry, I praise you for that. You're right. The moment you accepted my cooperation, I would have taken away the management rights of the library, which means you would have lost what you have worked so hard to build all this time. But you didn't agree. You didn't choose the easy path. Instead, you chose the thorny one. In my eyes, that could be called foolish. But I quite like this foolishness of yours. Let's end our conversation here. I'm not ambitious enough to force someone to submit to my demands whether they want to or not. Yes, sir. Hearing him say that, Kang Ju-hyun let out a sigh of relief, but then he asked curiously, "So, does that mean you don't want to cooperate with me anymore?" Hearing this, Satan gave a mysterious smile and said, "I'm not so sure. To be honest, you make me covetous. You make me want to claim you at any cost." Kang Ju-hyun, who was standing opposite him, had only heard that much, and his back was already drenched in sweat. Right now, he just wanted to go back 5 seconds and slap his past self a few times. Things were going just fine. Why did I have to ask that and put myself in such a difficult situation? And at that moment, Satan also asked him seriously one more time, "I'll ask you again. Do you truly not want my sponsorship?" "Yes. I only want to accept sponsorships. From the Holy Spirits, as they willed it, not a business deal like this," Kang Ju-hyun said hurriedly, and after Satan heard these words, he let out a laugh. How very ambitious. If some other storyteller dared to say such a thing, I would have certainly punished him for his arrogance. But something like that would tarnish my image, especially since you won this deal. So there will be consequences. I can't act now, but I will give you a wonderful gift. It was a pleasure meeting you today. I will visit your library as soon as I can. After saying that, he vanished instantly, leaving Kang Ju-hyun with a worried look. Only after he was gone did Ju-hyun snap out of it. He realized, the other storytellers will be looking for me soon. I have to go. And with that, he began to wander aimlessly. He came upon a gigantic library. Where did I run to? Where did I run to? I never thought a place like this existed here, and it looks like no one has come to find me. I'm safe. Should I read a book to kill some time, the first volume? As Kang Ju-hyun started to open a book just then, footsteps echoed from behind him, followed by an old voice. How strange. This is the first time we've had a visitor here. Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun, he hurriedly turned towards the sound and was nearly blinded. What is that thing? That light. It was a book shining powerfully. Before Kang Ju-hyun's eyes at that moment stood an old man, and on his head was a brilliantly shining book, one that was surprisingly large. How valuable must a story be, shash to become something like this? Kang Ju-hyun thought to himself. Just then the old man across from him spoke up. Who are you? Very few people come to this place. Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun quickly replied, I'm a newly joined storyteller. His words seemed to startle the old man. What? A newcomer. Haha, my mistake. You look so mature I couldn't even tell you were new. I never thought I'd personally meet the one from the rumors here. What are you doing here? Kang Ju-hyun asked. I manage this place. Is there a problem? You work for the organization too, Kang Ju-hyun asked. The old man cheerfully replied, No, this is a place the bureaus have given up on organizing. Even though I'm retired now, I volunteer to stay and manage it, he said happily. His words made Kang Ju-hyun think. A man with a book like that is retired. He must have had a glorious past. Turning back to the old man, he seemed to remember something and said, Anyway, young man, aren't you supposed to be at the welcoming ceremony? Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun said awkwardly, Attendance was mandatory. But after the ceremony ended, we were free to go. Everyone was being so pushy trying to drag me into their bureau, so I ran away. His embarrassed words made the old man chuckle. The same thing happened to me when I was young. Does that mean you haven't joined a bureau yet? Is that right? That's right. And I don't plan to in the future either, Kang Ju-hyun said with conviction. When the old man heard him, he posed a question. You're choosing a path without any support. Aren't you afraid? It would be a lie to say I'm not afraid, but I have my own goals. Is that so? So you have aspirations. Storytellers like us aren't born biologically. We are created. We are born with a certain level of skill. But we are just empty slates. What is one to do? What will one do? What must I do? Should we follow the system's guidance or listen to the words of the high Holy Spirits? But the path you walk isn't one you chose. Basically, someone is ordering you to do it. It's a shame. Most storytellers have no ambition. It's rare to meet someone like you, a storyteller who isn't swayed by the opinions of others, and who has their own path they want to walk. At this point, he seemed to have made up his mind, then told Kang Ju-hyun, Follow me. There's something I want to show you. For some reason. But after hearing the old man say that, Kang Ju-hyun actually followed him. And what happened next? His eyes flew wide open at what the old man showed him. This is... Kang Ju-hyun stammered, witnessing a hallway with countless paintings hanging along the path. The old man noticed the look of confusion on Kang Ju-hyun's face and began to explain, "Ever since the Celestial Corporation was founded, this place has been used to store the stories with the greatest influence and response across the multiverse. It's also known as the Hall of Fame." Kang Ju-hyun slowly moved along observing the paintings. He then exclaimed, "In these stories, everything is so vivid, it's unbelievable." His face lit up with joy as he witnessed these legendary tales. But it wasn't long before the old man's footsteps in front of him stopped and his voice rang out, "It's the end of the road." Following their gaze, the hallway had come to a dead end with nowhere else to go. The old man looked ahead and said, 35 years ago, it all ended. The reason I brought you here is because I want someone to remember this place, even though it's been abandoned now and no one knows how brightly it once shone. If I die one day, I'll be so sad if no one knows about this place anymore. I brought you here because you're the only visitor who's come to see this shabby old place. The other storytellers just repeat the same boring stories over and over, shamelessly using them to earn points. Good stories with heartwarming and touching endings are dismissed as sappy stuff for old people, but I believe that one day these stories will be greatly needed. Turning back to Kang Ju-hyun, he placed his hand on a painting and thought, "After I die, if Choi Do-jin is still alive and completes the trial, he'll probably be immortalized in this hall too. I want that too." At this thought, Kang Ju-hyun's hand unconsciously clenched into a fist. Then, he turned to the old man and said, "Sir, thank you for showing me these wonderful things. Can you tell me your name?" The young man's sudden question seemed to startle the old man a bit. But right after, he smiled brightly and said, "Ask me the next time you come back here." Hearing that, Kang Ju-hyun also smiled and assured him, "See you soon, sir." After saying that, Kang Ju-hyun vanished instantly, and at the same time a notification appeared. "The welcome ceremony has ended." Returning to the present, a loud shout suddenly rang in Kang Hee-jin's ear. "Ms. Hee-jin! Ms. Hee-jin, can you hear me?" The shouting startled Kang Hee-jin, and she cried out, "Yes, I can hear you." Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun said, "Not good. Focus." Then Kang Hee-jin observed the battle below and asked, "Ju-hyun, is this a battlefield?" Kang Ju-hyun heard her and explained, "That's right. This siege marked the end of the Middle Ages and the beginning of the modern era. The decisive battle where about 150,000 Ottoman troops ended the Eastern Roman Empire. It's the siege of Constantinople. The Roman Empire was destroyed when it lost the battle against the Ottoman Empire." Hearing this, Kang Hee-jin seemed to understand something and asked, "Could it be that we're on the Roman side defending this city?" "That's right," Kang Ju-hyun said. At the same time, he recalled information from his past life. "In my past life, Kang Hee-jin awakened her skills for the first time here and earned the title Sword Queen. If I want her to continue awakening her skills, participating in this event is unavoidable." And just as he thought that, Kang Hee-jin's trembling voice rang out again. "Ju-hyun, you can see it too, right?" "I can see it very clearly," Kang Ju-hyun said at that moment. He was a little worried about this girl's mental state. Her voice trembled as she stood on the castle wall looking down at the countless soldiers slaughtering each other below. Especially with the overwhelming number of enemy troops, she couldn't hide her anxiety and asked, "Can we even win?" "I thought this would be very easy since quite a few other collectors came in here. But I was wrong." Kang Ju-hyun, who was in the observation room, heard her question. He then gave a firm answer. "Nearly 500 people isn't enough. Our defense force is only 7,000 while the enemy has 150,000, and that's just the attacking force. If you include the support units, the number will rise to nearly 300,000. This number is so overwhelming it's despairing." This also left Kang Hee-jin a bit confused. She turned back and asked the remaining collectors, "Do we even have a chance of winning? Why is everyone even here?" But before any collector could answer, Kang Ju-hyun explained the reason to her. "Right now, nearly 2,000 Holy Spirits are watching this battle. We have to show them. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to show everything you've got to the Holy Spirits. The same goes for the Holy Spirits. They can see collectors they've never met before. I see a few Holy Spirits from other channels watching you very intently." Hearing this, even someone with the memory of a goldfish like Kang Hee-jin finally understood. So everyone is here, not just to complete the dungeon, but also to find opportunities for themselves. It's almost as you said. The storytellers are promoting their channels to the divine entities, Ken from other channels in order to grow. However, if we don't interest them, they might just leave for another channel. But doing that is no different from those other boring channels. Our goal today is to complete this mind realm. We'll be eliminated if we're in danger, but at least we dared to try. Meanwhile, Kang Hee-jin was startled after hearing Kang Ju-hyun's intention and shouted, "What? She truly couldn't understand where Kang Ju-hyun got the confidence to think that she could complete this mind realm. Back to Kang Ju-hyun's perspective. In reality, the plan for Kang Hye-jim to complete this mind realm was a 50-50 chance at best. But it wasn't entirely baseless. In her past life, the Sword Queen couldn't complete it. Even though she was the longest survivor, she still failed in the end. Even so, it's no exaggeration to say that the Hye-jim of now is as strong as the Sword Queen was back then. This is something worth trying if we really have a chance to complete this stage. Then the benefits we would receive, they would be unimaginably huge. Back with Kang Hye-jim, a party invitation from 2 people came her way. Hey girl, are you planning on going it alone? Want to join us? We should cooperate and split the loot evenly, right? Faced with this lovey-dovey couple's invitation, Kang Hye-jim just coldly turned away, paying them no mind. And naturally, her attitude made the white-haired guy across from her a little annoyed. What's with you? Are you ignoring me? At the same time, his pink-haired girlfriend spoke up. Just ignore her. She's arrogant because she managed to complete a few mind realms on her own. She doesn't give a damn about you. You should just clear this place yourself, acting like they're in the right when they're just trying to use me. I should just keep quiet and do what needs to be done. Kang Hye-jim thought to herself, and just then, a loud shout suddenly echoed, drawing the attention of all the collectors. Welcome, mercenaries! As the sound rang out, everyone quickly turned toward it. They saw a general and his 2 guards. The words had come from this old general, and his identity made everyone wonder, who's that? Who else could it be? It's the illusion of the person in charge of the defense in this battle. Is he a king? Question after question rose from the collectors, and the general seemed to have heard their inquiries. So he began his introduction. I am Constantine Dragosis Palaiologos. Though I find myself in an unfavorable situation, I am still the rightful emperor of Rome. As the emperor of the Roman Empire, I am deeply grateful to the brave mercenaries who have gathered here to help us fight our enemies with every single person present here. We blah blah blah. And while this king was still speaking, Kang Hye-jim stared at him thinking, this person is just an illusion, created to serve this scene, but he looks so real. And just as she thought that, a few trumpet blasts echoed from ahead of them. The king of Rome heard it and announced, it seems the preparations are complete. And right after he finished saying this, a system announcement was sent to all the collectors. The siege of Constantinople has officially begun. Defend and lead this battle. To victory, you only have one chance. And then, the 2 armies officially charged at each other. With their overwhelming numbers, the enemy soldiers' morale was far higher. Forward for the emperor. It's time to end this war once and for all. Turning to the collectors, they weren't just standing around for show. A few of them charged down to help, like the couple who had just invited Kang Hye-jim to join their party. This is a piece of cake, the pink-haired girl said cheerfully, while the white-haired boyfriend next to her activated some kind of skill. He created 2 magic circles over his fists and then launched several concussive punches forward. After taking those hits, the enemy soldiers started running around in a panic, which only made the white-haired guy more bloodthirsty. How many more are there? Bring 'em on! He shouted gleefully. But this joy didn't last long, because a short while later, his voice started to sound worried. Why aren't there any announcements? Did we come to the wrong place? Hearing this, his pink-haired girlfriend behind him snapped, Stop wasting your breath. If you have time to talk, use that energy to cast your skills. They were saying these things, likely because after fighting for a while, the situation hadn't improved at all. Meanwhile, Kang Ju-hyun, who was in the observation room watching the battle's progress, realized something was wrong. Something's not right, he mumbled. And as time went on, the couple was indeed fighting with incredible strength. Most of the opponents who charged them were beaten to a pulp. But after fighting for so long, even though they weren't injured, they were becoming exhausted. Beads of sweat were already rolling down the white-haired guy's face. His breathing had become ragged. And what made them both despair was that the number of enemies before them was still as dense as a swarm of ants. It seemed the number of foes they had defeated was nothing but a drop in the ocean compared to the enemy's entire force. When is this going to end? Look, it's like an endless sea of people, the couple said in despair. And it wasn't just them. Chaos was starting to break out among the other collectors as well. Damn it, I used too much power at the start. Oh, my beloved Holy Spirits. Not yet, I'm not giving up. I can still keep going. The guy with the two-toned hair said, but his face was already covered in sweat. He didn't look okay at all. Meanwhile, Kang Ju-hyun in the observation room frowned as he analyzed the battle and said, They all made a mistake right from the very beginning. On the other hand, she's still doing just fine, Kang Ju-hyun said as he turned to observe his beloved rookie. And after seeing that Kang Hae-jin was still fighting quite well, he was no longer worried and began to wonder how the other channels were doing. Thinking this, he did something on the system screen, and immediately after, an announcement appeared, transferring to the broadcasting center. Then Kang Ju-hyun vanished on the spot and reappeared in a strange place like some kind of work center. In front of him, several other storytellers were communicating with their collectors, but most of it was just complaints. I told you not to use so much power right from the start. Damn it, this is so frustrating. Why did I ever sign a contract with him? The scene shifts to a storyteller with a tiger's head. It seemed his mood wasn't very good as he was yelling, "This is insane!" He talked as if he was so confident at the beginning. Just wait and see how this ends. And just as he said that, suddenly a few comments from someone appeared suggesting they go watch the Sword Empress's channel. This caught the tiger-headed man's attention, and he turned to look at Kang Ju-hyun. And back to Kang Ju-hyun, he was currently watching Kang Hae-jin's battle on his screen. Thanks to her superior skills combined with her appearance, the number of viewers on his channel had skyrocketed to 512. Kang Ju-hyun couldn't have hoped for anything more. She's doing her job quite well, Kang Ju-hyun thought to himself. Back with the Tiger Man, after seeing the Holy Spirits leave his channel, he started yelling at the collector he had contracted. "Fight, you idiot! Hurry up! Can't you see the soldiers are leaving?" Hearing this, the collector yelled, "Damn it, you think I can't see that? But what can I do now? If I'd known, I wouldn't have used all my strength at the start of the battle." He then turned back to Kang Ju-hyun, who had also realized it by now. The waves of attacks were starting to change. Everyone was gradually getting tired. Even Miss Kang Hae-jin had slowed down noticeably. She looked fine for now, but she would be exhausted soon. If she ever got cornered, what would she do? Kang Ju-hyun began to wonder, continuing to observe. And right at that moment, a massive explosion suddenly erupted behind Kang Hae-jin. A piercing scream rang out, The wall has collapsed!" The explosion and the news that the wall had fallen startled Kang Hae-jin, who cried out, "How is that possible?" But Kang Ju-hyun, with his god's eye view, could see the entire battlefield, so he immediately explained, "Those are Orban cannons. Historically, the Ottoman army brought those incredibly powerful cannons to destroy the Roman walls. Those are the very ones they're using now." Back on the battlefield, the sudden collapse of the wall sent the soldiers into a panic. "Stop them. Don't let them in. We need more reinforcements. Hurry up, block this passage," they shouted. And at that moment, the collectors also began to grow extremely anxious, saying to each other, "Hey, what do we do now? At this rate, we're going to die." And these words, devoid of any fighting spirit, reached the ears of the King of Rome. So he turned around and said, "Mercenaries, please lend us your strength. We can defend against the enemy with your support. With all our hearts, we beg you, please help us protect our nation, protect our families." And his words ignited a small spark of hope in Kang Hae-jin. That's right, there's still hope. If the collectors are willing to work together, we can push them back and form a defensive line. With that thought, she immediately turned to rally the others. "Everyone, let's fight together." But just as she spoke those words, a panicked voice from the front cried out, "I can't do it. I'm quitting." And that declaration was like the starting gun for the others to give up. "Damn it, I'm quitting too. I'll never put myself in danger no matter what." Seeing this, Kang Hae-jin rushed forward, grabbed the white-haired man by the shoulder, and asked anxiously, "What are you all doing? If you all run the defensive line, we'll—" But before she could finish, the white-haired man said helplessly, "What defense? Can't you see we're all about to die? You're probably a newbie, so you don't know, but this damn place is where everyone fails. You're already doing great just by lasting as long as you can. But if we do that, and what about the soldiers who are trying to defend this place?" "What about them?" Kang Hae-jin shouted. In response to her question, the white-haired man grabbed her by the collar and yelled, "Warriors, this bunch are just illusions. They're all fake people, and whether they die or whatever, and it has nothing to do with me. Stop blocking my path. Get out of the way. If you want to die, go die alone." After saying that, he turned and left immediately. His words sent Kang Hae-jin's thoughts into a chaotic spiral. Everyone's giving up that easily. Each person became a collector with their own goal. Is that why they fight in the mental realms? What should I do now? Kang Hae-jin stared blankly at the collectors running towards the gate to escape, while she herself stood frozen like a statue in the middle of the fierce battlefield. Shifting to the King of Rome's perspective, the sight of the collectors giving up when faced with an overwhelming number of enemies, was something he was all too familiar with. Damn it, I can't take it anymore. How are we supposed to do this? I'm retreating. I don't want to die. I knew that all the mercenaries would eventually run back to their real world and leave us to die. That is what I have had to experience. Countless times in this endless, hellish loop. But even so, I cannot stop fighting either. A world with a predetermined fate. Even if I'm not a real human being, how could I stand by and watch my people die? If this is the fate that was foretold, then I will do everything in my power to fight against it. No matter how many times I must die, I will not give up. Will not. And with these thoughts in his heart, the Roman king continued to swing his sword at the enemy without hesitation. It was then that the enemy soldiers spotted his position. Then they shouted, "That's the enemy general! Kill him and present his head to the Sultan die!" The enemy soldiers began to shout and charged straight towards him. And just at the moment when the Roman king thought he was about to be Agasames reset once more, something suddenly shot down from the sky, crashing right into the soldiers charging at him. The royal guards beside the Roman king, who had just rushed over, shouted in surprise, "What was that?" And with his superhuman eyesight, the Roman king saw someone's silhouette. He mumbled, "That woman." And as the dust settled, Kang He-jin's figure appeared before everyone's eyes. The remaining soldiers stared in disbelief after seeing her. "She's one of the mercenaries from before. Is she the Saintess Joan of Arc?" Indeed. At this moment, even the king couldn't believe his eyes and asked, "Why haven't you run the tide of this battle?" Can no longer be turned. To his question, Kang He-jin calmly replied, "We still have to fight. I don't want you to die in vain." Hearing this, the king chuckled and said, "How surprising. All the mercenaries who came here ran away to survive. You remember all of them?" Kang He-jin asked, slightly surprised. Hearing this, the king's expression turned melancholic, and he said, "You must find it surprising. After all, we were created in this place. I suppose the man whose name I bear lived a very long time ago. I am now merely a remnant of him. You are not a remnant. I see everyone here as human. That's why I decided to help you, and it's why I'm still standing here." "You see us as human?" the king asked hastily upon hearing her words. Kang He-jin gave a faint smile and said, "You don't want me to think that way. Something deep inside my heart is burning. A fire within me has left me speechless. It is not rage or sorrow, this is joy. Of course I want that." The king smiled brightly and continued. He then looked straight at Kang He-jin and spoke from the bottom of his heart. "You're saying that our lives are also something we want to protect. That they are real and precious. How could I possibly hate such words? I am very grateful to you." And as he was speaking these moving words, the enemy soldiers were not idle enough to just watch them. They shouted, "What are you doing? There's an opening, kill them!" Seeing this, the Roman king also got into a fighting stance and said to Kang He-jin beside him, "Help us buy some time. If we form a defensive line, it will be much harder for them." "All right," Kang He-jin said quickly. And then the king shouted to his soldiers to boost their morale, "Protect our front line, our people, our nation, and our savior." At his words, the two sides began to clash once again. Back with Kang Ju-hyun, as he was watching Kang He-jin in the room, he was a bit surprised to realize that He-jin's book was turning silver. "She's caught up to her past self. Show us, He-jin. Show us how you fight." And because the other collectors had already left this battlefield, the number of people watching Kang He-jin had skyrocketed to 800. At the same time, the system also gave Kang He-jin a notification. Kang He-jin's special trait, Sword Master of the Kali Yuga, has been fully unlocked. The locked special trait, Unity of Sword and Self, has been partially unlocked. But it seemed Kang He-jin was too focused on fighting to notice this announcement, and that was because at this very moment, an enemy soldier had charged forward to attack her. "Die!" he screamed as he swung his sword at the girl. It was a rather fast slash. Kang He-jin barely had time to tilt her head to the side to dodge, but even so, the sword still grazed her face, leaving a bloody cut, and right after that, she returned the favor, driving her sword straight into the enemy before her and sending him on his way. Just like that, Kang He-jin began a bloody slaughter on this battlefield. Her fighting was also being observed by the other storytellers. They laughed mockingly. "Hey, your collector looks like she's trying a little too hard. Why don't you just give up?" "That's right, she's done enough. She was too arrogant, that's why she stayed. Now look at her. Heh, she won't last much longer." And amidst these mocking words, Kang Ju-hyun started to turn back to look at them with a sharp gaze and said, "Shut up, you idiots!" "What?" the tiger-headed guy said, sweating. "Are you deaf?" I said, "Shut up." Aren't you ashamed of yourselves for running away with your tails between your legs? What did you think you'd get by staying in my library? Or were you hoping I would die? She's arrogant and greedy, and you guys couldn't even do anything. You're all just a bunch of trash. You treat collectors like machines for gathering points. Where do you get the nerve to look down on others like that? If you know your place, then just shut your mouths and watch. And his lecturing words silenced the robot and the tiger head. Then he worriedly turned back to the screen. By now, the battle had become clearly one-sided. The last line of defense is collapsing. The final defensive line is about to break. Retreat now, no. If they fall, then it's all over. Damn it. So what should we do? Worried shouts began to erupt from within the Allied ranks, and in the face of their anxiety, the slender figure of Kang Haejin stood firm at the front. Seeing this, the soldiers hurriedly shouted "Saintess," turning towards Kang Haejin. Even though she was now facing hundreds, thousands of enemies, she didn't show the slightest bit of fear. All she was thinking was, I have to stop them, even if it's just one. Why? Why am I not giving up? Why don't I stop? If I die, it will all be over. Shouldn't I just get out of here? I don't know either. But I have a feeling that as soon as I give up and run from here, I'll lose something very important to me. But just as Kang Haejin thought this, her train of thought suddenly stopped because at that moment, an arrow from the front had pierced straight through her, and the sight of Kang Haejin being hit by an arrow made the enemy soldiers roar with excitement. Their down killed them. The Allied soldiers, seeing this, also screamed, "Damn you Ottomans, protect the Saintess and the Emperor." As they spoke, they began to advance. At the same time, they shielded Kang Haejin from behind, and despite their high morale, they couldn't possibly stand against the overwhelming number of enemies. Kill them all and take their riches. The voice of an enemy soldier rang out as he plunged the sword in his hand into some soldier, and this person immediately fell eyes wide open towards Kang Haejin. And this sight of the soldier dying with his eyes open staring right at her began to shatter Kang Haejin's spirit. I believed we could win. I was filled with pride that I could do what others couldn't, so I thought everything would go the way I wanted. What should I do now? Kang Haejin gritted her teeth in thought, and then her whole body slumped to its knees, as if all her strength had vanished. At this moment, some of the constellations began to feel sad for her. A few others praised her, saying she had done well enough, and there were also some who felt disappointed. And the number of negative comments began to increase more and more, making Kang Ju-hyun in the observation room to feel extremely anxious. Damn it, there are too many viewers, so I can't do anything. If I don't block all of these people, my library will go crazy. Be quiet, will you? What should I do? Kang Ju-hyun muttered as he tried to control the situation, but then suddenly, the constellation's comments came to an abrupt halt, leaving him confused. The constellations have all suddenly stopped talking. What on earth happened? As he said this, Kang Ju-hyun started to look at the system screen. Over and over again, he realized that his library had been visited by a special guest. The one who smiles from the deepest abyss is entering the library, and this name made him break out in a cold sweat with anxiety. It's Satan. And the fact that as soon as Satan entered, the chat fell silent made him chuckle. He then posted a message, "The one who smiles from the deepest abyss laughs," and asks, "Why is the atmosphere so tense?" "Because everyone is worried," Kang Ju-hyun answered him. But thanks to the appearance of this gentleman in black, the situation in the chat had temporarily calmed down. Because of that, Kang Ju-hyun was also able to calm down and say, "You're a little late, sir. I thought you would show up the moment I opened the library. I'm a busy man, you know. I only came here because I had some free time. But it looks like things are getting more and more interesting, doesn't it?" Satan mused with interest. Seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun also smiled and said, "It's going to get even more interesting from now on. I'm tired of just sitting around." With that, Kang Ju-hyun made a selection on the screen and vanished. At that moment, a notification appeared. "You have left the integrated zone and entered the subconscious realm." Back with Kang Ju-hyun. He had entered the mental realm and now stood before Kang Haejin. "Kang Haejin, it's over," Kang Ju-hyun said coldly. As for Kang Haejin, hearing Kang Ju-hyun's voice, she struggled to lift her head, about to say something. But before she could get a word out, Kang Ju-hyun urged her, "You can let go of the sword now. If you stay here any longer, you'll really die. You've already given it your all. It's just that there are some things you can't control." "You're right. There are things I can't change," Kang Haejin said on the verge of tears. "Are you going to give up And in response to Kang Ju-hyun's question, she screamed, "No! I know I'm being stubborn. Just like you said, there are so many things in this life that are out of our hands, things we can never reach no matter how hard we try. But even so, how could I possibly give up? Why would you say something so cruel? Everyone told me I was hopeless, that I shouldn't be a collector. For just a moment, I wanted to give up. But then you came and told me that I had my own talent, that I could do things others couldn't. Because of that, I came to understand myself better. And that's how I became who I am today. I've only just realized what I want. I don't want to run away anymore. I've had enough." As she spoke, Kang Ha-jin began to struggle, using her sword to prop herself up. At the same time, tears streamed down her face. But seeing her determined expression, Kang Ju-hyun continued to reason with her. "You could die, Ha-jin. I know, but I still don't want to give up. I'm sorry. I'm so foolish, aren't I? Being stubborn at a crucial time like this," Kang Ha-jin said, lowering her head. After hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun quietly said, "I understand." And just as Kang Ju-hyun said this, a loud shout echoed from behind them, "Die, you witch!" And right after the shout, a soldier with a sword charged toward them. When Kang Ha-jin saw this, her whole body trembled. She tried to move, but couldn't. "I have to stop him, but I can't budge. Is this how it ends?" "I'm sorry, Ju-hyun," she thought, gritting her teeth. But at the very moment she thought it was all over, Kang. Ju-hyun's voice rang out from in front of her. "Well done!" A startled Kang Ha-jin looked up and saw him smiling at her, looking incredibly proud. Then Kang Ha-jin noticed the notification message in front of Kang Ju-hyun and asked, "Ju-hyun, what is that?" But Kang Ju-hyun remained silent and pressed yes on the screen. And right after that, a notification immediately appeared. "Blessing of Genesis has been cancelled." And at that same moment, the soldier in front of them swung his blade right at Kang Ju-hyun. A spray of blood erupted, and before Kang Ha-jin's stunned eyes, Ju-hyun took down the enemy with a single swift strike. Meanwhile, Satan, who was somewhere else and observing this battle, he burst out laughing upon seeing Kang Ju-hyun's actions, as if he'd seen something incredibly amusing. "It's too late to be saying this now, but I've always wanted to be the main character. The regrets about my childhood dream, the dream my mother encouraged me to pursue, it was all a tangled mess that a single sentence from Choi Do-jun burned away completely. The me of the past believed him. I thought I was useless, so I gave up on my dream early on and went to work for Choi Do-jun. But Ha-jin is different. Her will is unyielding to the very end. Even when facing death, she remains indomitable, so confident and beautiful. That's why I can't just stand by and watch." Back to Kang Ha-jin. After being frozen for a few seconds by Kang Ju-hyun's actions, she finally yelled, "Ju-hyun, are you insane? What if you had been killed? Without the blessing of Genesis, I'm no longer protected from danger. I feel like this is something I have to do. You were right. I'm just as stubborn as you are." Kang Ju-hyun spoke as he began to cut down a few enemies in front of him. He then noticed the current viewer count above his head and continued, "There are over 1,000 people watching. Don't you think this is the perfect debut stage for an unknown actor?" Kang Ju-hyun's slightly playful tone made Kang Ha-jin chuckle and reply, "Haha, thank you, Ju-hyun. This is all thanks to you." And just as she said that, Kang Ha-jin herself began to undergo some kind of change. Her body began to be enveloped in a radiant light. Up ahead, Kang Ju-hyun heard her words of gratitude. He then declared confidently, "You got it." Then, he pushed back the enemy in front of him and yelled to the system, "Open the dimensional store." They say storytellers are only meant to be observers, that they never interfere with anything. Even the other storytellers agree they shouldn't get involved. But does that mean a storyteller can't fight? Are they forced to stand by and watch, protected by a blessing? No. There's no law that says that. People just treat it as an unwritten rule, and that's exactly why I've decided to fight. I'll take the stage in a way no one ever has before. With that thought, Kang Ju-hyun proactively charged forward to attack the enemy. At that moment, the enemy soldiers realized something and shouted, "Kill the witch! If she dies, we can win!" The shout came from one of the soldiers. He looked like their captain, but as soon as the words left his mouth, Kang Ju-hyun sent his head flying. "I won't let you have your way," he muttered. The fact that Kang Ju-hyun possessed such powerful combat skills left the enemy soldiers stunned, afraid to rush forward. Seizing the opportunity, Kang Ju-hyun warned them, "Who dares take another step?" As he spoke, he casually cut down another enemy. Meanwhile, watching from the rear, Kang Ha-jin saw how bravely Kang Ju-hyun was fighting. She could only thank him silently in her heart. "Ju-hyun, thank you for giving me the courage to step forward, and for giving up your blessing to fight alongside us." and so I will fight too. As for the enemy soldiers, after witnessing Kang Ju-hyun's ferocious fighting, they began to cry out in fear, "Who the hell is that bastard? He's just one man. How is he holding us all back?" "Because I'm strong, that's how," Kang Ju-hyun said confidently, and as if to prove his point, he casually lopped off another soldier's head. But only a moment later, Kang Ju-hyun himself had to plant his sword into the ground just to keep from collapsing. "I've reached my limit. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up," Kang Ju-hyun thought to himself. But the Ottoman soldiers also realized he had reached his limit, and they surged forward. "Charge! He's at the end of his rope! And this is our chance to kill him." But just then, a loud shout suddenly erupted from the enemy ranks, drawing everyone's attention. "Wait! Look over there! What the hell is that?" The sound made Kang Ju-hyun turn to look as well, and his eyes immediately widened in shock. Following his gaze, he saw that Kang Hee-jin was in a completely unique state. The sword in her hand was enveloped in a faint aura of sword energy, and at that very moment the system displayed a notification. Kang Hee-jin has fully awakened one with the sword. Kang Hee-jin has fully awakened Azure Sky Sword Path. Turning back to the Ottoman soldiers, they also realized the situation was becoming dire. They began to shout frantically to one another, "What is that? Fall back now!" Panicked screams began to ring out, but unfortunately it was already too late. Because at that very moment, right in front of them, Kang Hee-jin swung her sword at the crowd. The slash empowered by her one with the sword state unleashed a terrifying wave of sword energy. It shot straight forward, its power so immense that it completely wiped out all the enemies in its path, leaving a deep trench in the earth. Her newfound strength also left Kang Ju-hyun, who was standing nearby, utterly astonished. "I can't believe she's gotten this much stronger, and thanks to this sudden burst of power." The advance of the Ottoman army was temporarily halted. Only then did the Roman emperor have a chance to approach Kang Ju-hyun. "I don't know what just happened, but thank you. Thanks to you, we've bought some time to hold back the enemy." Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun replied with concern, "It's only a temporary fix. They've been stopped for now, but once they regroup, we'll still lose." "I know, but what can we possibly do? We never had enough forces to begin with," the emperor said, dejected. But luckily, Kang Ju-hyun had just come up with an idea to handle the situation. "No, there's still something we can do. The battle here will not end. Just like in any other war, I'm sure you know we need to kill their leader. It's the only way we can win." Kang Ju-hyun's words sounded reasonable, but carrying it out seemed next to impossible, so the king asked, "Can we even win?" Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun replied confidently, "It may sound impossible, but it can actually be done. If we have Hee-jin, we can definitely do it. They are retreating for now. The Ottomans' numbers are far greater than ours. Anyone who joins this mission will have a hard time returning alive. We need at least 300 men for this. Can you do it?" At his question, the king fell silent for a moment. Then he realized with astonishment that at some point the soldiers had already stepped forward. They stood before him as if volunteering for this very mission. Seeing the spirit of his soldiers, the Roman emperor, it spoke, "My people, today I owe you a great debt. You have given your all to protect this nation. I said that the gods would help us achieve victory in this war, but that will not happen. We ourselves will be the ones to protect this city and this land. I still hope you will stand with me to protect our home until the very end. Those who wish to join me remain here. This is not an order or a demand. If you wish, you may leave. You have the right to choose. Is there anyone willing to stand with me?" In response to the king's words, all the soldiers said nothing. They simply stepped forward in silence to stand by his side. Nothing needed to be said. Everyone understood each other's intentions. Even knowing this was an incredibly dangerous mission, their faces showed no signs of worry or fear. "Thank you," the king said softly. Seeing everyone volunteer like this, Kang Ju-hyun, who was standing at the side, said cheerfully, "Well then, let's move out." Meanwhile, not far away, the king of the Ottoman army, Mehmed II, gazed at the battlefield and muttered, "Draguses, you still refuse to give up, don't you?" After speaking, he looked a bit puzzled. "But something's different this time. Their reinforcements should have all fled by now. Why are there still some left?" And just as he said this, a soldier's voice rang out beside him. "Your Majesty, please look over there. The Roman army is advancing." Hearing this, Mehmed looked directly at King Dragusis and asked in a cold voice, "What are you planning?" And in answer to his question, Dragusis suddenly roared, "All troops attack!" At his command, countless Roman soldiers charged forward as one, but the Ottoman soldiers reacted quickly. They immediately formed an archer line, and after the commander's order to fire, Countless arrows flew towards Kang Ju-hyun's group. "They're firing arrows, block them!" someone from the Allied side shouted, but it was useless, because moments later they fell under this rain of arrows. Seeing this, a worried Kang Ha-jim turned to look back, but was immediately stopped by Kang Ju-hyun. "Hey, Jim, don't look back." Seeing this, Kang Ha-jim was about to say something more. Yeah, but before she could, Kang Ju-hyun cut her off. They knew what would happen, and they still came here. It's all to protect their country and their families. Don't pity them. If you truly feel that much regret, then you must succeed at all costs. These decisive words from Kang Ju-hyun silenced Kang Ha-jim. Right then, the Allied soldiers were fighting to the death to open a path for them, even using their own bodies as shields to help Kang Ha-jim move forward. "No, I have to help them," Kang Ha-jim thought anxiously as she saw a soldier get stabbed right behind her, and her expression was seen by the soldiers. So they smiled brightly and said to Kang Ha-jim, "We'll take care of things here. Don't worry about us." And just like that, their group continued to push forward until they were blocked by a cavalry unit. The moment Kang Ju-hyun saw this group, he quickly shouted, "It's the Sipahi troops! Ha-jim, get off your horse!" As if by reflex, Kang Ha-jim dismounted the moment he spoke. Then the two of them started running forward on foot as Kang Ju-hyun instructed her, "Go, Ha-jim, and don't look back. Just keep looking forward." Hearing this, Kang Ha-jim clenched her teeth, and the two of them rushed forward, breaking straight through the cavalry. But their actions had already been noticed by these soldiers. They're shouting to each other, "They're running toward the Sultan! Quick, stop that witch!" And right after that, 3 Ottoman soldiers formed a barricade to stop her, but unfortunately that barricade didn't even last 3 seconds before it was shattered. Ha-jim swung her sword, sending them all flying. "Get out of my way!" she screamed through her tears. Faster, stronger to survive, to save the others. These thoughts, repeated over and over in the minds of Kang Ju-hyun and Kang Ha-jim as they furiously fought their way forward. And not long after, Kang Ju-hyun finally caught sight of the Dream King and shouted, "Ha-jim, we're almost there!" That's the Sultan. As he said this, he himself began to worry. If we have to take down the soldiers in front of him, it'll be too late. We have to find another way. And it seemed as if fate itself wanted to help these two. So right after that, Kang Ju-hyun spotted a shield not far away and got an idea. "Ha-jim, I'll grab that shield. We'll use it to launch you up." Before Kang Ha-jim could even process what she'd heard, Kang Ju-hyun had already propped up the shield and said, "Now." By now, Kang Ha-jim completely understood Kang Ju-hyun's plan. She clenched her jaw and leaped straight onto the shield he was holding. Then, propelled by her powerful legs, Kang Ha-jim's body soared into the sky like a bird to the astonishment of the Ottoman soldiers. From below, Kang Ju-hyun yelled, "Ha-jim, spread your wings." And at his words, Kang Ha-jim's angel wings unfurled over the battlefield. Seeing this, the Ottoman soldiers quickly drew their bows and arrows, shouting to each other, "Fire! We have to stop her!" And so countless arrows began to fly straight towards Kang Ha-jim, but with the skills of an ace pilot, she was able to weave and dodge the arrows, and flew straight towards King Mehmed. Turning to face Mehmed, who saw a woman with wings hurtling towards him, he showed not a shred of fear. There was only surprise and admiration. "Incredible! Dragacy's my sworn enemy." And just as he said this, King Ha-jim shot right in front of him, and then, like a cannonball, she plummeted downwards, creating a terrifying explosion. And as the smoke and dust cleared, the image of King Mehmed struck by a blow from Kang Ha-jim was revealed. And to everyone's utter astonishment, the bodies of the Ottoman soldiers began to slowly fade away. Then Kang Ha-jim raised the sword in her hand to celebrate the victory. Seeing this, the Allied soldiers cheered with joy. "We won. We won. We really won." They spoke through tears of joy. This scene moved even King Dragus himself. This is what I wanted to see. Happy, smiling faces, not ones filled with sorrow. With that thought, he turned to Kang Ju-hyun and Kang Ha-jim and spoke. "Thank you truly, even though we are merely characters from this world. I will not forget your kindness." As he spoke, he began to bow in gratitude, but seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun gently said, "You aren't created characters. You are real people. Your smile and your tears, all of it is real. You are living people, so please don't belittle yourselves. What you've accomplished is a source of pride for so many. Your Majesty, just your words of thanks are more than enough for me." "Is that so, ha-ha?" Dragus laughed through his tears. He then composed himself and said, I wish to reward you both, but I don't know if something as fleeting as wealth. It is enough to express my gratitude. Therefore, I shall knight you both. Seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun exclaimed in shock. Huh? What's wrong? King Hazem asked hurriedly, seeing Kang Ju-hyun's reaction, and in response to the ever-oblivious girl's question, he began to explain. In the ancient Roman Empire, the title of knight carries a lot of weight. In a chaotic world, it's valued even more. When one becomes a knight, they are granted the power of storytelling. This is a precious gift that you can't even buy with points. And just as he said this, the king before them began the knighting ceremony. O noble and powerful ones, in the name of Constantinopolis Draguses, I bestow upon you a noble title. Following the king's words, both of their bodies were enveloped in a bright light. Then the system displayed a confirmation message. You have received the title Noble Knight. Physical and combat abilities have increased dramatically. At that moment, King Draguses also bid them farewell. May you both find glory on the path ahead. As these words rang out, his body slowly faded away, and the Roman soldiers on this side also happily bid them farewell. Saintess, thank you. We will never forget you. Thank you so much. And right after they said their goodbyes, everyone's bodies dissolved into a stream of light. We finally did it. Yes, we did it. I really thought we were going to fail, Kang Hae-jin said, crying. And to celebrate this victory, the system issued a notification. Unexpected achievement. The higher beings are speaking your name. No one from the lower realm has ever achieved this before. You have received 10,000 points. The entire mixed world is cheering your names. Seeing this, Kang Hae-jin was so happy she started crying. Ha, there's no turning back now, is there? Yeah, but we're still in this together, right? I don't know what the future holds. But no matter what happens, we'll face it side by side. Hearing that, Kang Hae-jin smiled brightly and said, That's all I need. And then the system issued a few more notifications. Congratulations, you have cleared the stage of the mental realm. This is an achievement no one has ever managed before. You have received 10,000 points. You too have broken this world's curse. You have received an additional 10,000 points. The Holy Spirits are praising you. You receive 5,000 points. Your names will be recorded in other worlds. And at that moment, the book in front of Kang Ju-hyun also emitted a brilliant light. Useless, that's what people called me. Even when I tried to stand up, I was just too weak. In the end, I had to give up. But I won't be like that anymore. This is my first story, and it's also the foundation for this world. The tale of the indomitable storyteller and the Sword Queen. And a few days later, just as Kang Ju-hyun had predicted, Baek Soo-ryun was completely swamped with work. Yes, this is Baek Soo-ryun from the Baekhwa Management Bureau. How can I help you? You'd like an interview? Our schedule is completely full, so it's difficult to arrange anything right now. Yes, so when we can, blah blah blah. At that moment, Kang Ju-hyun, who was nearby, saw how incredibly busy she was. He felt a little bad for her. She's really busy, but she's doing a great job. Back to Baek Soo-ryun right after saying goodbye to the last client. She turned to ask Kang Ju-hyun, Hey, Ju-hyun, did you really get rid of your blessing? But before he could even answer, that silly girl Kang Hae-jin answered for him. Of course, that's why I can touch him now, see? As she spoke, she started wiggling on Kang Ju-hyun's lap, which made him extremely uncomfortable. If you keep wiggling, don't blame me for what happens. But it seemed this threat had no effect. Kang Hae-jin's carefree attitude was a world away from how she was on the battlefield. Turning back to Baek Soo-ryun after confirming that Kang Ju-hyun had really given up the system's protection, she said worriedly, Isn't that incredibly dangerous? Hearing that, Kang Ju-hyun replied wearily, Well, yeah. Without it, I can't escape to other rooms or teleport during a fight. There are a lot of disadvantages. Still, I'm fighting alongside Hae-jin. I guess you see me as a collector now, right? Ju-hyun and I have gotten really close lately, Kang Hae-jin said cheerfully, and the price for this cheerfulness was a sledgehammer blow from Kang Ju-hyun. I told you not to wiggle, and this blow caused a huge lump to appear on Kang Hae-jin's head, but Kang Ju-hyun didn't seem to care much. He then looked over at Baek Soo-ryun and asked, Soo-ryun, you look a little tired. Are you okay? After hearing him, Baek Soo-ryun answered, but when else would I get this many calls? I'm just happy. I still can't believe it. That you two actually managed to clear that infamous mental realm. To be honest, I didn't think we'd succeed either. But don't accept their offers just yet. We don't have time to do all their interviews, Kang Ju-hyun said. Across from him, Baek Suryun sighed and replied, I know, I've been turning down offers from the guilds, but I can't just ignore the press. We've even received a few advertising offers. Kang Hee-jin, who was rubbing his head, heard that and his jaw dropped. What advertisements? I wonder if she has any ideas. But Kang Joo-hyun immediately shut down that idea. Reject them right away. Unless they're a major brand, there's not much benefit in agreeing with them. Speaking of which, suddenly a few notification screens appeared in front of him, which Kang Joo-hyun found a bit annoying. Most of them were notifications from the divine beings, making offers for sponsorship after the match. So many divine beings want to sponsor me. I should have turned this off. Kang Joo-hyun thought to himself, having so many divine beings watching is becoming a problem. I need to set up some rules and fast, but nothing major has happened yet. The divine beings are still very quiet, Kang Hee-jin said, puzzled. To answer her question, Kang Joo-hyun took an item from his inventory. Then he said, It's because of this. Huh? What is that? Kang Hee-jin asked, as she started staring at the thing that looked like a fruit in Kang Joo-hyun's hand. And at that very moment, it seems Baek Suryun realized what it was because she suddenly shouted, Ah, don't tell me that's the fruit of eternal life. That's right. You know about it. I know a little. To support collectors, we have to be very knowledgeable about mythology, Baek Suryun said. And the origin of this fruit of eternal life is that it was a gift from Satan after his victory. But the fact that Satan gave me something so precious gave Kang Joo-hyun a lot to think about. Giving me this, while so many divine beings are watching. I don't get what that guy is thinking. This storyteller is mine. Don't you dare look at him. Is that what he wants everyone to think? Back to Kang Hee-jin with her goldfish brain, she didn't understand the value of this fruit and wondered, really, it's that amazing? The sheer cluelessness of that remark made Baek Suryun, who was standing next to her, exclaim in astonishment. You don't know about the fruit of eternal life. It's one of the 2 fruits from the Holy Scripture. That's right, even though it's this small, you probably couldn't buy it for even 10 million gold, Kang Joo-hyun added. At the same time, he thought to himself, if I carelessly ate this while I'm still at a low level, my body wouldn't be able to handle it. It would explode from the sheer amount of life force. He gave me something I can't even eat right away. What a cunning old fox. And just as Kang Joo-hyun thought this, another notification screen suddenly appeared in front of him, making him wonder, what's this, a message weird? I'm sure I blocked all messages. Then the notification screen displayed the text, The one-like light wishes to have a private meeting with you. And as soon as Kang Joo-hyun saw this line, he quickly stood up and said, Excuse me, I have an important guest. After saying that, he immediately pressed the accept button on the screen and vanished instantly. And when he reappeared, Kang Joo-hyun was a bit surprised because he was now standing in the middle of a void. So this is the space for meeting divine beings. I've never been here in my past life. At the same time, a voice rang out from behind him. Welcome, Kang Joo-hyun. After hearing this voice, he hurriedly turned around, his eyes widening in shock. Who on earth had he just met scene change to that guy Jin Bung's location? By now, the story of how Kang Joo-hyun had successfully cleared that tough mental world had also reached him, and he found it unbelievable. Damn it, what is going on? How did he conquer Constantinople? He returned a blessing that even I couldn't, teamed up with a collector and still managed to survive. As he said this, he began to tremble as he considered, if I can't deal with him, the Bureau will deal with me. I have to stop him. But just as he thought of this, he suddenly realized something. He muttered, wait a minute. He's already given up his blessing. Now I can attack him directly. Though I'm not sure if I can beat that phony collector woman. It's come to this. I have to change my plans. As he spoke, he started to operate something. A notification appeared on the system screen announcing that she had completed the mission. How about we kill the Sword Queen too? She has a lot of high-level skills. Someone assassinate him. He doesn't have a blessing. After seeing these words, the guy named Jin Pun began to laugh slyly. Kang Joo-hyun, I will make you pay for fearlessly rejecting the blessing. He turned towards Kang Joo-hyun. At that moment, he too was turning around. He looked at the owner of the voice from before. Thank you for accepting my sudden invitation, said the man with 2 pairs of wings. It's the Holy Archangel Michael. When Kang Joo-hyun heard how politely he spoke, he quickly replied, It's nothing, sir. I just never expected to receive an invitation from heaven. Please have a seat. Michael spoke as he started to sit down at a table in front of him, while Kang Joo-hyun himself couldn't figure out where this table had appeared from. And his calm demeanor also surprised this archangel, who then asked, Aren't you surprised? How could I not be? Anyone would be surprised to be visited personally by someone as noble as you. You say that, but you seem quite calm, Michael continued. He also got straight to the point of his invitation to Kang Ju-hyun. I called you here to confirm the rumor that has been spreading these past few days. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun understood everything. Ah, so it's about that. You're referring to the matter with Lord Satan, correct? If it's about Satan, then it's not hard to understand because Saint Michael has been Satan's sworn enemy since the beginning of time. With that thought, he began to explain. It's a misunderstanding. I have had no dealings with hell. Then I'm relieved, Michael said calmly. Meanwhile, Kang Ju-hyun began to voice his own question. But it's rather strange. I didn't think heaven would pay attention to my channel. Hearing him say that, Michael replied, Only fools believe in rumors. After a little investigation, we found you have no connection to hell. However, we know that you have been in contact with that demon, and the Archangel's words made Kang Ju-hyun a little nervous. Is he trying to find out about my relationship with Lord Satan? With that in mind, he began to explain everything clearly. I met Lord Satan at the welcoming ceremony. We just exchanged a few words and then went our separate ways. And he gave you the fruit of immortality for just a few words? Michael asked, puzzled. Not to be arrogant, but he seemed to take an interest in me. I had a hard time turning down his offer. To have him sponsor my channel. And this made Michael, who was sitting opposite him, even more curious. Why would you do that? Isn't a sponsor essential for storytellers like you? Hearing that, Kang Ju-hyun reluctantly said, Well, that's true, but to each their own. For me, my personal goals are more important than getting a sponsor, and because of that, he liked me even more. He even said he would definitely take over my channel. I see. Just as I thought meeting you in person was the best choice. I'm glad to know you haven't sided with hell, so I will take this rare opportunity. Would you like to receive sponsorship from heaven? Michael made the offer, and this proposal made Kang Ju-hyun think to himself, I was wondering when he was going to bring this up. I knew this would happen. Why else would they send Saint Michael himself? Heaven is one of the most powerful forces in the multiverse. Their reputation is quite good, and their influence on other worlds is immense. This is definitely a good offer. However, and just as he thought this, Kang Ju-hyun began to speak. I must decline your kind offer. Hearing this, Michael didn't get angry, but asked in return, May I ask why? For the same reason I gave Lord Satan. I have my own goals and don't intend to accept sponsorship from anyone. I don't want my channel to be allied with any person or faction, Kang Ju-hyun said with an assertive voice, and this confident declaration piqued Michael's interest. He then said, From what you're saying, I can infer that your stories not only contain good messages, but also tales of vice. After hearing that, Kang Ju-hyun said, It's not that simple. I just want the stories I tell to be diverse and free from the influence of any individual, and they will certainly be one of a kind. You may find me arrogant. However, if you're still skeptical, please continue to follow our channel. Aren't you curious about the goal and the outcome of the channel that rejected offers from both heaven and hell? As he spoke these words, a thought crossed Kang Ju-hyun's mind. Although Saint Michael is a divine being without worldly desires, that doesn't mean he dislikes stories. He may not show it on his face, but he must be very curious inside. And just as he thought, Michael was indeed intrigued and asked, Are you saying you want to have both hell and heaven at the same time? In response to this question, Kang Ju-hyun gave a confident nod, and after seeing his answer, Michael stood up and said, I understand. We will respect your wishes. Your story has piqued my curiosity. I will be watching it with my own eyes. To express my gratitude for you taking your precious time to meet me, it would tarnish heaven's image if I simply left after bringing you here and wasting your time. This is a personal gift from me to you. Take it. As he spoke, he began to hand Kang Ju-hyun an egg. Upon seeing this egg, Kang Ju-hyun himself broke into a light sweat and said, This is... The scene changes to the Baeshwa office. At this moment, Kang Hazim and Baek Sur-yoon were admiring the egg gifted by the divine being. I was wondering you got this egg from a customer. It's so big I wonder what species it belongs to. Hearing them talk, Kang Ju-hyun also became curious and began to speculate. Well, there's a chance it's a dragon egg. Obviously, if a dragon were to pop its head out, it would accept me as its master and follow me around all day. Of course, this was just Kang Ju-hyun's wishful thinking. Even though I'm saying this, it's probably not the dragon. To heaven, dragons are a symbol of disgusting demons. And just as he was thinking this, a crack suddenly appeared on the egg's surface. Seeing this, Kang Hae-jin shouted with joy, Hey, look, it's about to hatch! And to everyone's amazement, a creature that looked like an owl appeared from inside the egg. After Kang Ju-hyun saw its form, he immediately lost all interest. An owl. Although its appearance didn't impress Kang Ju-hyun, it had a devastating effect on women. The most direct examples were the two women themselves. Kang Haejin and Baek Suryeon's eyes were sparkling. "It's an owl! Oh my God, it's so cute! Can I raise it? Oh, it doesn't like me!" Kang Haejin started to tear up as the little owl quickly hid on top of Kang Ju-hyun's head when it heard her voice. "It was just born, so of course it's scared of you," Kang Ju-hyun said. "I guess it thinks you're its mother," Baek Suryeon said with a smile, turning to Kang Ju-hyun. As soon as he saw the egg hatch into an owl, he figured out Michael's intention. Satan's symbolic animal is a snake, and owls are predators of snakes. He must have done this on purpose to warn me not to do anything reckless. And the special thing is, this owl itself also has a small book. However, since it was just born, the book isn't emitting any kind of aura. At the same time, Kang Haejin at his side cheerfully suggested, "You should give it a name. I think its name should be Un or maybe Uli." Faced with her enthusiasm after Kang Ju-hyun heard her, he showed an expression of disbelief and said, "Are you kidding me? Who would name something I thought it was a cute name," Kang Haejin stammered. "Let Ju-hyun name it. After all, he's the owl's master," Baek Suryeon said, turning towards Kang Ju-hyun. He looked straight at the little owl in his hand and thought, in that case, Bikyo. Your name will be Bikyo." Scene changed to a certain gate. Right now, two people were talking to each other. "So, did everything go smoothly?" The blonde girl said, "Not as much as I thought, but it's enough. All right, I'll get ready to start." And just as they said that, a commotion suddenly erupted from behind them, catching both of their attentions. Then astonished shouts rang out. Is that the Sword Queen? Wow, it really is the Sword Queen." Back to Kang Ju-hyun. After seeing the other collectors' reactions, he didn't find it strange at all. Kang Haejin was famous among ordinary citizens, but to collectors, she was like a demon who destroyed every place she went. Unlike other collectors, who preserve mindscapes to continue grinding and leveling up, Kang Haejin clears and completes every mindscape she enters. That's why collectors call her the Destroyer of grinding spots. Back to Kang Haejin. Seeing how crowded the place was, she remarked, "There are so many people gathered here." "That's because the entrance is right in the city center. Plus, this is a good place to continuously grind and level up, so there are quite a few of them here," Kang Ju-hyun said. And just as he spoke those words, the crowd in front of them started to get rowdy and chaotic. "This is big trouble. The Destroyer of grinding spots is here. Damn it, I'm not going to get anything done today. I should have gone into that dungeon earlier." After seeing everyone like this, Kang Haejin, she started to smirk and said, They're acting as if I want to clear this mindscape really quickly." This expression made Kang Ju-hyun worry and think. It seems she's used to being called that. With this thought, Kang Ju-hyun turned and said to her, "Ms. Haejin, could you and Bikyo stand back a little? I want to make an announcement before I open the channel." Then as soon as Kang Ju-hyun started to open his channel, countless holy spirits flooded in. The system also displayed a notification. Viewers 2,482. Subscribers 1,142. These numbers surprised Kang Ju-hyun a bit. Over 2,000 people joined instantly. Did the rumor spread that fast? With that thought, Kang Ju-hyun began to greet these spirits. "Welcome to the story of the storyteller and the Sword Queen." And in response to his enthusiasm, the audience in the chat channel started cursing up a storm. Someone started telling others to be quiet while some wanted to see the Sword Queen. In short, the channel had just opened and the chat was already in complete chaos. And this was driving Kang Ju-hyun crazy, but for the sake of a few coins, he still had to grit his teeth and bear it. "I really miss Lord Satan right about now," he thought. He regained some of his composure and said, "Calm down, everyone. I opened the chat earlier than usual because there's something I want to announce, thanks to everyone's support. And my channel has grown strong very quickly. I'm very grateful, but the current situation makes it very difficult for me to manage it well, so I have set a few rules that are effective immediately. First, no forming factions in the channel. Second, do not mention other channels or their collectors. This could cause an argument. Third, any slander, unnecessary romance, or anything of the sort. All will be dealt with strictly. Also, requests from top comments made through donations will be answered." Hearing this, a certain Holy Spirit immediately sent a donation. 100 points followed by the comment, "He's really strict. I only came here because of the rumors, but I don't see anything. Seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun also muttered, "If you want to leave, then leave. I won't entertain anyone who doesn't follow the rules," after saying that he kicked that person out of the room. This decisive action left the Holy Spirits in awe. Seeing their reaction, Kang Ju-hyun smiled and thought, "Do you think you're so special just because you can communicate through donation messages here?" And just as he was thinking this, suddenly a comment from a certain Holy Spirit popped up, catching his eye. "The White King of the Sunset Sea has donated 1,000 points to you. Young man, just let it slide. I will sponsor you generously." And that number truly impressed Kang Ju-hyun. That was a pretty large sum, but it still wasn't enough to make Kang Ju-hyun sell out. The rules are the rules. If I just let it slide, then what's the point of even having them? Kang Ju-hyun said. And as if in defiance right after that, the Holy Spirit commented again, "The White King of the Sunset Sea has donated 10,000 points. How about now?" It seemed this Holy Spirit was determined to buy him off with money, and this started to get on his nerves. Look at this bastard. The White King of the Sunset Sea. Just the name itself screamed power. And he throws money around so freely? There's no doubt. He's associated with the 36 heavens of the upper world, one of the most powerful forces. The Dragon King of one of the 4 seas, the White Dragon of the East Sea. I thought my channel was only known to a few famous Holy Spirits, but I didn't realize my reputation had spread so fast. Thinking about this guy's immense status, his expression instantly changed to a bright smile. To have one of the Dragon Kings here, I feel truly honored, Your Majesty. His deferential attitude made the White King of the Sunset Sea nod with a smile, and to reward this respectful gesture, he generously spent another 10,000 points just to send a message. Don't be so difficult, just be reasonable. Do you really think we're going to have a falling out over a few words? Seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun's eyes crinkled into a smile. Ha, be reasonable, you say? Reasonable, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. His sudden refusal silenced the entire chat for a moment. It took a few seconds for the White Dragon King to recover. He then asked, "What do you mean by that? I said no and I meant no." "Don't you understand?" Kang Ju-hyun said with finality. Faced with this, the White Dragon King was completely baffled, so he threw in another 10,000 points to ask a question. "I've already donated this much. Is it still not enough? Fine. Then how much do you want?" From the White Dragon King's words, Kang Ju-hyun could tell one thing: his pride had been hurt. He must have thought that points could solve any problem up until now, but I'm different. With that thought, Kang Ju-hyun bluntly made a declaration to this big spender. "Let me make this clear, no matter how much money, shame. It's useless. There are no exceptions to the rules I have set. That applies whether you try to bribe me or use your power and authority to try and force me. I will never change my decision, especially not for you, White Dragon of the East Sea." These words started to truly infuriate the wealthy being. Even his comment bubble had now turned red. But despite that, Kang Ju-hyun wasn't worried in the slightest. It's very difficult for the upper world to directly affect the lower world. He must be absolutely furious, he thought. But thanks to the Genesis system that manages the multiverse, he wouldn't dare recklessly unleash his full power. And things unfolded exactly as Kang Ju-hyun had predicted. All the White Dragon King could do was just throw more money at him. "Shut your mouth, you lowly storyteller. Your job is to take the money and obey my words. There is nothing that can't be solved with money. Is this enough for you now?" The White Dragon King posted 3 comments like that in a row, throwing away 30,000 points. In the face of the old man's generosity, Kang Ju-hyun promptly thanked him. "I am very grateful for your donation, sir. However, you just made a comment insulting the storyteller. Have a nice day." And with that, Kang Ju-hyun kicked him out of the room. He did it with a bright smile on his face, and the other Holy Spirits couldn't help but admire his guts. A donation is a donation, but the rules are the rules. This is a classic example, so I hope you all understand. If I can maintain a pleasant atmosphere without having to hand out punishments, I'll consider loosening the rules. And just as he thought that, suddenly a ray of light appeared in the sky, and right after that, a comment from the White Dragon King suddenly appeared. After seeing it, that bastard Kang Ju-hyun was so shocked he couldn't speak. How did he get past the system's barrier, he wondered. And as if to answer Kang Ju-hyun's question, the system then displayed a confirmation notice. "White King of the Twilight Sea has entered your channel." At this point, Kang Ju-hyun knew the situation had become extremely tense. "To go against the system's rules. I know you are furious, sir, but it seems you've gone too far." Kang Ju-hyun said this in a very serious tone, but for some reason his words only made the White Dragon King even angrier. How dare a pathetic storyteller like you say such things to me? After taking a ton of my points, you kick me out. To disrespect me, a member of one of the greatest divine forces, is a grave sin. Do you really think you can escape the crime of having insulted the 36th heaven of the upper realm? Seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun vehemently denied it. I have never insulted anyone from the 36th heaven of the upper realm, and I have never insulted you, White Dragon of the East Sea. I only removed a guest who violated my channel's rules. You. How dare you utter such words? The White Dragon King roared, and just as the situation was getting extremely tense, a special guest arrived. One who is like a glimmering light has joined, and right after that, this guest also realized something was wrong and asked, "What just happened?" And Kang Ju-hyun immediately identified this special guest. "Is that Sir Michael?" And at the same time, Michael also noticed the abnormality in the access system and muttered, "Wait, how is this possible?" Then a notification screen appeared. The Genesis system has been activated. System anomaly detected. External interference has been confirmed. Rule violator has been identified. Target White King of the Twilight Sea. Administering judgment based on system protocols. As soon as this notification appeared, a bolt of lightning shot straight at the White Dragon King's comment window. Then his agonizing scream echoed out, and Kang Ju-hyun, after witnessing this scene, had only one thought: serves him right. The Genesis system wields a power that even the highest-ranking divine spirits fear. For a mere mid-tier divine spirit to dare defy it, he'll be knocked out for a whole decade. Then the system announced White King of the Twilight Sea has been forcibly ejected. Back to Kang Ju-hyun after seeing that rich geezer get kicked out by the system. He turned to the remaining divine spirits with a bright smile and said, "Although things just got a little chaotic, I hope this serves as an example for everyone, so that no one repeats the offense. That said, if any divine spirits have an opinion about my rules, please raise your hand and speak." At this point, what divine spirit would dare to object, especially when even Michael didn't say anything? What could the rest of them possibly say? Sir Michael's influence is truly immense, Kang Ju-hyun thought to himself. After seeing that no one had anything more to add about the rules, Kang Ju-hyun continued his wild broadcast. "Since I see no further comments, I'll show everyone this. I'm thinking of completing a mental realm today. A place like Constantinople from the other day is a bit too much, so we plan to go somewhere a little easier." Hearing him say this, the divine spirits were a bit disappointed. But Kang Ju-hyun, seeing their reaction, kept his bright smile and said, "Now don't be like that. We're not just going into the mental realm for a stroll and to pick up some items, you know." As he said this, he turned to look at Kang Hee-jin and asked, "Are you ready, Hee-jin?" "I'm ready," Kang Hee-jin replied. At that moment, the chat channel started going crazy over her appearance. "It's the Sword Empress. Sword Empress, look this way." And not long after that, they stepped inside the mental realm. The setting of this place appeared to be a forest. As soon as they entered, Kang Ju-hyun began to explain where they were to the divine spirits. "The place we've come to today is the Theodolin Swamp. It looks quite different from the places we've been to before, doesn't it? First, we need to find the border of this place. Hee-jin, I'll summarize the info for you." And just as he said that, a voice called out from ahead of them, "You two want to hunt with us?" The words came from the leader of a group of 4, and after seeing that Kang Ju-hyun's group only had 2 people, he asked again, "Just the 2 of you came in here?" "That's right," Kang Ju-hyun said. Hearing this, the brown-haired man began his invitation. "We normally go as a party of 6, but we lost 2 due to an incident. Would you 2 like to team up with us? I think we'll be okay with 1, but we're still having some trouble." Back on Kang Hee-jin's side, faced with the offer, she thought for a moment. They don't know who Ju-hyun and I are. It's understandable. If they don't pay attention to the rumors, they wouldn't know. But we're here to complete this mental realm. We can't ally ourselves with people who are just here to make money. Thinking this, she was about to politely decline the offer, but before she could even finish, Kang Ju-hyun, who was right beside her, cut in. "That's great, I was just looking for a group myself." Hearing that, the brown-haired guy happily said, "Ah, that's perfect." He turned back to Kang Hee-jim, who was now a bit confused, wondering why Kang Ju-hyun would agree to ally with these people. But then, right after that, she glanced over at the hot blonde woman, and she thought to herself, "Ah, it must be because of her. A beautiful woman with blonde hair and a smoking hot body. I hate to admit it, but she's so alluring. It's so weird. When I touch Ju-hyun, he doesn't react at all. So, this is his type, huh?" Kang Hee-jim started to despair. Just then, the brown-haired guy behind them said, Well, then let's all do our best together. Agreed. Hajim, go ahead and greet everyone, Kang Ju-hyun said. And as Kang Ju-hyun requested, Kang Hajim slowly turned to glare at the brown-haired guy's group with an incredibly cold and sharp gaze. A pleasure to meet you all, she said with the voice and face of a killer. What the hell is wrong with her? The brown-haired guy thought when he saw her eyes. Then he also smiled and said, We'll be heading out first. Sounds good. After watching them leave, Kang Ju-hyun turned to Kang Hajim to call her out on her attitude. Hey, Jim. Yes, Ju-hyun. I know everyone has their own type. However, I didn't know that was your type. But if I go on a diet, Kang Hajim said, her eyes already welling up with tears. It seemed the thought of dieting was truly torture for her. Kang Ju-hyun, on the other hand, had no idea what this goofy girl was talking about. What are you talking about? Mind your image. After that, he brought his face close to Kang Hajim's and said, Hajim. In this somewhat intimate scene, Kang Hajim's cheeks flushed red and she stammered, Ju-hyun, so suddenly, in a place like this. The spirits are still watching. Hey, not that I'm complaining or anything. All I can say is this girl's mind is a bit of a mess. Back to the story. Kang Ju-hyun ignored her flustered state and began to speak seriously. Listen carefully to what I'm about to say, Hajim. That group, they're all scavengers. I don't know what scavengers means, but as soon as Kang Hajim heard this, her face immediately stiffened. Scavengers. They make a living by secretly taking or outright stealing the stories and items that collectors leave behind in the mental world. The reason they do it is because hunting monsters in here is too hard for them, so they came up with this method. Back to the story. After Kang Hajim learned the true identity of that group, from Kang Ju-hyun, she became a little worried and said, So, those people are going to get close to us to try and steal our stories. It would be nice if that's all there was to it. There are quite a few scumbags who don't just steal but also kill their victims. Those four, they're probably a group that specializes in doing just that, Kang Ju-hyun said seriously. After hearing this, Kang Hajim completely trusted Kang Ju-hyun without a shred of doubt. If he says so, then it must be the truth, but how did you know they were scavengers? She began to speak with a sparkling expression. Her excited attitude left Kang Ju-hyun at a loss for words, but he began to explain anyway. Do you remember what they said? They said they tried hunting and found it too difficult, but their clothes are completely clean. That proves they've never tried hunting. This place is a swamp with water up to our ankles. Every step, no matter how light, sends mud splashing everywhere. So if you fight here, your clothes are bound to get dirty. On top of that, what's more suspicious than the way they approached us? Without any hesitation, pretending they didn't know who we were. We're pretty famous, you know. Even if they didn't know us, it's highly suspicious for them to approach someone they just met and invite them to their group. Hearing that, Kang Hajim understood. But then she had another question. Then why did you agree to join them if that was their intention? Why didn't you just refuse their invitation? Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun just smiled and said, why? Let me ask the spirits, shall we? He then turned to talk to the spirits who were watching. We've spotted some bad guys hiding their true intentions, approaching us with a knife hidden behind their back. They see me as easy prey. If you were in the same situation, would you still try to avoid them? Tell me what you all think. And right after he said that, the keyboard warriors began to show their true colors. That kind of person is unforgivable. You should completely annihilate those guys. You shouldn't just ignore this. Kang Ju-hyun was just waiting to hear these words from them. His fist began to clench with determination as he laid out his plan. I'll pretend I don't know anything, and I'll follow their instructions. Then at the most critical moment, I'll give them a fatal blow from behind. Doesn't that make the story more interesting? Kang Ju-hyun's plan to play dumb sounded plausible enough, but Kang Hae-jin was still a bit worried and asked, But will they really be fooled? Hearing her, Kang Ju-hyun smiled and said, Do you know which kind of people are the easiest to fool? The ones who think they know everything but actually know nothing at all. The ones delusional enough to believe this world is exactly as they see it. The ones who are so overconfident they think they have it all figured out. People lost in their own sense of superiority. Those are my favorite kind of prey. And with that, the two of them, Kang Ju-hyun and Kang Hae-jin, went off with the group of scavengers. As they hunted together, Kang Hae-jin was able to take down the lotus monster with a single sword strike, leaving the brown-haired man and the girl beside him in awe. Wow, you're incredible. I can't believe you took it down in one hit. I've never seen anything like that before. Back to the brown-haired man. Although he was praising her out loud, inside he was worried sick. Oh, damn it. How is the Sword Queen so strong? She isn't even tired after hunting for so long. And just as he was thinking that, He noticed Kang Ju-hyun getting ready to go somewhere, so he quickly asked, "Oh, where are you going?" "I just have to take care of something," Kang Ju-hyun said cheerfully, which immediately made the brown-haired man sense an opportunity. This was his chance. He quickly said, "Ah, wait, it's too dangerous to go alone. You should take someone with you." Then he turned to this gray-haired man beside him and ordered, "Yonggun, you go with him. You just said you needed to use the restroom, right?" The gray-haired man was a bit startled by this, but then he stammered, right. And of course this awkward expression didn't escape Kang Ju-hyun's notice. At that moment he knew. They're probably about to make their move. He immediately began sending a telepathic message to Kang Hae-jin. "Hae-jin, can you hear me? I'm using telepathy to talk to you. Once I'm out of here, it's likely they'll make their move. Just stay put. If you see anything strange, attack immediately." "I understand," Kang Hae-jin replied. After that, he left with the man named Yonggun, and for some reason, as they were walking, the worried look on his face was as clear as day. Seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun decided to start a conversation. "Your name is Han Yonggun, right? You seem a little different than before. Is something wrong?" Yonggun was startled and said, me? "You can speak freely now without getting into trouble," Kang Ju-hyun said calmly. The reason he said this was because he already knew everything. To him, the other three were unforgivable scum, but this man Yonggun seemed pretty normal. As for Yonggun, he mustered all his courage and stammered, "Your name is Ju-hyun, right? Please run away. Immediately, I know you probably won't believe me, but those other people are murderers. A guy named Baek Gu-hyun forced me to follow them, and he was the one who suggested killing you two. I tried to refuse, but he threatened to kill me if I didn't go along. So even though I knew, I didn't dare say anything. That's why I joined them. I'll go back alone and report that I killed you. So please just run. I'm also trying to figure out a way for the Sword Queen to escape." After hearing him out, Kang Ju-hyun didn't rush to agree. Instead, he asked a question. "If you get caught, don't both you and Hae-jin be in danger? More importantly, why do they want to kill me?" "I'm not entirely sure, but a storyteller from a famous bureau hired them to do it. He said he'd sign a contract with them if they succeeded." Yonggun stammered, a storyteller from a bureau." Kang Ju-hyun started to smile upon hearing something familiar as Yonggun continued to advise him, "So you should run. Just let me handle the rest." And thanks to these words, Yonggun was lucky not to be added to the kill list Kang Ju-hyun had intended for him, just like the others. But on second thought, that wasn't necessary. With this in mind, he spoke to the gray-haired guy. "I think I have to do this. Stay right here, okay?" "What do you mean?" Yonggun was shocked. "Do you think I'm an idiot?" he said. "Who would trust someone who suddenly approaches them in the middle of nowhere?" Kang Ju-hyun said, which shocked the gray-haired guy even more. "So you knew everything from the very beginning?" "You could say that, but you don't have to be afraid. After all, I can confirm you're not a bad person." "Then what about the sword demon?" Yonggun shouted, but at that same moment, a terrible scream suddenly echoed in their ears. After Kang Ju-hyun heard this scream, he smiled and said, "I guess they're almost finished over there." His words made Yonggun realize something, and he mumbled, "Almost finished. Don't tell me." And just as the young man had guessed, when the two of them returned to the original spot, they found Baek Gu-hyun and the other two beaten flat on the ground by the sword demon. Seeing how badly they were beaten, Kang Ju-hyun didn't even bother tying them up. He then glanced at Kang Hae-jin and thought, "She really is strong. She's always holding back, not showing her full power. It made me think she was actually weak." That was a fleeting thought from Kang Ju-hyun. After he stopped thinking about Kang Hae-jin, he turned and yelled at the three scavengers, "How long are you going to lie there? Get up already." At his words, the latter Baek Gu-hyun began to slowly come to. He then spotted the young man Yonggun standing next to Kang Ju-hyun, and he became furious, roaring, "Han Yonggun, it was you, wasn't it? You sold us out, didn't you? You traitorous bastard, you damn piece of shit! I'll kill you, I'll kill you." These threats made the young Yonggun shake like a leaf. But unfortunately for him at that moment, Kang Ju-hyun was also there, and in response to those threats, Kang Ju-hyun lifted his foot and stomped right on the man's hand. The sound of a bone snapping followed immediately. Baek Gu-hyun began to squeal like a stuck pig. Seeing him like this, Kang Ju-hyun said excitedly, "Baek Gu-hyun, you still don't understand your current situation, do you? Let me spell it out for you. Baek Gu-hyun, a level 7 collector. Occupation scavenger. You've killed more than 10 people, not to mention colluding with gangs and assaults. Extortion and human trafficking, and this time I guess you were assigned to kill some nobody and the recently famous sword demon. Am I right?" "That's right. Who hired you to do these things?" Kang Ju-hyun said with an ice-cold voice and expression, but Baek Gu-hyun on the other side, Jae was the type who couldn't read the room. Even though his life was in Kang Ju-hyun's hands, he still had the nerve to taunt him. "If I don't talk, what are you going to do to me? Are you going to kill me? Do you have the guts to bear the title of a murderer?" Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun replied, annoyed. "In the end, you have no remorse at all. Aren't you afraid of the law? The law you going to take me to court? In this country, the worst punishment for me is just prison time. That's nothing to me. Go ahead, throw me in jail. But you should know once I get out of there, you'll be the first one I kill." This fool was spouting nonsense, unaware that with every word he spoke, Kang Ju-hyun's expression was growing colder and colder. At that moment, the Holy Spirits were also cheering for Kang Ju-hyun to just kill that big Gu-hyun guy. Even St. Michael said that the wicked must receive their due punishment. And these words of encouragement began to make him reconsider. Seeing Kang Ju-hyun's silent contemplation, Big Gu-hyun became even more emboldened and started shouting. "Why so quiet all of a sudden? Say something. You should think carefully before you decide to start something with me." Hearing that, Kang Ju-hyun coldly replied, "Don't be so sure." After speaking, he tightened his grip on the sword in his hand. Then he sent one of the group members straight to the afterlife. This sudden action from Kang Ju-hyun left the scavenger completely dumbfounded as he stared at his teammate's body, which had no trace of life left in it. Both of them began to go pale with fear. All of his earlier aggression had completely vanished, replaced by nothing but sheer terror. Then, unable to take it anymore, the blonde woman beside him hastily turned and begged Kang Ju-hyun for forgiveness. "Please spare me. I must have been out of my mind to do something like this. I'm begging you. It wasn't my fault. I was forced to do it, please." And in response to the beautiful woman's pleas, Kang Ju-hyun raised the sword in his hand, preparing to send her on her way. But just then, his arm was stopped by Kang Hae-jim from behind. Seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun turned to look at her and asked, puzzled, "Hae-jim?" At the same time, he thought to himself, "Is she trying to stop me? Of course. From her point of view, what I'm doing must seem pretty horrible. But what a shame." Completely contrary to what Kang Ju-hyun was thinking, in the very next moment, Kang Hae-jim herself swung the sword in her hand at the beautiful woman. I can assure you there was absolutely no personal grudge involved here. Back to the story. Kang Hae-jin's act of cutting someone down without a shred of hesitation made Kang Ju-hyun's eyes widen in utter disbelief. It seemed Kang Ju-hyun still couldn't believe that this dorky girl could strike someone down without hesitation like that. And it took him a few seconds to regain his composure before he said, "I might have underestimated you." Hae-jim then turned towards Big Gu-hyun. After seeing yet another one of his teammates fall, he was scared to death. And the situation became even more dangerous when Kang Hae-jim began to stare at him with a chilling gaze and said, "Leave this one to me. I realized something during the siege of Constantinople. To achieve my goals, I am prepared to do whatever it takes." And after Big Gu-hyun heard these words from her, his face turned pale and he said, "Don't come any closer. Please spare me. We can talk this out. Right? You'll regret it if you kill me over here." Kang Ju-hyun, seeing him run his mouth like that, also spoke up. "You know something. You were never in a position to negotiate with us in the first place." These words from Kang Ju-hyun sent him plunging into despair. But then right after, this guy Young Gun remembered something and quickly said, "But if you kill me, you'll never find out who hired me." But unfortunately for him, while that line might have worked on someone else, saying it to Kang Ju-hyun had absolutely no effect whatsoever, because he'd already figured out who was behind this whole thing. Jin Pum, the storyteller of the Five Senses star from the Celestial Corporation. "You think I don't know about the secret deal between you and him?" Hearing this, Big Gu-hyun's face froze. He stammered, How did you know?" But that was a question he would never get an answer to because at that moment, Kang Ju-hyun had already turned away. At the same time, he said, "Hae-jim, I'll leave the rest to you." And those words were nothing less than a death sentence for Big Gu-hyun. All the color drained from his face. "No, don't come back. Help somebody save me. Yonggun, save me. I thought we were friends." "You bastard, and I treated you so well. Damn it, don't come over here, please. Please, someone save me," he cried out in desperation, and right after that, Kang Hae-jin helped his head relocate. As for Kang Ju-hyun, after witnessing this scene, he began to smile, filled with excitement. This is it. Humans are always so complacent, thinking they're the best, completely unguarded against what's waiting for them. All they know is how to point fingers and find fault with each other. For these kinds of people, watching the expressions on their faces when they realize just how cruel reality is is so exhilarating. It's a twisted sense of justice, isn't it? Ha ha. Even so, I know. This is an unavoidable part of my nature, an indelible stain from having to endure that rotten world. It might sound a little strange, but there's nothing I can do, because it's just my nature. Kang Ju-hyun blushed as he thought. He then recalled Jin Pung and muttered, "Jin Pung of the five senses, I hope you can entertain me too." He turned back to Yong-gun. After seeing Baek Gu-hyun and his two men die just like that, he was so scared he nearly jumped out of his skin. His two legs began to tremble, and losing all his strength, he plopped onto the ground. And right at that moment, he noticed Baek Gu-hyun's head rolling around right next to him. This horrifying sight made his face turn pale, and he screamed, "Ah, what have I done?" The one time I tried to save someone and gathered all my courage for the first time in my life, I never thought I'd be played by those two right from the start. Thinking this, he bit his lip hard and asked, "Why? Why did you kill them? Otherwise, we would have been the ones to die." "You wouldn't be safe either if we hadn't," Kang Ju-hyun said coldly. But for some reason, after hearing that, this Yong-gun guy snapped and turned around and yelled at Kang Ju-hyun, "Is everything just a big joke to you? In the end, the storytellers chose you and the constellations sponsored you because you're so strong, right? What would you know? The feeling of having nothing at all yet still being forced to survive. Why is it just me?" Yong-gun began to bemoan his miserable fate. At this, Kang Ju-hyun started to lecture him after listening. "Everyone has a unique role in life. We just refused to accept it and strove for more. We were determined, we struggled, and even risked our lives for it. To you, we might look like the chosen ones, but we're just like you." "Then why am I like this?" Yong-gun said, trembling, and to this question, Kang Ju-hyun answered bluntly, "Because we accepted reality. I refuse to be satisfied with what I'm given. If you don't have something, you just have to create it or take it from someone else if necessary. Over here, Yong-gun," and hearing him say that, started screaming again. "Do you think I want to give up? What am I supposed to do when all my efforts are useless? What am I supposed to do when everything I do ends up being a failure and a complete joke?" The desperate words from the young man made Kang Ju-hyun a bit pensive for a moment. Then he offered some advice. "A person's world is small. They mistake what they hear and feel for the entire world. If someone considers you a failure, you'll assume the whole world thinks the same, and that's all you'll end up focusing on, you know. The world out there doesn't give a damn about you. No one is blaming you. They don't know who you are, and they don't care. If you want to change, start by changing your worldview of your own. Let those who don't know you find out who you are. It might be difficult, but it's not as pathetic as those who give up from the start." Reaching this point, Kang Ju-hyun had nothing more to say to him. So he turned to Kang Hae-jin behind him and said, "Let's go, Hae-jin." Hearing that, Kang Hae-jin started to follow Kang Ju-hyun as he left. At the same time, she asked worriedly, "Will he be okay if we just leave him like this?" "Yeah, he'll be fine." Kang Ju-hyun continued, saying that they would both begin conquering this mind realm. Right now, Kang Hae-jin was fighting a giant carnivorous plant monster called the boss-level illusion entity, Libra. And of course, this junk tree stood no chance against Kang. Hae-jin's got this. Right after dodging a whipping attack from the monster tree, she quickly accelerated and jumped straight onto the monster's head. She followed up with a slash that split the monster into two halves, and immediately after, the system brought up a confirmation notice. "You have cleared the Dolan Swamp. You have received a reward of 3,000 points. You have obtained the Expanded Aura Sense skill, combining with the basic Aura Sense. Expanded Aura Sense has become Comprehensive Aura Sense. You have obtained the Gardener's Story, received 90 swamp tree roots, received Lebra sap. The mental world is disappearing." As this notification appeared, Kang Hae-jin's body began to be covered by strange streams of ancient runes, and these things are helping her body recover. "Clearing the mental world makes all traces of it disappear, huh? I'm so glad. I really like this outfit," Kang Hae-jin said happily, while Kang Ju-hyun, who was next to her, explained the situation. "Except for injuries and rewards, every trace belonging to the mental world will disappear when it's cleared." "I see. By the way, Ju-hyun, you've been looking awfully pensive." Her words made Kang Ju-hyun recall a memory from before. People never change. That's what I used to think, but perhaps those who are adaptable can change. From what Kang Ju-hyun saw, that guy Yong-gun's book was emitting a silver aura. This proves that he has silver-grade potential. Maybe it wasn't like that at first, but due to the influence of Kang Ju-hyun's words, his own story has changed. Returning to the present after he finished thinking, Kang Ju-hyun smiled and said, "It's nothing, really." And just as he said that, They were both suddenly transported back to the initial area where they were before entering the gate. And it wasn't just them, but all the collectors who were inside. So everyone in the mind realm got kicked out. "We're back," Kang He-jin said in surprise. And at that moment, the other collectors realized what had happened and turned to them wailing, "No way! The training ground destroyer has already cleared it. I rushed here as soon as I heard about that training ground, but I was too late. Damn it, leave some for the rest of us." Across from them, Kang Ju-hyun watched the collectors wail like that. He did feel a little bad for them, though. "We've gotten what we needed. Let's go," Kang Ju-hyun said cheerfully. As soon as they returned to the Manhwa headquarters, Kang He-jin let out a sigh and reverted to her goofy mode. "Phew, I'm so tired." Seeing them return, Baek Suryun asked, "How did it go today?" Nothing special, but I still got a ton of rewards. See?" As she spoke, Kang He-jin cheerfully showed off the things she'd received. Just then, Kang Ju-hyun, who was across from them, remembered something and said, "That reminds me, He-jin. Can you show me your status window?" "Huh?" "Oh, here. Name Kang He-jin. Characteristics: Goryeo swordsmanship, unity of sword and self, way of the azure sky sword. Title: Honorary Knight of the Roman Empire. Divine Holy Sword Maiden. Obtained stories: Saintess Erin's Apostle of God. Labyrinth Survivor. Goblin Slayer. Skills 3. Sword/Mercenary's Sword. Technique: Arthur Wide Area Aura Sense. Luminous Eye Zen Breaking Sword. Physical Enhancement. Blah blah, see more. Stats: Strength. Low-grade Agility. Mid-grade Stamina. Low-grade Intellect. Low-grade Magical Aura, low-grade. But Kang Ju-hyun, after seeing this information, he fell into deep thought. This made Kang He-jin ask with concern, "Is something wrong?" "Not exactly. It's just that the stats section is a bit vague. Don't you think it's a little too simple? Your abilities have grown so quickly, but your stats are still just listed as low-grade. It's pretty strange." Hearing this, Kang He-jin also thought for a moment and said, "You're right, it is strange. More than strange, it's a huge problem. If the stats are this vague, neither the storytellers nor the collectors will be able to gauge your true level, even if you do your best to grow. If you pour all your effort into growing but the status window stays the same, how would you feel?" Kang Ju-hyun asked seriously. "If I tried that hard and my stats didn't change, I'd probably be devastated," Kang He-jin said dejectedly after that. He recalled some memories from his past life. After the apocalypse in his previous life, there was a major revision to the status window back then. The stats were listed in great detail and with precision. It seems this act of demoralizing collectors with vague stats is intentional. Someone is interfering. Until now, I thought the disasters were the result of the collectors' carelessness. But what if there's a reason for their laziness? What if someone is controlling this entire process from behind the scenes? It's still too early to conclude, but if my suspicions are correct, then the ones hiding in the shadows are planning to destroy this world. Bring them all out, because only then can I truly enjoy cleaning you all up," Kang Ju-hyun thought as an incredibly dangerous expression appeared on his face. A few days later at the Manhwa office, "I'm back." Baek Suryun's voice rang out. Seeing her, Kang He-jin asked, "Suryun, where have you been? I just met with a magazine publisher. I have a feeling you'll be getting an interview soon," Baek Suryun said cheerfully. But this made Kang He-jin completely flustered. "What an interview?" "Yep, you'll be appearing more and more in public from now on." Kang Ju-hyun, who was nearby, added, "That's right. Collectors are celebrities, after all. Just a few TV shows and commercials. If the goal is to promote He-jin's name, an interview is the best option." But at Kang Ju-hyun's words, Kang He-jin started to whine. "Ju-hyun, I can't do it, no. I'm only good at fighting and stuff. You'll make money if you do the interview." And as soon as the word money was mentioned, Kang He-jin's expression changed instantly. She asked, "How much?" "At least a few 100,000. "I'll do it," Kang He-jin said with absolute certainty. "Over here?" Baek Suryun looked at the sword in Kang Ju-hyun's hand and asked curiously, "Oh, by the way, what are you doing?" "I'm researching a new weapon," Kang Ju-hyun said. "A new weapon?" Baek Suryun wondered. Hearing this, Kang He-jin, who was beside them, also grew curious and said, "But isn't that just a cheap sword from the dimensional store?" "That's right. This sword only cost exactly 100 points. Ms. He-jin, could you help me look up the information on this sword?" Hearing this, Kang He-jin quickly checked its info and said, "It says, Salio the Ancient Sacred Longsword. Is that good or bad?" At the same time, hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun began to explain to the two of them, You two might not know this, but Salio is a rather famous name in the multiverse, even though the Salio Empire was destroyed thousands of years ago. But the place is still famous for its magical engineering that could handle both magic and machinery. This sword is an ancient sacred artifact from that Salio Empire. As he said this, Kang Ju-hyun felt a surge of joy and thought, although the value of this sword is not yet known in the multiverse, I, someone from the future, know it very well. You can't even find this hidden item in the mental world. After thinking this, he remembered something else. Then he turned to Kang Ha-jin and said, "Oh, right. Ms. Ha-jin, you should practice more primary attack moves. You'll become a mid-tier collector soon enough. In terms of physical stats, you're not inferior to other mid-tier collectors, but your skills and manuals haven't caught up. That's because your talent allowed you to leapfrog to a level of power that many people have to train hard for years to reach. That's why you should start preparing mid-tier and high-tier manuals." "But aren't ultimate moves of that level really expensive?" Kang Ha-jin asked. Faced with this question, Kang Ju-hyun confidently told them, "I know a way to buy one cheaply. First, search for Thunderstep in the low-tier manual section. Then try opening your dimensional store." Hearing this, Kang Ha-jin hurriedly opened her dimensional store and found the Thunderstep manual for 100 points. After Kang Ju-hyun saw that Kang Ha-jin had found it, he continued to instruct her. Next is the innate skill Raging Thunder from the mid-tier manuals. Finally, among the low-tier manuals, there will be one called Thunderbolt. Buy all three of them. And as soon as he said this, Baek Suryeon, standing nearby, showed a confused expression and said, "Ju-hyun, aren't these manuals notoriously trash? No one can withstand them. The speed of Thunderstep. The Raging Thunder innate skill is so strong it can cause the user's body to be constantly electrocuted. As for Thunderbolt, it's a sword skill, but it's very difficult to use. They call these three skills the most useless trio of brothers." Hearing this, Kang Ha-jin was startled and turned to say, "Huh? Then what's the use of them? Is it even safe to learn this stuff? Ms. Ha-jin, you don't trust me. Well, if you insist," Kang Ha-jin said excitedly, tapping the system screen to make the purchase. And right after that, so 3 orbs of light appeared before her. "All right. I just need to learn all 3 of these moves, right?" With that, Kang Ha-jin pushed the 3 orbs of light into her body, and then immediately after, her entire body erupted with a ferocious wave of power. At the same time, Kang Ju-hyun gripped his sword tightly and thought. With that thought, he immediately raised the sword above Kang Ha-jin's head, letting it absorb the power from her. The moment the sword made contact with the lightning energy erupting from Kang Ha-jin's body, it began to transform, all before the astonished eyes of this girl, Baek Suryeon. Once the transformation was complete, the scrap sword in Kang Ju-hyun's hand took on a completely new appearance. Seeing this, Baek Suryeon exclaimed excitedly, "The sword's form has completely changed. Is this its original form?" As she spoke, she reached out to touch the sword, but Kang Ju-hyun stopped her immediately. "Careful. There's still lightning running along the blade." After saying that, he looked at the sword overjoyed. "I knew from the rumors. This was an incredible sword, but seeing it with my own eyes is even more amazing." Just then, Kang Ha-jin, who was opposite him, opened her eyes. It seemed her process of learning the manual had finished. Seeing this, Kang Ju-hyun asked, "How are you feeling? Ha-jin, do you feel any pain or discomfort?" "No, I don't feel anything at all," Kang Ha-jin said after a quick check. "Then try opening your status window. You should have a new skill." Hearing that, Kang Ha-jin hurriedly opened her status window and said, "Oh, you're right. The 3 skills I absorbed have disappeared. In their place, there's a new skill called Heavenly Thunder Sword. That's a skill that will make you stronger. This item will help you control the Heavenly Thunder. In terms of manual grade, it's far beyond a high-grade manual, let alone an intermediate one." Hearing this, Kang Ha-jin turned to Kang Ju-hyun with sparkling eyes. "Ju-hyun, thank you so much," she said. With that, she leaped towards Kang Ju-hyun, but he dodged instantly, causing her to fall flat on her face. Kang Ju-hyun had to warn her. "Don't you realize I'll get electrocuted if you try to hug me before you've fully controlled your lightning energy?" Back to Kang Ha-jin, after she had calmed down from her excitement, she asked curiously, "But how did you know about this hidden trick? If the Holy Spirit saw this, they would go crazy." "Of course they'd like it, but it'll be a hassle if they start getting curious about its origin," Kang Ju-hyun thought before saying, "I don't want any more trouble, so just forget it. You should keep this sword. It will absorb the lightning energy you can't control." As he said this, he tossed the sword to Kang Ha-jin. The very moment she touched it, arcs of electricity immediately began to flash. Baek Suryeon, who was standing nearby, saw this, and right after, She pulled Kang Ju-hyun aside and said, "Ju-hyun, come over here and talk to me for a second. Are you planning to use Hajim as a living battery for that sword?" Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun asked, confused, "Isn't that a good thing, too? It helps Hajim out as well, you know." And just as he said that, he noticed Baek Suryeon's whole body was trembling. He thought, is she worried about Hajim? But unfortunately for Kang Ju-hyun, while Baek Suryeon was worried, it was about something else entirely. "If something goes wrong, my office will be burnt to a crisp." "Baek," Suryeon declared. "Oh, so that's what you were worried about," Kang Ju-hyun said, surprised. Turning back to Baek Suryeon, she started lecturing Kang Ju-hyun. "From now on, if you're going to pull a stunt like this again, you have to at least give me a heads up, blah, blah, blah." Hearing her go on and on, Kang Ju-hyun's head started to spin. I'm just now realizing Suryeon isn't normal either. And here I thought her personality had finally changed. And while he was still listening to Baek Suryeon's lecture, a message suddenly arrived. From Choi Jong-mo. "I've found information on Choi Do-jun." The message made Kang Ju-hyun's expression freeze for a moment, and then immediately after, he rushed out the door calling back, "I'm stepping out for a bit. Hejim, don't take your hand off the sword." And as he sprinted outside, his thoughts began to race. Why is it that even after getting a fresh start, I still have to get involved with him? Why do I care so much about him? Should I be angry if I see him again? Maybe I won't feel anything at all. It doesn't matter either way. I still want to try and meet him just once, not long after. Kang Ju-hyun arrived at the Collectors Association. When the receptionist saw him, she immediately asked, "Welcome. How can I help you?" "I'd like to make an appointment with the association manager Choi Jong-mo," Kang Ju-hyun began. But before he could say anything more, Choi Jong-mo's voice rang out beside him. To me, his voice sounded a bit tense. After we entered the office, Choi Jong-mo started, "First, I'd like to ask about your relationship with Choi Do-jun." Hearing this, Kang Ju-hyun replied, "We don't know each other. I've only heard rumors about him." "Huh, is that so? In any case, as you requested, I looked for him. Since you provided basic information like his age, gender, and distinguishing features, it wasn't too difficult to find him." "Is this the Choi Do-jun you were looking for?" Choi Jong-mo asked as he handed Kang Ju-hyun a photo. The moment he saw the person in the picture, Kang Ju-hyun was able to confirm with absolute certainty that this was Choi Do-jun. "Yes, that's him. I'm 100% sure. Where is he now?" In response to Kang Ju-hyun's question, Choi Jong-mo calmly explained, 15 years ago, before Earth was integrated into the multiverse on Mind Linkage Day, he went missing. This sudden news made Kang Ju-hyun's face freeze. What, Choi Do-jun went missing? He couldn't help but shout, and Choi Jong-mo confirmed once more, "That's right. He was one of the many who vanished during the 99-day coup. We call those who disappeared sleepers. When Earth, originally a material world, merged with the multi-world, our world suffered a massive impact. All the barriers between the world's illusions and its reality collapsed, marking the moment. And when the contents of stories became reality. We call that day the day of ideological unification. During that time, many people vanished from reality and were presumed missing. The reason why the sleepers disappeared is still a mystery, but there's one thing we know for sure. Those who disappeared left Earth for another dimension. Occasionally, a few sleepers return to our reality, but most of them are just corpses. And those who return alive have been turned into monsters. In the future, some sleepers, also known as returners, will come back from other worlds completely unharmed. But that time has not yet come. I can't believe Choi Do-jun is a sleeper. So after disappearing on the day of ideological unification, he returned along with Earth's apocalypse. The strength and judgment that he displayed during the apocalypse must have been formed by getting used to the laws of another world, he thought to himself. Meanwhile, manager Choi Jong-mo, who was in front of him, remembered something and added, There's one more important detail. He has a mother. After Choi Do-jun went missing, she searched tirelessly for her son for 15 years. She said she wants to meet you. Do you want to meet her? Meet me, Ju-hyun said in surprise. But then he understood the situation. Well, that makes sense. It's because she heard that someone knows about her son, his mother. Thinking about this, the protagonist felt that he was done here. So he stood up and said, I'll meet her on my own later. If I need to, can I ask for your help again? Thank you for your hard work today. If it's the storyteller Ju-hyun, you can ask for my help anytime. He nodded as he spoke. On Ju-hyun's end, after leaving the building, he started thinking about his own situation. My parents are probably still alive in this world. But I'm terrified if I exist here. Then what happened to my past self? If I was resurrected as a storyteller, then another Kang Ju-hyun from this world might still exist. If that's the case, can I even call them my parents? Would they be uncomfortable seeing a storyteller in a human's form? What if they think I'm an imposter? The more he thought, the more anxious Ju-hyun became until a loud shout pulled him back to reality. Ju-hyun! Hey, Jin! What are you doing here? He asked, looking at the female swordsman in front of him. In response to his question, she answered a bit shyly, well, I followed you. You looked anxious when you left, and I wanted to know if you were okay. Oh, is that why? Sorry for making you worry, but I'm fine. It wasn't as big of a deal as I thought, he said, waving his hand. Seeing this, Hejin's expression brightened. Oh, really, you do look better now. In that case, shall we head back to the office? Back to the office. Ju-hyun mumbled as if he was thinking about something. This made Hejin ask with some curiosity, What's wrong? Is there still something you need to do? But Ju-hyun was truly lost in thought. I've decided to be the protagonist in this life. My parents were the biggest influence on that decision. So even if my parents don't accept me as a member of the family, I don't need to be afraid or run away. After thinking it through, the protagonist seemed to have found new motivation and spoke up with a suggestion. That's right. There's a place I want to go. Would you like to come with me? I can come along. Of course. What are you planning to do? She asked cheerfully. He replied, I need to go meet my benefactors because no matter what happens, they're still my parents, he thought to himself. After that, the pair quickly hailed a ride, and during the trip, the athletic girl didn't forget to praise him. You're really interesting. Even though you're a storyteller, you don't associate with other storytellers, and you have a past that no one knows about. You're wrong, Du-Huin said, shaking his head, but the female swordsman remained firm in her belief. No way. I believe that one day you'll tell me. So who are these benefactors we're about to meet? They must be amazing for you to call them benefactors. That's right, they're truly wonderful, Du-Huin said with a nod. And whenever his family was mentioned, his expression would immediately brighten up, which made the athletic girl endlessly curious. I wonder who they are for Du-Huin to praise them so highly. Du-Huin's past that I don't know about. I want to hear it. Turning back to Du-Huin, seeing the girl so curious about his family, he himself became a little curious. I wonder if Hejim has any family. That's right, if I read her book. As he thought this, he reached his hand toward the book on Hejim's head, but then, as if a thought struck him, he stopped and asked her directly, Never mind. Hey, Hejim, do you have any family? What are you asking because you're interested in me? She said excitedly, making Du-Huin slightly regret asking the question. There she goes again. If you don't want to answer, it's okay. No, it's not that I'm just so happy. I don't have any family, she said calmly. But her words made the main character's face go completely blank. What beside him? Hejim began to explain in detail. I used to have one, but I can't even remember what my father looked like. I think he ran away after my mother gave birth to me. Maybe for that reason. My mother beat me so much. She told me I wasn't her child. And then one day, when I was little, she chose to leave this world on her own. After that, there's not much to tell. Since I had no parents, I went to an orphanage and was bullied for my timid personality. So that's how it is. I don't have any family, but it's okay. Everything is different now. It's all thanks to you, the girl said in a tone that made it sound like it wasn't a big deal. However, upon hearing this, Du-Huin couldn't help but yell, Hey, Jim. What is it? She said, surprised, causing Du-Huin to calm down a bit. No, it's nothing. You must have gone through a lot. It was nothing. If it weren't for you, I'd probably still be living like a failure. Thanks to you, I've realized what I want to do, Hejim affirmed with a bright smile. But in Du-Huin's eyes, he saw something completely different. It was as if she were standing on the verge of a complete breakdown. The Sword Queen. I know isn't like this. No, I never knew the real Sword Queen of the past, so there's no need to feel disappointed or compare the two. Although right now her mental state is unstable, and she could collapse at any moment. Depending on my actions from now on, Hejim has the potential to change.